It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with Not today. Helwani's ditched town. Now the inmates are running the asylum. The creatures of the control room are front and center this time around. It's the Rick and GC show. Or is it the GC and Rick show? Either way. Here are your hosts, Eric Jackman and Conner Burks.
Yes, you heard it there. The MMA Hour is back in your life, but unfortunately for you guys, Ariel Helwani is not here, so you're stuck with us. I am Conner Burks. Some call me GC. This over here is New York Rick. Hopefully we'll be joined by Helwani later in the program. He's in Saudi Arabia, boots on the ground for the massive fight this weekend. Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Press conference still going on. I mean, he's got a couple things to attend to. So you got us until he joins. But right off the rip, right off the bat here, I must say, no black T-shirt today for old New York Rick.
Oh, this whole thing right here. Shout out to our boys of St. Pat's.
I mean, can we just talk about how good these things look? Frank told me to talk loud when I stepped away from the mic, but I mean,
yeah.
Look at these bad boys. I mean, am I talking loud enough here, Frankie? I mean,
yeah, man.
We got the name on the bag. Absolute gorgeous.
Yeah, shout out to the boys of St. Pat's, the FAI Cup champions of last year, and particular shout out to Carl Stafford, their operations manager, who sent us these beautiful jerseys, one for everybody in the crew, one for Helwani when he gets back. And yeah, they're coming stateside to play Minnesota United on March 20th, exactly 2 weeks from today. This two Wednesdays from now, they'll be stateside. If you're there, go out, support them. St. Pat's is our club. Carl has shown us a lot of love. Now we are supporting back. St. Pat's, be there on March 20th when they play Minnesota United and support the team, St. Pat's.
I mean, I just have to say, like, shocker, I'm a sucker for St. Patrick's Day. I love the green. You wear the green, you drink the dyed green beer, everything like that. These aren't just like we got these jerseys for free, so we're like, yeah, shout out to St. Pat's. Like, these are actually incredible. Like, the green is beautiful. You've got the gold on the shoulders, the name on the back, and the gold. I mean, these are absolutely fire. I'm going to rock it all St. Patrick's Day weekend. I don't even know if I'm going to wash it. These are incredible. So thank you so much to Carl. Thank you so much to St. Pat's. We're going to be dripped out for St. Patrick's Day this year, as the kids would say.
Shout out to the boys.
It's great to see you, and it feels like
likewise.
It brings out your eyes. Feels like
thank you.
Brings out your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and cozy back in the studio. First time since September, I believe it is. Always a nice adjustment. I mean, the chair's nicer. I feel like I have more lumbar support in this thing. My back doesn't hurt as much. The microphone's nicer. Feels like, the guys in the back treat us a little bit better. Like, they're like, oh, can I go grab you lunch? Can I get you any coffee? I'm like, when did this all start happening?
It's interesting because they didn't do that for me, so now I know where I stand in the pecking order.
I guess it was just me. Right off the rip, you know what we have to do? We got to get some reads in.
Let's do it.
And I do have to let you know that the MMA Hour is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned, because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Yeah, we will get into the picks, the parlay pals. Try to get there first. Listen, I mean, we're sticking with boys. I feel like boys is what's caused this losing streak.
You know what? You might be right. We're back to pals. Back to pals.
I wonder if people think this is a shtick, because like we are legitimately arguing about what the name of it is.
I mean, can we just be honest? Like, it sounds so much better. Parlay pals.
We're back to pals. Official.
It sounds so much better. It's nothing against Juliana Pena, but parlay pals just sounds that much better. Trying to get our first win of the year. March. I mean, are we going to hit St. Patrick's Day and not have a win yet?
Nope, we're winning this
week. Are we going to hit daylight savings time and not have a win yet? We have to win this week. As the clocks turn to daylight savings time, it's going to be like this magical spell. We're going to wash away this curse and go on a massive winning streak. I'll give my bets. I'm trying to bounce back as well. A lot of pressure this weekend. A lot to choose from, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the boxing. We got the PFL. We've got UFC 299, which is just fights galore. So a lot to get into there. We'll answer some of your questions on the nose.
There were some good ones today.
Some really good ones. I'm looking forward to answering those. I feel like it'll be a little bit more neat and tidy than just going into the chat.
Yes.
We'll also play some Street Fighter. I mean, I got it right here. I kind of want to just bail on the show altogether and just play Street Fighter for the next 3 hours. We both played for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. Yeah, there it is. There's the idle Xbox screen as we show to the fans. But that is proof that it is revved and ready to go.
We'll do it.
and so am I to play that game. What else are we going to get into? UFC 299, small little card going down in Miami. Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Tyson Fury is at the press conference making some noise with Francis Ngannou.
That's right.
PFL Europe 1, Cedric Doumbé makes his return to a sold-out arena. We've got some Glory Kickboxing. I think there's a one event. I mean, if you're a fight fan, you have got more than enough to choose from. And then, as I mentioned, Helwani will be joining the program from Saudi Arabia. Hear a little bit about his experience over there. What are the vibes like? Is Saudi Arabia revved and ready to go for this fight on Friday? I mean, you can really just like set up like a smorgasbord of like Thursday,
no doubt,
watch PFL. Friday, spend all day, watch boxing. Saturday, get up, have some breakfast, watch the Glory Grand Prix, and then just go straight into Saturday night UFC 299. So like, I mean, it's just Saturday at lunch to breakfast on Sunday. You're watching fights.
I was going to ask if Frank's just staying over the whole time. Like he comes over Thursday, you guys stay at the crib, and then just ride it all the way into Saturday.
That was the plan, but I haven't run it by him yet. So
okay,
we'll just tear that Band-Aid off.
Breaking news.
You know, for the Super Bowl, I invited him over. This is sort of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Tell me.
I invited him over. I said, you're more than welcome to come. You know, maybe bring an entree or a side dish, something like that. We'll watch the Super Bowl. It'd be a great time. And he's just like, okay, great. Like, can I just crash at your place? And then we can go to work together on Monday morning. And I was like, I was a little caught off guard. I was just like, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess so, yeah. Wasn't happy about it, but you know, was happy to give my friend some shelter in need. But he ended up, of course, naturally bailing on me.
Oh, perfect.
Never even
We're just testing
over.
the waters. You know, like what can I get away with? What can't I?
You coming over for the Oscars on Sunday?
Happy about it.
Coming over for the Oscars on Sunday? You can stay the night for the Oscars.
All right, I'll be there.
All right. Irregardless, we waste no time here. We promised. I think we're labeling it a mega weekend preview. I mean, there's just too much to get into. I say what we do, we start from the tail end. We start with the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest card of the weekend. We start with UFC 299, and we work our way back to Thursday with Cedric Doumbé returning at PFL Europe 1.
Let's do it.
So let's do just that. UFC 299, rematch, Sean O'Malley, Marlon Chito Vera. Your excitement, not only for the main event, but the card itself.
15 out of 10. It's the best that the UFC has to offer. Like between, you could even go back to last event, but between 299 and 300, this is the very best of what you're going to get with the UFC. Like these two cards, I think, stand alone in the last couple of years as cards that you can point to and say, this is MMA utopia. Like you have ranked guys and girls all over the place. You've got compelling matchups. You've got storylines galore. This is what the best, when the UFC is giving its absolute best effort to construct a card, these are what the two cards look like, in my opinion. And it starts with 299 and then into 300.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't know how you can't ask an MMA fan and ask what their excitement level is for this card and them not say that they're at an absolute 10 out of 10. I mean, from the main event all the way down to the first couple fights of the night. I mean, it's just banger after banger after banger sprinkling. I mean, this main card, this stack of 5 fights on this main card is, like you said, it's as good as the UFC has to offer in terms of a pay-per-view selection. And we start with the main event, man.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley, Marlon Chito Vera. I'm at a 10 out of 10 for this because like when you really just think about the stakes involved, it's you can't really replicate it. I mean, Sean O'Malley gets the injury, ends up losing, only loss on the professional record. Now Marlon Chito Vera, essentially the only reason he's even getting this title shot is because of what he did to Sean O'Malley that time. I mean, it's stakes at the highest level with a superstar in the game in Sean O'Malley and a fan favorite in Marlon Chito Vera. It's as good as it gets.
It's perfect matchmaking. It's perfect timing, right? Like there's a real opportunity here. It seems like Marab is in the wings and he'll be the backup fighter weighing in for this event. But you've got a matchup between two guys that have bad blood, that are going to sell the fight, that are going to do everything that's needed to make this feel big. And it's a matchup that I think, you know, Sean O'Malley is a bigger favorite than I would have maybe expected just because of the result of the first fight. But I do think there are some people who looked at that like an injury, a fluke of some sort. I look at it more that Marlon did the damage, right? Like Marlon did what needed to be done to win that fight. And I know Sean O'Malley will say the Sugar State Athletic Commission doesn't view it as a loss. It's a loss. And I'm a little bit surprised by the betting line. I think it's going to be a competitive fight for as long as it lasts. But I do wonder if we've seen Sean O'Malley grow and evolve more in the time since their fight than we have Cheeto. And I think there's a real concern there that maybe Sean O'Malley is really hitting stride right now and has come further than Cheeto has from their first fight.
Yeah, and we'll put a pin in that. We'll get your prediction. We'll talk about the betting odds after that. But we do have to go out to beautiful Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and we're joined by the man who usually sits here, Mr. Ariel Helwani. Do we have him here? There he is.
Wow.
Salam alaikum, my brothers.
I mean, whose
Alaikum
palace are you in right now?
I can't disclose whose palace. But yes, I am here in beautiful Riyadh. I'm trying to get myself centered. I'm not doing a great job. You guys are doing an amazing job, and I don't mean to crash the party because this is your show. What a babyface pop! I could have like the biggest names in MMA on the show, put out the lineup, and people are like, "Do better. The show is failing. Oh, can't get any big guests." You put your face on the picture, and it's all like, "This is all we want. This is great. This is great. This is great." I'm just not going to show up anymore. It's amazing. This is an incredible thing. Anyway, you guys are doing a fantastic job. We just finished the press conference. Let me try to change the screen here. I don't know. Now I look like an old man. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we are. This is where the press. This is in a place called Boulevard. This is in a place called the Boulevard, where it's basically like a makeshift Epcot Center. And there's all different kinds of worlds. There's like China. This is Greece right over here. There's Italy. There's USA, which is pretty boring. There's just
are these gondolas going between each little sector?
Yes, there's gondolas going between each little sector. Right over here, there's tons of people walking around, and there's water. There's somewhere. It looks like we're in Venice, Italy, and it's something that they built in 80 days and just opened up a few months ago. The arena is actually right across the street, and that was built in, I think, a couple of months, the arena where the event is happening.
You switched it back.
On Saturday. Yeah, I'm switching it back because I don't want to fall. Oh, by the way, right over there, whoops, you don't want to see my face, but right over there is Alistair Overeem. And I got to meet his wife for the first time. And the first thing, she didn't even say hello to me. All she said was, "Where's his iPad?"
Wow.
That's a deep
throwback.
cut. Yes.
Throwback.
Yes, that's a very deep cut. Eddie Hearn is doing a bunch of interviews right over there. So you can see. I mean, look at this. This is the Greek portion of the place. We've got Ariel Helwani here, our good friend. Now,
do these people know that they're on the most prestigious show in combat sports right now? Like, I don't think they have any idea.
They have no idea. Here's my guy, Ade. We're actually live on the MMA Hour right now.
Ade, hello.
Let's go.
You can't hear them, but they're saying, "Why are you such an AJ fanboy? You need to be an unbiased presenter." Okay? Yeah.
See, MMA Hour, you're obviously going to come in and bring MMA. I've really got a bet for boxing.
How do you feel about the MMA Hour being the number one outlet for all things boxing?
Frank, the audio is incredible here.
Very good. Journalist, not you, the other two.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Ariel, pull out your earpiece and let him hear
Perfect. Tell Ade we're huge fans. We love Ade.
A bit of a name change. Maybe it should be MMA time boxing hour.
I'm going close because they're saying that they want you to talk into my AirPod.
This is a great visual here. This is an incredible visual. I think it got worse.
We need to clip this out.
Okay. Enough of this. No.
Hey, could you ask him the outline on his hat? Is that the country of England?
Oh, Connor wants to know what the outline of your hat is.
The merch
over here.
king himself.
Ghana.
Oh, it's
Shout out
Ghana.
to Ghana.
Okay, all right. You see that a lot with U.S. states. I thought he was maybe rocking like a Georgia outline or something.
Ghana. Kofi Kingston is from Ghana. Do you know Kofi Kingston?
Yeah, but why would
I don't know. That's a problem.
When he whispers, it gets worse. When he whispers over there,
I don't know.
it gets
that
worse.
was a great exclusive with
Nice little drop in by Ade. Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to keep going? I'm going.
Show us more.
Around. Ade, am I following you? Okay. So sorry, this is all happening live. I don't need to hijack the
The font.
I mean, that is
fun.
production.
Oh, wow. Hey, Ade, look at this. They even got for you. Wait. Put it up. Put it back
Yeah,
up.
Let's font him, please.
Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Well, he's not even on
Camera's
screen.
facing the wrong way.
Close enough.
Incredible.
No, it's good. It's because they wanted me to put your face up. So yes. Oh wait. Look at this, guys. Look at this.
sure.
They've got a mini sphere. You see that
Oh my
sphere
God.
there?
Oh, wow.
They just said, "Oh hey, Las Vegas has a sphere. Let's get our own."
Isn't that where F1
and
was?
I
Okay,
just-
so I've heard a lot of people talk about the experience here in Saudi. Like, describe this for me. Like, tell me what your takeaways are of this.
So honestly, I've only been here 24 hours. It was quite the journey. New York to London. Almost missed my flight because the connection. This is what worries me about the connector flights, but I made it. And then I made it last night. This is the arena, by the way. This is the Kingdom Arena where the event is happening on Friday, not Saturday.
Shout out.
This was built in like 4 minutes, and there's the logo right there. We wish you guys were here, but
Likewise.
the next one they told me they want you. His Excellency said, "Where's?" He didn't quite say what the waiter in Puerto Rico said, but he did say something close. He specifically asked for Mysterious Frank, which I thought was a little bit
Oh,
weird.
that's incredible.
But
Who, me?
he said he enjoyed their conversation back in October, I think it was.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Frank has mentioned that countless times.
We're buds.
That's when he asked to come on the show. So anyway, I've only been here 24 hours. Everyone is very hospitable. Everyone has been very nice. And it feels like there's a buzz growing here. It's interesting to see all the UK media. Obviously, there's a ton more boxing media as opposed to MMA media. There is Mike Vaughn here from MMA Junkie, so that's pretty cool. But it's a reminder of just how big of a deal AJ is, right? AJ is just like, he's one of the top 5 most famous athletes in the UK. And so to see all these people come out for him is pretty damn cool.
But I will say, I think it's fair to say Francis is also in that conversation as well. Like, I think without the matchup, right? Without Francis and AJ, I don't know if it feels like this. I don't think that buzz is the same for just a Jermaine Franklin fight. You know what I mean?
100%. And Francis has done such a great job. He was so impressive. I don't know if you guys watched the press conference, but the question that we asked about the AirPod has now become a storyline because Francis showed up with his own AirPod today too. and I have to call BS on something that AJ did because Francis asked him, what are you listening to? And AJ pulled out his phone and said, "You want to know what I'm listening to?" And it was like some like drum and bass. Shout out to our friends Chase and Stratus. But the thing is, if the AirPod was connected to the phone, it wouldn't have worked so well. So I call BS and say that the AirPod is connected to nothing. And because if he would have pressed play, he could turn off the Bluetooth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you're saying that it's a prop. You're saying that it is not actually
You're
playing.
saying it's not even a charged AirPod. He just has a piece of plastic in his ear. And he said
I think he just likes to have it.
He mentioned that
the old AirPod
he said
too.
he's
It's
listening
like the first
to
generation.
He said he's listening to drum and bass. So like he literally just has a soundtrack to his life, just always constantly going.
It's like
if you believe
anyway,
if you believe it's not a prop.
Yes, if you believe it. Francis was so comfortable up there. He's talking smack. He's showing up with the cool outfit. He's got a smirk on his face like, I know something you guys don't know. It's just very impressive for us MMA fans who have seen Francis from, the early days of the UFC, kind of shy, soft-spoken, doesn't really say much to sell fights, to now being the show. Yesterday, did you see this picture that Turkey Al-Sheikh posts where it's Cristiano Ronaldo, Tyson Fury, AJ, Turkey, and Francis? And it's like, wow, 2 years ago, this wasn't a thing. Like Francis wouldn't even be on the same level as these guys. And now he's on the level of some of the biggest stars in sports today. So it's really just very, very impressive to see him come this far. Excited to be here. Weigh-ins tomorrow, event on Friday, and we're off.
Tyson Fury and Francis seem to get into it. Well, tell us about what that was like, because obviously we just saw snippets.
Tyson Fury injected a lot of excitement because it was getting a little dull. One thing they need to upgrade on these press conferences, like they ask everyone a question up and down the line, and you get to AJ at the end, and by the end he looks like he's half asleep. So Tyson was up there, and he was sitting in the crowd because his brother Roman is fighting on this card, and he started talking like serious smack to Francis, and Francis had great responses, and that injected some life into all of this. And then finally, one thing that was cool, I will say, they had Dewey Cooper and Ben Davison up there, the trainers, which you don't get in MMA as well.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little addition. I've got more light here. I can show you guys just before I get into this car. We got the Kingdom Arena here. You see it? There's Ade.
How many seats does that thing hold?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it looks nice, dude.
Ade, how many seats does this hold? 20.
20K?
20,000?
Yeah, so NBA
Oh,
NBA arena level.
okay. Yeah, because they do football here as well. Soccer.
Oh, so they
had
scaled it.
the,
Google says 30K. Google says it has a capacity up to 30,000.
Wow.
It's quite massive, as you can see right over here.
Yeah.
And I also want to give a shout out to my guy Sonny over here. This is Sonny. Sonny, say hello to everyone on the
Sonny.
MMA
Shout
hour.
out Sonny, bro.
Sonny's looking out from Wales, trains MMA, trains with Shaky Shore in the team sometimes. Not all the time.
All right,
but,
so is he backing Francis or
yeah,
AJ? That's important.
My guys want to know, who do you have, AJ or Francis?
Oh yeah,
What?
MMA guy.
Big,
Oh yeah.
big Wrexham fan from Wales.
That's absolute nonsense.
No.
Man, Ada,
Get the font. Get the font back for Ada.
So now we're waiting for our lift. No. He said it, and he can't take it back now. That's it.
I heard some rumors of
and that's
the dates being just delightful out there. Any truth to those
Dates,
rumors?
okay, I mean, truth be told, I get off the plane.
But yeah, by the way,
we'll give you
you stop skirting this. I've been here for 24 hours. Then you go down this diatribe. Tell us about what's going on the ground, please.
I feel like Dewey Cooper on Monday when he had to hold the phone up like this. This is probably better. Or maybe remember that? Or maybe this is better. Yeah, I had the camera the wrong way. Get off the plane and they give me flowers, and then they start filming me, and they give me dates. So the dates were fantastic.
Shout out to the dates.
And you know what? This could be cool. No, this is too dark. And so far, I've had lovely coffee. I have to say and there's the Sphere right over there. The coffee's been nice. Everyone has been, very, very hospitable, and had a little sushi yesterday. Not very Middle Eastern of me, but yeah, everything's been great. And I've heard some rumors about some celebs that are coming.
Anybody you can spill?
Not at the moment, but if December 23rd and October 28th were any indication. Obviously, they like to do it big here. And I think the ring walk I heard I think it's going to be at around 10 o'clock UK time, 10:10 UK time, which would be 5:10. So, late afternoon in the US. And how lucky are we, right? Doombe on Thursday, this on Friday. And then the big one, of course, the Glory Grand Prix on Saturday. I mean, isn't this incredible?
Anything else? It feels like there might be an omission there.
Else. Yeah, I saw your official prediction for the Glory Grand Prix, taking Rico Verhoeven. Who'd you almost go with? Who do you have him beating in the final?
Listen, some people said I didn't know anyone else.
I'm just wondering who
I take offense to that. Not important. I just, how could you go against the GOAT, right? I mean, he is the GOAT for a reason. And so I just felt like it was important for me to show him the love and the shine. I can't wait for On the Nose. Are you guys doing On the Nose? This is a real thing.
Oh yeah, we've got
a lot of questions picked, and there's some great questions. I mean, they really brought the heat today.
Yeah, there's some really good ones.
So when I did the post, I specifically wrote, address the questions to GC and Rick.
Yeah, like no one read that.
Did they listen to me? God.
50-50. 50-50.
A lot of them were addressed to you. Then, it felt like me and Rick were like, oh, we're going to be answering the questions. Here's the link if anyone wants it. And then it kind of cleared up to, mostly to me and Rick.
Okay. All right. All right. I don't want to take up more of your time. I can't tell you all how much I appreciate you for doing this. There used to be a time, Rick, when you were shy on camera, where if I wasn't available, you would just, say no thanks. And now here you are, carrying the torch on the set, on camera, GC in the main chair. I thought maybe you guys would switch it up, but we're going with that.
No, this is the right flow.
I feel like we got that last time. I mean, I got a bad back these days. You've got the supreme $10,000 chair, great for lumbar support. So this is the one I go with.
And who's behind the ones and twos? Do we have Andy there?
No, we got Alex today.
Wow,
it's a nice little skeleton crew. We got Alex, Joe,
but I know Andy's watching. Frank. She already slacked in. She's paying attention.
I love it. Frank, of course, there.
Before you set sails out of old Saudi Arabia, I know you mentioned the coffee. Try some Karak tea for me.
Oh, I had Saudi Arabian tea. Is that the same thing?
Oh, it might be, but it looks just tremendous.
Describe this to me. Why is it different? What is it about it?
So it's like
when you get on the plane. It's like is it like brownish or something? Is
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
is that
like
what you saw?
a creamy brown color. Like it's like
Yeah,
black
yeah.
tea with like condensed milk and all these crazy
Oh, you're
spices. in
talking.
it.
Yeah, you're speaking my language
It
now.
looks unbelievable. I think I'm going to go and get some here soon in Manhattan at some point. But it's big in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia.
How do you know this? You looked it up.
Yeah, something came on my Instagram feed about it, and then I just did like a deep dive on it because like I wanted to try my hand at making it, but it's kind of complicated to make. Then I found a place here in Manhattan that has it, so I need a review on it. I need to see how good it really is.
Yeah, not bad. They give it to you on the plane right when you
Beautiful.
board, which is a nice little. It's a nice little thing, and the plane food was fantastic. Saudi Airlines had a nice little espresso tahini dessert.
What is this?
He's struggling out here.
Like an actual king.
Wow,
I mean,
struggling.
Yeah.
He's in
and
Saudi
that was-
Disney World while we're over here.
And by the way, that was in coach. So I don't know what they had in.
I know. I
business.
was just about to
And,
say,
yeah.
was this the first class
Yeah.
accommodations? We would have been in the back in
No,
coach.
no,
and it would have
no,
been
no.
Steerage.
a small bag of Frito Lays.
No. The one bad thing has been 2 flights over here. Both flights, the Wi-Fi wasn't working, so that was
Oh,
just.
wow. I mean, you
Yeah,
are
that was
struggling.
shambles.
You are.
that was
My
shambles.
heart
Okay,
is my heart
I
is
gotta
breaking
go,
for
guys.
you.
I
My
love
heart is
you.
breaking for you.
I'll
Bye.
be watching. I'll
Have
be watching.
fun.
Great
Enjoy
job.
it. We'll see you Monday,
Salam
man.
alaikum. Talk to you on Monday. Peace.
Peace. And there he goes.
How about that?
Helwani, trying out Saudi Arabia for the first time.
Living rough, you know. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
unfortunate.
Flowers and coffee and dates on the tarmac, video cameras.
I wouldn't wish this upon anybody.
The place looks amazing.
Yeah,
Hopefully next time. I saw a couple people being like, y'all should have gone with them.
maybe next
So,
time.
you know, it's not as easy as just getting in the car and just, skirting down the road 15 minutes to old Riyadh.
Speak for yourself.
It's a big endeavor, and hopefully next time we can be with him, and maybe we could do a show from that Greek area that he was just showing us. Maybe we could
From a gondola in
I was
Italy.
gonna say maybe we could get a live to tape from a gondola up there. No, but it's incredible what they're doing. They are here to stay when it. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like all of sports, but especially combat sports. Turkey is a diehard boxing fan, and it seems like
It's the fight capital of the world right now.
he makes the fights happen. And how are
Yeah.
you going to hate against that in a sport that craves these massive fights so badly? He's the one that's getting it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that when he came on the show with Tyson Fury, and like he just in the most casual way was just like, oh yeah, we'll also have Bitterbiev here in June. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Yeah.
Like, just like, oh yeah, we have like one of the best fights that can be made in boxing. Yeah, we'll have that in June. So, yeah, cool stuff for Ariel.
If we were there, we couldn't be here with everybody though. So that's the upside. They get us, and we
They
get to
us,
deliver
we
the
would still
show.
be with them, but we would just be on set and Ariel would be doing the show. You know, it might be kind of cool, but there's always next
Next time.
Always next time. Maybe Fury, Usyk, maybe Bitterbiev, Bivol. You know, maybe next time.
Maybe
Tyson.
Ngannou Usyk. I mean, Ngannou Fury when they run that back.
Undisputed
Yeah,
after
for
Ngannou wins on
undisputed.
Friday.
After Ngannou gets it done against AJ.
Or maybe they do Ngannou versus Henan Ferreira in Saudi Arabia, and that's when we go out there.
I heard UFC is going there. Who knows?
June. UFC going back to Abu Dhabi for a fight night.
That's right. Later this year, yeah.
Now, do you think they're going to do a fight night in August and then a pay-per-view in October? Or, let me just throw this out there, do you think they're having to move the October Abu Dhabi pay-per-view because they're going to do a pay-per-view in Spain and have Ilia Topuria headline?
I could see that. I think the Abu Dhabi is a one time. So I think the fight night will be it probably this year, unless
Okay.
I'm mistaken.
Okay, so they give a banger fight night.
Yeah.
They check that off. October,
Who knows?
Madrid.
Yeah. Why
How's
not?
the weather in Madrid in October? Because that's like, that is a real event where it's just like I would empty the clip to go. Like that's a type of trip that you would never ever forget. That's my conspiracy theory right now.
Okay.
That
We'll see.
They're doing Abu Dhabi, August, Spain, October. Ilia Topuria headlining Bernabeu.
Be some good business for them to go to Spain and have Topuria defending the title there. Yeah.
Would be some good business. All right, so before we were
Rudely interrupted.
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah.
we'll say interrupted by Helwani there. I mean, I'm like trying to break down like one of the biggest fights of the.
It was great to hear from Ade though, at least.
And Frank's in my ear. He's just like, hey, just so you know, we got Helwani, dude. It's in your ear, but like we got Helwani. Whenever you want to go to him, I'm like, all right. Let me just work through it. Yeah, great to hear from Ade.
Yeah.
Or I guess great to see his mouth move. We didn't really hear much from him. But before we were interrupted, we were talking about the main event.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley, Chito Vera. The way that I see this fight going is
Break it down.
Chito Vera, like he has one of those chins that it's just like
Absolutely.
you ain't knocking him out. And not only like are you not knocking him out, you're not knocking him down, and like he wears damage just brilliantly.
Yeah.
He's like Paulo Costa.
Yep.
Paulo Costa the other week against Whitaker. It didn't matter how big the shots he took was. It just like he looked like he was ready to hop on the runway and go model afterward. It was incredible. I know Sean O'Malley has massive punching power. I know him and the team and Tim Welch and everyone have sold that this is going to be a knockout similar to the Aljamain Sterling fight. I just don't know. I just don't know if anyone possesses that power to knock out Marlon Chito Vera. I know anyone can get got, but the way we've seen his chin hold up, I just have a hard time. I think this is going to go 5 rounds. I think there's going to be some dangerous moments for Sean O'Malley.
Interesting.
Just because Chito holds that power. It seems like he catches anyone at a point in the fight. I know obviously the fights that he's lost, but like the Rob Font fight, just getting thoroughly outstruck and then drops him at the end of a couple rounds, ends up winning that. Dominic Cruz, razor thin, ends up getting the head kick in the 4th round. I think there's going to be some dicey moments for Sean O'Malley, but I just keep going to the volume that Sean O'Malley puts up. Like it's like 7.256 strikes a minute. And the lack of volume that Marlon Vera has put up throughout his career. I mean, he has a negative striking differential. He gets outstruck by almost all of his opponents. Like it just feels like the path to victory is there for Sean O'Malley is to stay safe, put up the volume, outpoint him across the 5 rounds, capitalize on the potential of him being a slow starter, win like a 48-47, 49-46 on one judge's scorecard decision and retain the belt.
Yeah, the pace, the volume is the thing to me that stands out about the fight, right? It's very obvious. Sean O'Malley's a high volume, big activity guy, and Marlon Vera's not. Marlon Vera's going to sit back. That's a problem if you can't get Sean O'Malley out of there because he's going to win that fight. He's going to put the pace on you, and then he's going to win that fight on the judges' cards. It's going to be the most interesting aspect beyond just the idea of can Marlon Vera change his style and be a little more high volume, right? And give Sean O'Malley something to think about and push back at him is going to be, does he return to the leg kicks? Like, it's the most obvious thing. It's the thing that everybody's thought about. It's the thing that I'm sure Sean O'Malley has thought about. It's the thing that I'm sure Chito Vera has thought about. I could see a world where he doesn't use them, to a super high degree at all and is just trying to strike with them with his hands. I could see a world where he focuses intently on it and is using them. It really is going to be, I'm more interested to see how Chito Vera comes out than I am Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley just kind of is who Sean O'Malley is. He's going to come out, he's going to put a high volume on you, he's going to put the hands on you, he's going to mix in some kicks, and you have to be able to withstand that pace. And most people can't. It's a really heavy, high pace, and he's got some power too. With Chito, he kind of is different in certain fights. There's different looks that you see from him, even physically.
It's almost like his actual looks, like he does come out differently.
Yeah.
In many of these fights that he's had in the UFC.
And I'm interested to see which version of Chito shows up. I do think ultimately, if Chito can't significantly damage Sean O'Malley, if he can't hurt him in the way that he did in the first fight, it is going to end up the way you've described. Like, it's just going to go to the cards, and Sean O'Malley is going to have had more volume and more damage in the rounds and win a decision. So I think there's a bit of a, I don't want to say it's like Chito's fight to lose, because I think it's Sean O'Malley's fight to lose, but I think there's a higher variance for Chito Vera here. The ceiling is higher and the floor is lower, where he can come out and really change the game plan a little bit and make it interesting. So I'm excited about this fight.
Well, that's another thing, is that I can like try and make this precise prediction and everything that I think is going to happen, and all it takes is one shot to change everything. Not just for Chito Vera, but Sean O'Malley could land that shot.
Oh, for sure.
And put him out. We talk about Chito's chin. I went back and watched the Piotr Jan Sean O'Malley fight, and however you score that fight, it was still a gritty, tough-ass performance by Sean O'Malley. Like, I think he is also an incredibly tough dude as
underrated.
Well. And I like, obviously, if you get caught on the button, you get caught on the button and you're just going to go out. Like, how many people are surviving that Dominic Cruz head kick? I would say next to none in this world that are actually human. But like, when it comes to like this becoming a dogfight, I do have belief that Sean O'Malley can make this a dogfight, and the shape that he's in, the weight that he's at, the coaches that he has, I don't really have real concern for his cardio over 25 minutes. Like, I think he's going to be completely fine. I guess the only thing is the 25 minutes against Chito Vera.
Yeah, how many opportunities does he has to get caught?
Exactly. I think it's a great fight. I'm with you. The almost minus 300 on Sean O'Malley.
Feels high.
It feels kind of high.
Yeah,
It does feel kind of high. And, in retrospect, we could be looking at a 49-46, and we're just like, oh, that was kind of how that one was always going to go. On Sunday morning, we could be saying that, but it feels kind of high. I feel like this one's going to get close, and I feel like both of these guys are going to have moments throughout the course of the 5 rounds.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I do feel like the public may be underrating Sean O'Malley, maybe giving him less credit than he deserves, because I think there's probably a perception, and you kind of alluded to this, like that he's not tough, or that like he's just gonna fall over, and that like the first person to shoot a takedown on him is gonna be successful, and he's just gonna have no answers. And we saw against Aljamain Sterling somebody who can fight, right? Somebody who can show the defensive awareness and manage the distance to be able to get the game plan that he wants to execute. I think he's really good, man. I think he's really good, and I think he's more well-rounded than I think a lot of people give him credit for. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with a star-making type performance, like he's just been stringing them together. But then at the same time, I think Chito Vera is being a little bit underestimated because of the circumstances of the title shot. And as far as the betting lines go, at least I'm saying, because he didn't earn it, quote unquote, right? Like we've seen people, Corey Sandhagen in particular, kind of take him apart. Corey Sandhagen was not in danger in that fight in any capacity, right? It was pretty one-sided. And so you're looking at him as maybe he's not, quote unquote, worthy of the title shot. Whereas in contrast, you have somebody who, Merab Dvalishvili, who everybody looks at as like, if not future champion, clearly the second best guy. But styles make fights, and there's going to be an opportunity for Chito Vera in this fight. How is his game plan going to be adapted to take advantage of that? I think is a super intriguing and interesting question.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about the public. Like, I actually think there's a bit of the way that the first fight went. I feel like you're in either one of two camps. Like,
yes.
It's either like that was a complete fluke and he hurt his leg, and that's how Sean O'Malley lost. Like, that's the only reason he
not
lost.
A real loss.
Yeah, it's not a real loss. Or you're in like Marlon Vera was kicking the legs and the nerve went out and he capitalized on it and he finished him in the first round.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously so many more people are going to be betting on pay-per-view cards. I think the public likes to back Sean O'Malley. I mean, he's a massive superstar. And
popularity helps with that.
He's very popular in people, throwing him in the parlays and everything like that. Because I think on, like, as recently as like Sunday, he was only like a minus 200. Like, I mean, you go back to like February 26th, he was a minus 200, and I mean he got all the way up to like a minus 170 during the month of February. So like this line has come down. So I think it's a combination of how the first fight went, being like it's a fluke. He should be 18-0. He would have beat him anyway. This guy would never have a title shot if that hadn't happened. And B, the popularity behind Sean O'Malley. I think it's a close fight. I think it's an amazing fight. I love the stakes in front of this crowd in Miami. You think he's walking out to Superstar again?
I mean, it'd be a good kind of callback. Yeah, I like that.
I feel like that's the move.
He's the guy. He's the star of this show. Yeah. On a show with tons of stars, he's still the guy, and I think it'd be a good little nod.
And when he's walking out, he will be rocking the pink shorts. We'll get into those later. I know someone asked about him and On the Nose.
Yes.
I have strong feelings about those. Think it's fantastic, but the main event, can't wait for it. And there's just so many fights on this card that I can't wait for. Let's go to the co-main. That's another one that we gotta dive deep into. Dustin Poirier, Benoit Saint-Denis. You're getting this young, up and coming, just absolute killer. And Benoit, 13 wins, all coming by way of finish, has looked unbeatable as of late. And like even in the one fight that he lost to Alessio Dos Santos, that should have been called many times. It's almost like we just got to see just how tough this dude is.
Yeah.
He sat in that chair right there and was just like, I love to bleed. Like, I want to bleed. I want to get to a point where both men are like, whose will is going to be tougher? Who is going to wilt first? Like, that's where he wants it to be at. He doesn't want to just come out and knock you out. So we just got to see just how tough he is and just how big of a beating he can take. And then on the flip side, you have Dustin Poirier. I think he has like 13 bonuses throughout his career, like 8 fight of the nights, like 25% of the time this guy goes out there, he's going to get a fight of the night. Like, it's just like, that's how much of quality performances he puts on. I think he said, I believe it was with Brett Okamoto yesterday, when he goes in the octagon, he knows that a piece of him is staying in the octagon and is just leaving. He's going to leave it there. Like, he comes to put on. I mean, it's similar to the Poirier Gaethje. You know, unfortunately that ended early, but we got a highlight reel knockout. I just don't know how this fight can be bad.
Yeah, no, 100%. You mentioned Benoit Saint-Denis' like mentality, right? The idea of like, we're going to go in there and scrap, and I love the blood and guts. Dustin Poirier is the same guy.
Yeah.
He has the awareness of it because he's been in the game so long, and he thinks about the long-term effects of it and the longevity and all those things. But when you hear him talk about it, he wants to be in there. He wants to be bleeding. It's blood and guts always, and that's been his career, right? Like I tweeted this many years ago, and it's just I continue to think about it. Dustin Poirier is going to have one of the best highlight reels in MMA history. It's going to be insane. It's going to be one of those that in 15, 20 years, they're going to be like, Dustin Poirier was a problem. Just one of those that they just keep bumping back up and set it to the right music. Incredible legacy. This is one of the fights on the card, and there are a few here. Olgar versus Newgard. Like, is it time? Is it Dustin Poirier's time to move aside in the rankings and Benoit Saint-Denis to rise up and potentially be in line for a title shot? Or is it time for Dustin Poirier to turn it back and say, not quite yet, and we're still here to stay, and some of the older lightweights remain at the top of the division? I don't really have a great lean, I'll be honest. I don't really have a great lean on which way this is going to go, because the last fight for Poirier didn't really tell me much. It was such a quick kind of violent thing that I'm just like, I don't know where he's at right now. It's hard for me to really understand where he is. So I'm interested to see, because we could see a vintage Poirier performance. I think that's really on the table. I think there's an opportunity here where his technical ability is going to shine, and his well-roundedness, being one of the more well-rounded guys in MMA. But there's also a real world where the bulldozer in Saint-Denis is just like unstoppable and just comes in there and can't be broken.
And I'm not going to lie, dude. I love either outcome in both the main event and co-main event. I mean, if it's Sean O'Malley, the star just grows that much more. If it's Chito Vera, it's Chito Vera winning a UFC world title, which would just be such an unbelievable story. And then in the co-main event, it's either y'all must have forgot with Dustin Poirier, he turns back the clock, and it's just like this amazing performance. You know, he puts the young pup down, or it's BSD, and it's just like,
this guy's the guy.
Freight train is coming, and no one's stopping it. Like, if he goes out there and finishes Dustin Poirier, keeps the 14, makes it 14 for 14 on getting finishes, and he's doing it against Dustin Poirier, it's just like, you start saying, like, how many more before a title shot?
Yeah.
Are there any more?
If any more.
Right? Like, if Gaethje and Holloway go to war and Islam really wants to fight in June, are we just putting Benoit Saint-Denis in there if he goes out there and finishes Dustin Poirier?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's at stake. This is
amazing.
This to me is the best aesthetic matchup. This is the one I want to see the most. This is the one I'm most excited about. But I also feel like the stakes in this are absolutely as high as possible.
You know what I'm about to say? It might sound crazy. You kind of got to show a little love to the Apex.
Oh, here we go. Wow. I didn't expect this.
I'll tell you where I'm going with this.
Yeah, tell me.
It's like, I am still halfway shitting on it. Some of those cards are just so low quality that when you get to a week like this, and you're just going down and you're just really diving deep and really thinking about these matchups, you're just like, this is just incredible. It's one of those days where you wake up on Saturday, and as soon as your eyes open, you're just like, oh, we got fights tonight. And like, it's almost like they're just looming all day over you. It's just like, no matter what you're doing, it's just like, fight start at 6, fight start at 6. Like, what's it going to be like at 11:30? Like, what are we going to know at 1 a.m.? Like, how different is the landscape going to be across all these weight classes after this pay-per-view is over? Like, there's just so much stakes involved, everything. It's peak UFC. Like, you just can't get any more excited for this.
Yeah, it's one of those that you can't wait for it to come. Then when it comes, you don't want it to be over, and you're thinking about it, and you can't wait for it to end so you can know the outcomes, but you don't want it to end because it's so great. This is the best. This is the best of what they can do.
Really, like, you'd walk away with a high. There's been a few times where you're like, Izzy at 287. Honestly, the Pereira won at 281 where he knocked out Izzy. Yeah. Honestly, the Ilia Topuria against Josh Emmett, that was one that I walked away on that I was like, what a performance. Like, was the rest of the day I was walking around on a high. I was like, I cannot believe how sick that was. O'Malley, the knockout, like, just like in recent memory, just like these nights where like you like can barely go to sleep, and like I feel like that's what we're in store for on Saturday.
And the other thing that's so great about it is there's so many opportunities for it. If it's not the main, it's the co-main, or the third fight, or the fifth fight. There's just so many opportunities for it.
Speaking of that, let's dive into a couple more of these, and then I want to kind of do like a ranking system.
Okay.
Because we obviously a ton of fights on this card. There are 14, so we can't dive as deep into every single one of them. But featured bout,
Yeah.
Real interesting. Kevin Holland, Michael Venom Page, he's making his debut in the UFC after being with Bellator for a very long time. And there's multiple things about this that interest me. A, if MVP comes out here and looks like a star and he wins in convincing fashion, or if he finishes Kevin Holland, it's just like, where are we going? Like we going to England, we going to Manchester, or we going to London, we going to Manchester, where are we going? Like, and how are we going to build this dude up? Like he really has potential to, similar to Michael Chandler, like become a star quickly in the UFC. I like how they're slating him against Kevin Holland. On the flip side of that, Kevin Holland's a tough dude, man. He's a tricky guy. And something that I find very interesting in this matchup is like, typically when Kevin Holland, especially when he's fighting at 170, it's like he's typically taller, he's going to be longer. Now they've essentially found like a carbon copy. I think they're both 6'3" or whatever that is, with like 80-inch reaches. Yeah. So it's like the body types are similar. MVP's a tough puzzle to figure out. Kevin Holland has an interesting fighting style. He'll start talking shit to you, everything like that. I don't really know what's going to happen. My gut tells me Kevin Holland, but then like I've seen some people pointing this out about like what Kevin Holland did against Wonder Boy, and like is MVP just going to be able to recreate that? It's one of those matchups going into it that I'm just like, don't know, man. Don't know what's going to happen here.
I think it's important to establish that the Wonder Boy fight, there was a gentleman's agreement to stand on the feet, right?
Yeah,
like,
Kevin Holland maybe getting the takedowns and then being like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We're going to...
Maybe not his best path to victory against one of the best strikers that we've seen.
And I think we have another opportunity, right? Is Kevin Holland going to test himself on the feet, on the striking with MVP? Who I think, I think I'm very high on Kevin Holland. I think highly of Kevin Holland. I think he has a really good skill set, well-rounded, some clear physical gifts. You mentioned it, right? He's typically going to be bigger and taller and longer than a lot of his opponents. But I would say MVP is probably the better striker overall, right? Like if you just put it in a vacuum. But I could see a world where Kevin Holland is just a better mixed martial artist, just has more tools, more well-rounded. In clinch positions is just a little bit tougher and stronger. If he's able to get it to the ground, I think the submission grappling is going to be completely night and day, right? Like I think there's a real opportunity for him to be able to hunt for something. But is he going to want to just say, hey fans, you came for a striking battle, I want to strike with MVP? Because I could see that too. I could really see that too.
In front of a sold out crowd in Miami, that's probably going to be, reaching its peak as we're approaching the main event, and this is the featured bout of the night. Yeah, that would not shock me at all.
I'm also not sure, by the way, and I think the book on this is like the idea that like if Kevin Holland decides to grapple, he will win this fight. I'm not so sure about that. I don't think that that's right. I don't think that it's this idea that like, as I said kind of with Sean O'Malley earlier, I don't think MVP is just going to fall over.
Yeah.
I think he's somebody who's used to managing range, and Kevin Holland is not exactly Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's not shooting for singles and chain wrestling and trying to take him down that way. So I'm not sure it's just this idea that like if Kevin Holland dedicates himself to grappling, he will win this fight. But I do think if he mixes all the elements of martial arts, he has a very well-rounded game and a real opportunity to give MVP some problems.
The thing with Kevin Holland, though, is there's no way to know.
He could do whatever he wants.
There's no way to know what he's going to do out there. Like it's almost impossible. It's essentially a guessing game.
He also takes what he's given most of the time. Sometimes he'll feel the flow of the fight, go with it. Sometimes it's a grappling fight. Okay, now I'm going to get into it. Sometimes it's a striking battle with Wonder Boy, and he's just decided, hey, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, you're right. So there's a mystery around that.
First fight in the UFC for MVP.
Yeah.
Getting a ranked opponent, 13 in Kevin Holland. Let's say hypothetically he goes out there, he wins either a unanimous decision, gets a finish on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, though, I do have to say, mentioning that Wonder Boy fight, tough as nails.
Yeah, broken hand.
I mean, you had to put him like essentially in the ER to get him to not come back out in that fight. Like it was just like the toughness on that dude is just next level. So with only 3 rounds, I do have a hard time seeing MVP finishing him. But let's say MVP goes out there, looks great, gets it done, gets on the mic. Who are we calling out?
Leon Edwards.
Leon Edwards. We're going straight for the
title shot.
36 years old, don't have much time left. We're already in the UFC. We've already had 23 pro fights. We're taking the Michael Chandler out, straight to Leon Edwards. Do you think he would be awarded that? And what? They go to England and they do Brit versus Brit title.
All I can say is it seems like they are doing everything in their power to not give Bilal Muhammad a title shot.
It does seem that way.
I don't know what the reason.
The Masvidal
yeah, the Masvidal promo
might have helped.
The cameo from Jorge. Based on that, if MVP gets on the mic and says, Leon Edwards, Britt versus Britt, let's do it in the UK, there's a real chance that his wish is granted. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be based on the evidence that we've been presented. If it would be different to me if all of a sudden the fervor around Shavkat was unmistakable and everybody needed him and it was like, Shavkat. It seems like it's simmered down a little bit as he's been absent. Bilal, it seems like, is the anti-title shot at this point. Like, the UFC does not want to give it to him for one reason or another. I think we're all on the record and clear. He deserves it. He should have it.
Of course, 9 straight wins.
But in light of those pieces of evidence, you could do a lot worse than MVP versus Leon in the UK. You could do a lot worse.
I don't hate this idea, though I'm just not sure one win off of
Kevin Holland.
Rank,
yeah.
Kevin Holland gets you there. Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you give me something better.
I'm going to say that they didn't want Bilal Muhammad to main event UFC 300, and that's why they weren't willing to offer him the title shot. So what they do is they go to England, and they do Tom Aspinall versus fill in the blank, whatever the best heavyweight available at the time. Maybe Jelton Almeida wins.
Or Curtis Blades, run that
Curtis
back.
Blades wins. That's not bad. If Curtis Blades goes out there and knocks out Jelton Almeida, run back the Aspinall fight, you do that in the main event. Then you do Leon and Bilal in the co-main event. Featured bout of the evening, MVP, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I like it, but does it feel like getting a win over Wonderboy significantly improves your stock as opposed to a win over Kevin Holland? Like, I feel like you could skip that step.
Yeah, I guess like my biggest thing is that fight would probably be incredible.
It would be a great fight.
It would be a really fun fight to watch. And I just don't know. I mean, he is the 8th ranked. Like now you're being like, all right, now I got to win over the 13 and I got to win over the 8. Now,
I don't hate it.
Now he gets on the mic and after beating Wonderboy Thompson and he says, Leon, go handle business in the main event, then we'll meet.
There's one problem with this plan.
Well, then you maybe couldn't do it in England because you'd have to wait a whole year for it to come back. What is your issue with it, though?
What if Wonderboy wins?
What if Kevin Holland wins?
Well, then this is all irrelevant at that point.
Yeah.
But we're setting up a scenario where MVP wins and gets on the mic. And to me, you take it. You take that opportunity and run with it.
Okay, all right. So this is all not basically what should the UFC do, what should MVP do?
What should MVP do?
Okay, all right.
Hop on the mic.
I appreciate that more then. Yeah, I mean, that's the smartest thing to do. Leon,
Take your shot.
I'm coming to let's do it in Manchester, let's do it in Birmingham, let's do it wherever you want to do it.
There's a Bellator guy who came over and he got a win, an impressive knockout. He did it. Now it's my turn. It's just right there. It's right there for him.
Is there a bit of me saying that in my gut I think Kevin Holland wins? Is that me just like an underlying bias
against the Bellator
being in Bellator this whole time?
No, because I think we've seen Kevin Holland face the highest possible level of competition, and you cannot say that throughout all of MVP's career. I think there are some notable fights that he's had in his career that I would point to and say, this is equivalent caliber, right? Like, I think Douglas Lima is a really good fighter, and especially at the time that they were intersecting. But you can't say that for every fight. And whereas for Kevin Holland, since his UFC debut, do you know who Kevin Holland debuted against?
No, I don't.
Thiago Santos.
Oh, yes.
Welterweight Kevin Holland's debut was against Thiago Santos, who basically took him down and controlled him. But yeah, the dude's just not had an easy fight in his entire run. Like, he has fought the creme de la creme in a division that was pretty good, especially the names at the time. You can't say the same about MVP, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that. I think it's okay to say we're a little less sure about where MVP is, but also look at the skills and say you would think that these translate, especially the physical gifts that he has. And now we're going to get to find out. What I love is after Saturday, we'll get to the how good is MVP against top-level competition conversation is just over. We saw it with Michael Chandler. Now we know how good he can be against XYZ opponents. We will never have to hear that about MVP again. He is trying it now at the highest level against the highest caliber opponents, and I just love that. And I think he will be ready for that opportunity.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like people aren't talking about this enough. Kevin Holland himself, former Bellator fighter.
Yeah, there you go.
One-time Bellator 195. Another thing, everyone, this will be Dustin Poirier's 30th UFC fight, which is just
That's
crazy.
crazy.
This will be Kevin Holland's 21st walk to the octagon since 2018. In less than 6 years, 21 times this dude has fought in the UFC. I mean, no easy fights, always down to fight with whoever. I mean, you got to appreciate Big Mouth, man.
He's made his career more difficult, right? By not being more conservative and not being more laid back and taking opportunities and jumping into the fray. But he's also made it more fun. Like, it's just better when Kevin Holland is around, and he's the guy who will step up to fight MVP in his promotional debut and just be like, yeah, I'm ranked, so what? Yeah. I'll fight him. I don't care.
2 other fights on the main card.
Yeah.
And then we'll do this ranking. JDM. I mean, you see the. I guess the computer's blocking my shirt here. I mean, one of the best shirts I got. I mean, good old Jack Della there. Great stuff. Taking on Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, obviously, highly decorated in jiu-jitsu. I mean, has a ground game to give his opponent serious problems. And Jack Della, he's got solid takedown defense, especially if you're just looking at the number. I think it's like 92%, but. We saw Basil Hafez give him some issues.
Absolutely.
Is there a world where Gilbert Burns gives JDM issues and just dumps him on down and subs him out? If
the Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat Chimaev fight is any indicator, like, there's a real world where he gives JDM some problems.
Yeah.
There's a real world.
If there's infinite universes, there's many where Gilbert Burns goes out there and gives Jack Della Maddalena problems.
I favor Gilbert. I'm a little surprised to see the betting line on this one. I favor Gilbert.
JDM opened up as an underdog, hung around for a couple days, and then he's just been getting solidly bet the entire time on DraftKings right now, -155 for Jack Della Maddalena.
I'm a little surprised, but at the same time, we talked about it with Poirier. He's been in this game for a long time, man. He's been in this game for a really long time. And if he's getting long in the tooth, then all of a sudden it's just the prospect's time. It's just Jack's time. And we've seen this happen so many times in MMA. It happens all the time. It happens over and over. There's a real world where it's just the best Gilbert was behind us and he's 80% and he's 75%. And sometimes that percentage difference is just enough where Jack at his best is able to get him. So I favor Gilbert just based on what I've seen previous to this, but there's a world where what I've seen previous to this is not what we see on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, 37 years old, coming off, a 10-month layoff after having a pretty serious injury against Bilal Muhammad. I mean, he really had nothing to offer.
A short notice fight that they really didn't kind of need to make. It kind of felt like, is it #1 contender? And then it ended up not being a real weird situation.
I, of course, am going to be favoring Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, I'm going to ride the train until the wheels fall off on this one. I think if it stays standing, he's going to be able to box him up.
Oh yeah,
I know Gilbert Burns does have hands. It's not like he's completely a fish out of water on the feet, but I do think if it stays standing, JDM does have the advantage there. I mean, it's another one of these fights where it's going to be incredibly interesting to watch. I just, like, when the first bell rings, I don't know what's going to happen.
This feels like the most clear style versus style, though, to me. This feels like the way I said, like, Kevin Holland is just going to shoot takedowns, and no matter what he does, he's going to win this fight. I don't agree with that sentiment. I do think there's a real world where if Gilbert Burns comes in with that mentality and sticks to a game plan that is grappling heavy and I am going to take this man down no matter what, I do think he wins this fight, actually. I do think that is probably the path to victory, and I do think he will be successful in doing it. So it's style versus style. It's going to be really interesting, but there's also a real chance, I think, that, like, Gilbert Burns' best days are behind him. And it has to be, y'all must have forgot if he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, and that could be the case.
Yeah.
Either outcome would not really surprise me. But, man, you talk about stakes. These fights are just absolute.
Every single one of these.
JDM currently ranked 11th. Gilbert Burns currently ranked 4th. I mean, where do we go from here if JDM gets a dub?
Yeah, he's up there. I mean.
And then you're talking about he's in that, do we do the Sean Brady fight? Brady's sitting at 7. We were supposed to see that. That feels like a fight that is a real hurdle for Jack Della to get over.
Yeah, that if he wins this fight, it's going to be tough to deny him one away from a title shot, if not Man, I mean,
Welterweight's tough.
it's such a bad division to say this because
When does Bilal get the shot?
When does Bilal
Shavkat get the shot?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's unending of guys that could potentially get it.
and it's also this thing where you might have to start matching up prospects against each other, and you don't really want to do that, right? You don't really want to start knocking off these guys that could have been in line. This division needs to move, and maybe this is the best thing that will happen for Bilal Muhammad, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing will happen is this queue is getting too long. We need to make this title fight and move this division on ASAP.
You give JDM Sean Brady, Ian Gary versus Colby Covington, Bilal versus Leon, and then Shavkat waits for the winner of that one and fights in the title after it.
I'm with all of it.
It's going to be
And MVP enters the fray, maybe.
yeah, and then MVP, yeah.
If he gets by Kevin Holland.
All right, last fight on the main card, which will be the main card opener. And it's just, I mean, it's just a beauty of a fight. Petr Yan taking on Song Yadong. I mean, does it get better than this? I mean, two of the best boxers in the bantamweight division. I mean, two of like if you're making a long list of the best boxers in the UFC, I feel like both these guys are going to be on there. Tough as nails. I mean, Petr Yan never been finished before. Song Yadong can take some punches and keep moving through them. If this fight stays standing, which I feel like it's going, I almost feel like they should make a gentleman's agreement similar to Wonder Boy and Kevin Holland, and they should just be like, all right, let's just go in there, stay standing, and just scrap this thing out. This is one of those fights where it's just like, I just have a hard time seeing this being a bad fight.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they don't even need the agreement. I have a feeling it's going to play out on the feet. And yeah, I mean, Dana White has kind of said this about UFC 300, where it's like every one of these could be a headliner on another show. Like you look at this main card, every one of these could be a headliner on another show. And then even further down, you get to Blades Almeida. Like this could be a headliner on another show. Yan and Song Yadong is another example of that. I think it will play out on the feet. I don't think they'll need the agreement.
I imagine they're going to go for
all of a sudden. Yan is
Petr Yan we have seen like
he mixes it up.
Yeah, but I hope he doesn't.
I also just think Song Yadong will be prepared for that. Like he's in a great grappling camp. He'll be prepared for that, and then they're going to probably end up neutralizing each other and striking it out. And it's going to be a great fight. Like I love this fight. We'll do our rankings. It'll be on mine.
The main
I'll tell you that.
There's no bathroom breaks, bro.
Yeah,
strap in, get comfortable. You make your quick trip in between fights. This is you better have your ass in the seat when Bruce Buffer's roaring out there, because like you don't want to miss any of these. I mean, all 5 of these. So 14 fights on this card. I mean, there's a ton that like you can still get into it. Top 5 fights that you're most looking forward to.
Is it boring if I go like pretty close to the top though? Because I feel like this is usually the opportunity where you pick the low key banger, as MMA Twitter would say. But like, man, the top is just so good. How are we gonna do it? Alternate? I pick one, you pick one.
I mean, I think we're both going to agree on number 1, Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis.
Done. Number 1.
That's
lock it in.
I think for 2, I'm going Petr Yan, Song Yadong.
That's 2 for you?
I think I'm going that as 2.
I've got Holland and MVP. That's my number 2.
Oof. It is so interesting.
That's my number
honestly,
2.
after 2 is when
they get tough.
I start having a hard time with it. I think with 3, I'm going to go Sean O'Malley, Cheeto Vera.
Okay, I like it. I'm going Yan and Song Yadong. So I swapped your 2 to my 3.
I think 4. I'm gonna go off the main card. And
tell me.
I'm gonna take Curtis Blades, Jailton Almeida.
Yeah,
I'm not buying into this one stinker from Jailton Almeida where he 50-44'd one of the
a dominant
biggest,
performance.
Yeah, where he 50-44'd one of the biggest power punchers in UFC history. I'm not completely off the train. I mean, 19 wins before that, all 19 coming by first or second round finish. Like, I'm not going to sign up. I mean, if we have 2-3 fights in a row where it's just like he just becomes lay and pray and it's just like get the top control and that's all we're out there to do. I think Curtis Blades' commitment to the hands and Jailton Almeida's deep history of putting on exciting finishes for the fans, heavyweight, in front of a massive, massive crowd, super high-level stakes on the line here. I just don't see 12 minutes of control time Jailton Almeida win.
Does the fact that it's a decision change any? I miss a decision that it's 3 rounds change anything? Like, does that factor in when you're thinking about this?
No. Honestly, I think we're seeing a finish here.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, Curtis Blades has fantastic wrestling acumen. I actually think I
Yeah.
saw him joking today that he was like, I'm the Murad Dvalishvili of the heavyweight division. I just don't have a gas tank. But on the flip side of that, Jilton Almeida has almost always, every fight, tried to take his opponent to the ground, and usually he's successful with it, and usually he gets a finish with that. Curtis Blades, he's got the wrestling chops, but like no one ever shoots on this guy. I think in 16 fights, there's been 6 takedowns attempted against him, and 3 of them were against Cody East in like his second UFC fight ever. So it's going to be interesting. Like if Jailton's the one going for takedowns, how is that going to look? I really think from the last few fights and from what Curtis Blades said on this program on Monday, he's sticking to the hands. Like
Which would be smart.
He'll defensively wrestle to set up the hands and stuff the takedowns of Jailton, because I do think, he is the better striker on the feet. And I think where we've seen Curtis Blades struggle is in massive power punchers, Francis Ngannou's, Derek Lewis, guys like that, Sergey Pavlovich. I think those are his 4 losses. Ngannou twice, Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich.
Guys who knock him out. Yeah.
You might be listing like 3 of the top 10 hardest punchers in UFC history right there.
In
like
combat sports history. They're massive punchers. Yeah.
Talking about just like 18-wheeler semi-truck type hitters. And I don't think Jilton Almeida necessarily holds that power. So I think his path to victory would be taking it down. So it's very interesting, high stakes. Want to see if Jailton changes the game plan after what we saw against Derek Lewis. So number 4.
Yeah, my 4 is going to be the main event, O'Malley and Vera. And then what's your 5?
5, I'm going to go Kevin Holland, Michael Page. I want to see what happens there. I want to see if a new star is born in the UFC. I want to see what MVP looks like against top-tier talent. A lot of questions will be answered in that one.
And then this is where I have Blades and Almeida. So we have the same 5, but we switch up the order.
Okay.
But I do love that we universally, unanimously agree number 1. There's no mistaking.
It's one of those fights where it's just like, I'm not even that, and maybe I'm jinxing it right now. I'm like not even that worried about jinxing it, because it's just like these 2 guys fighting style. Like, yeah, Gaethje Poirier didn't go long, but we got a highlight reel knockout out of it.
That's what this could be too. Like there's a world where one of them comes out and just murks the other. Yeah,
for sure. So that is $299. We'll obviously continue to talk about it through On the Nose, through the betting and everything. I mean, it's just like it's going to be ad nauseum by the time we get to Saturday, how much I've talked about this card. Another event happening this week, Friday. Just talked to Ariel about it out in Saudi Arabia. Francis Ngannou, his second boxing match, taking on Anthony Joshua, superstar. Winner gets undisputed heavyweight title.
Yeah. Well, it seems that way, but we're going to have to wait for potential rematches to occur, because Fury and Usyk have signed for 2. So depending on who wins, then they might enact the rematch clause. Then we've got another one. So likely they'll be next, but down the line, or they could choose to fight in the interim, right? So not 100%, we don't know. But what we do know is there's a lot on the line potentially, especially for a guy in Francis Ngannou, right? For Joshua, he's been floating around this territory. He's been a champion before. This is something that he will continue. He will continue in boxing and continue to be in these conversations. For Ngannou, this is like he's hot at the table and the dice are rolling, right? And he's just going.
Yeah, man. And it's almost like, if he comes out and has another great performance, but he ends up losing the fight, it's a close fight. It's just like you can only do that so many times.
That's right.
Before it's just like, oh, well, he's 0-4 now. He's looked good, but he's just not championship medal.
He will not be able to lose and shock the world this time, right? Against Tyson Fury, he was able to lose and shock the world. He put the heavyweight champ on his butt. The lineal heavyweight champ, the guy that everybody kind of has pointed to as the best heavyweight of our era, and put him on his butt and nearly won the fight. I think I did not score it for him, but I know many who have, and I think it was close enough that that's a very reasonable thing to say. That you can only do once. If he comes out there and knocks AJ down but loses a fight, I don't think it has that same cachet. I don't think it has that same momentum. He'll certainly, I don't think there would be any doubt that he could still get top-level boxing fights.
For sure.
Those 2 losses, you're fine. He could get boxing fights. But his goal of potentially rolling this into an undisputed boxing heavyweight championship, I think it would end on Saturday if he were to lose, even if he has one of those performances where he hurts AJ. He needs to win.
Just the fact that is even at play.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this on BoxRec. Anthony Joshua, 27-3.
Yep.
Francis Ngannou, 0-1. And you're telling me this guy can be 1-1 and potentially get a rematch with Tyson Fury, or even fight Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world in boxing?
It seems fake.
if he pulls that off, like
Yeah.
my brain is like sizzling right now. Like I'm having a hard time like computing it. It's just like, if he pulls this off and he somehow just to even get to an undisputed heavyweight title fight is mind-boggling. And if he were to win it and have been UFC champ, undisputed boxing heavyweight champ, it's just like, it's just over. It's just like, you've done it. There's nothing else for you to do, man. Back it up, head home, man.
Well, there's that, right? There's the legacy, the combat sports element of it. Then you think about where he came from in the salt mines and coming to where he is now. Like, he's already won. He's won 10 times over. This is like
a million times over.
This is the biggest free roll of all time. Yeah. Like he's just living fantasies.
It's almost like he's playing a video game and he beat the video game and now he's just kind of doing like little side
extra
quests. It's just like, just trying to get all the stars in Mario or something like that.
I think Dewey put it best. Dewey Cooper, who we had on Monday, Ariel spoke to him and he said he's the baddest man ever on the planet. Not just the baddest man on the planet right now, but if he actually could accomplish that, if he actually could have been UFC champion, heavyweight champion, and then a short time after that have been boxing heavyweight champion, undisputed, there is nobody who can talk resumes with him in terms of combat sports.
In 3 fights.
Nobody. Well, I should say maybe Henry Cejudo, right? You're talking like gold medals, you're talking Olympics. There's like real potential things there. But like, look at somebody like Clarissa Shields.
Oh my gosh.
Gold medalist. When it comes to MMA, now you come over to MMA, the sledding's tough, right? The sledding's a lot harder.
Life and death. We've got arm bars locked up in round 1.
Francis Ngannou, if he can do that, if he can have beat the best of that heavyweight era and Stipe Miocic, and then come beat either one of Tyson Fury. First of all, he gets through Joshua, and then if he can beat one of Usyk or Fury, I mean, I feel like the debate's over. Like, that's the baddest man who's ever walked on the earth. If he can do it. Now that's putting a lot.
Dreaming. We're kind of dreaming here right now. Like, he's a massive underdog to Anthony Joshua. He's in like the plus 300 range. Like, it would be shocking enough for him to pull it off this weekend.
Where does that compare to where he was against Fury line-wise?
Oh gosh, I mean, by the time it closed, Fury was like a minus 1400. So the odds have come down. Like, you're not going to be able to sneak one by on the books, but just the potential of it is just crazy to even think about. And how can you doubt him, honestly?
It's hard.
It's like he's just been doubted time and time and time again, and he just keeps pulling shit off, right?
It's extremely hard to doubt somebody with the level of self-belief that he has, right? That seems so casually at ease with the idea of the circumstances he's in, right? The moment does not get to Francis Ngannou. No. He has seen the worst of the worst. He has been down, and he has risen above it. So it's very hard. There's these people, Conor McGregor, I think, is a great example of this, that like no matter their circumstances can have an uncanny ability to make you believe, right? Yep. No matter what, no matter how the chips are, they will always have fans and they will always have people that believe in them. Francis Ngannou feels like somebody that has become impossible to doubt. Even if he were to lose this fight against Joshua, there's a world where whatever his next fight is, the people will be there lining up and believing that he's going to win this fight. He's got something magical at the moment.
Brother, if he comes out here and he just competes with Anthony Joshua, say he loses, then it's just like, oh, well, like worst comes to worst, I can just fall back on going back to MMA and having a mega fight with my new organization and not only get myself paid, but also get this guy, Hanan Fair, a massive payday as well.
Or go fight Deontay Wilder. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's do Deontay Wilder.
Let's get a few million.
Champion, one of the biggest power punchers in boxing history. The guy's got options. I'm not going to doubt him. I think it's shaping up to be a great fight. I think Francis Ngannou's chin and the way that Anthony Joshua of late, I mean, 4 of his last 7 have gone to a decision, is the best thing that's going for Ngannou. I think this one is going to go longer. And it could be him getting circles boxed around him, or it could be him keeping it close like he did against Tyson Fury.
I think if he is to be successful, he really needs to up the volume. The performance against Tyson Fury is not going to get it done in this one. I think AJ is going to be much more aggressive, and I think he's going to need to up the volume. I don't think it's super significant. I think he'll be able to like find 25, 30% more, and I think he'll be in that. Also, it was his first pro boxing bout. Like, I think we have to give some grace, and in that, he rocked the best heavyweight of our era. So I think we will see a more volume from him, but if we do not, I do not see it going well for him. I think that will be a real harm for him.
How do you feel if you're Anthony Joshua and you see that video of him doing the punching power test and like it's just like
Not great.
it just goes from 0 to 999 that quick, and then you go back and you watch like the Fury knockdown, and then you see all the UFC knockout highlights. It's just like this guy touches me. It might be bad news.
There's two ways to look at that if you're Anthony Joshua, and these are the two ways anybody would look at it. One, you delude yourself and you say that could never be me. I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, and you ain't going to touch me.
Couldn't be me.
Or you prepare for the absolute worst, which is, what if I get nuked by this guy? I have to have a plan B. I have to figure out how to keep that power away from me. I would think that Joshua is smart enough, and he has suffered defeat in his career and built himself back up. He seems like a guy who will not underestimate Francis Ngannou. He doesn't strike me as a guy. If anything, I think you could say that AJ in the past has fought down to lesser competition, right?
Yeah.
But has fought up to higher level competition. Yeah. I think he will see Francis Ngannou as the threat that he is, and I think he will fight commensurate with the threat that he is. I do not think he will be underestimating Francis Ngannou, which is what all you can hope for and expect from a top level fight.
I don't think you can after the Tyson Fury
You can't.
fight. I just don't think there's any way. I mean, even if you're convinced, I mean, we've heard Eddie Hearn talk about it, like he's going to win. That's sort of the belief for them. Even if you believe that through and through, you still in the back of your head have to be like, got to get ready for this. Like this is a championship out here.
Extremely dangerous.
Cannot wait for it. Love that it's Friday afternoon.
Perfect.
Right around dinner time, we're going to be getting the ring walks. It's going to be just a magical weekend in combat sports. I'm just thinking about like what it's going to be like on Monday, talking about everything that happened. It's just going to be like, oh, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened.
What do you think? Like 8-hour show, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. And then who are the guests going to be? I mean, it's just going to be. It's just going to be an amazing time. The good news is Helwani will be back because booking those guests, anyone that rips on him for those lineups is delusional, because getting timely, relevant guests to come on and talk to you is much more difficult than it seems. As we have learned, a lot of no's, a lot of left on reds, a lot of just they're not going to come on and talk to us. So. Looking forward to Monday. Looking forward to whatever is in store for that, because it's going to be an incredible show to talk about everything that happened. One other fight on this card that I did want to talk about. Our guy, Shiley Zhang.
We're big fans.
Big fans. I mean, how can he not be?
Yeah.
He's just a big dude. Comes in there and he's got one plan. It's just like, I'm just here to light you up, man.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to go to the scorecards. Like, I'll be patient and I'll counter beautifully, but like, I know the power I've got. I know the size that I've got. I mean, he's looked incredible. I think he's 40 now, but like he's had this just like
it's been recent for him. The come up has been very recent.
Of, like, stardom and everything. I mean, obviously, when you beat Joyce twice in a row, putting him out, I mean, it made it look easier than it did the first time. Like, it's just those are really, really special. And the one loss to an undefeated boxer in Hrgovic. I mean, he's looked fantastic. He gets a tough test in Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker looked great last time out.
I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed.
Deontay Wilder, really, like, half of it was, man, Deontay Wilder is not doing anything. The other half was, man, Joseph Parker looks fantastic. I'll be backing our guy, Shiley Zhang. I mean, I know he's going to walk out with the Chinese flag. He reps China hard, but he's a Jersey boy at heart. He trains right over there in beautiful Bloomfield, New Jersey. Got to support the local man.
Yeah, I'm picking Zhang as well. A lot of guys have been in there with Deontay Wilder, and it's looked like Wilder's doing nothing, and all of a sudden they're sleeping on the canvas.
100%.
I was
not do that.
I was impressed by the performance. Yeah, I thought, and the stakes of the fight, knowing what's at risk there, knowing what this could mean potentially for the career, I was impressed. But man, it's Zhang's time right now. I want to see him fight for undisputed titles like one day. Like that is what I'm hoping.
What's so amazing is like it's just like. I don't even know how to describe. Like, he looks 40 too. Like,
yeah,
it's not like he's like some young dude. Like,
but heavyweight boxing, you've got extra mileage there. You've got some pad. You've got some time.
Yeah, and like obviously, like the power, like you can retain that as you get into these later years. But like, man, just looking at him, it's just like he's got a worse receding hairline than me. Like, it's going back far, and like he's just 6'6", 80-inch reach, 40 years old. 26-1. He's coming for the heavyweight strap. Like,
I would love that.
It's incredible.
I think it's a really fun, like, kind of like boxing story that's not about the like glitz and glamour of it and the pageantry of boxing. That's just like, this is a hard-nosed dude who comes in there and is all about action and really tries to finish fights. And is in his late career and is able to potentially fight for the belt, I'd love that story. I just love that story. When you couple it with like the pageantry that is associated with the top level heavyweight boxing right now, with the class and the grace of AJ and the kind of like this air of this aura that he has. Then you've got Tyson Fury, the smack talk, the this, the that. You've got Usyk, who's this kind of like humble, quiet guy, but now has this like small following, not even small, very large following, but like a less vocal majority. He brings a little bit something different, and I would love to see it kind of like introduced into that top title mix.
It is different, man. He's got a swag to him that I love. I mean, I really like that he's from this area. Like, he was just at a Nets game the other week. Like, he sort of reps this area just beyond China. He's been around the block though, man. 2008. He got an Olympic silver medal. Did it in Beijing at the Beijing Games, repping China, which is just incredible. But the star power rise for him of late. We are on board, and I'm hoping that he continues to ascend. And then you start talking about like whoever wins of Ngannou and Joshua, they're obviously going to be in the picture for whatever happens with Fury and Usyk over the course of their fights. Then if Zhang can enter that equation, then you start getting a pool of like undisputed heavyweight champion and sort of all those belts getting passed around. Like, that is incredibly exciting to think about in boxing.
Or potentially not passed around. Or
someone becomes
or Usyk champ is holding on to him and just holding him and holding him.
Which is cool too. I mean, we love to see dominance in sports. So can't wait for those top two. There's several other really good fights on that card as well. I mean, there's a couple of title fights. Ray Vargas is going, but it's just going to be a great night.
I believe the main card starts at like 1 Eastern or 1:30 Eastern, so somewhere around that range.
I think there's 4 fights on the main card. I think all of them have belts associated with them. So it's going to be great, man. Hopefully the crowd shows out. Hopefully it's loud. Maybe not as long of a gap between co-main and main event this time. Maybe 1 concert, instead
2?
of
It's a bigger event.
But yeah, can't wait for that one. Last thing I want to get into is tomorrow.
Yes.
PFL Europe 1, Cedric Doumbé, your guy.
I mean,
going up against Baki, undefeated Frenchmen going against each other.
What more needs to be said? Cedric Doumbé's fighting.
Sold out the arena in
5 minutes.
Hour.
Yeah.
20,000 people. I mean, no one else can do this now. Here's what I want to throw out to you, though.
Okay, hit me.
Cedric Doumbé, let's see what he's sitting at right now. Last night.
Was he 4 or 5-0?
Last night, no, I'm talking about odds.
Oh, odds.
Last night I bet on him at plus 136.
Okay.
He's currently sitting at plus 100. Is Cedric Doumbé.
So what does that mean? Baki's like minus 120 or something? What is
minus 135 for Baki.
Oh, boy.
And also, mind you, Cedric Doumbé opened as like a minus 145, so like people like came
the line flipped.
Baki. Yeah, a lot of people putting money on Baki. Undefeated, 7-0. Seems to be a prospect. He posted a picture. Hamzat Shemaev's posting wolves on it and stuff.
Yeah.
That always kind of just strikes fear into your heart.
Yeah, that makes you think about it for a second.
Is Cedric Doumbé the sucker bet of the week? The sucker bet of the month?
You're not going to get me out here to say betting on Cedric Doumbé is a sucker bet, but you will make me question, is now the time for this fight, right? Like, it seems like these are two guys that you could have kept away from each other a little bit and potentially built different directions and built them up simultaneously. This may be a bad style matchup for Cedric Doumbé. This may be one where if he clears the bar, it may be this one where it's time for the test, right? If he clears this bar, what arena is he selling out next? That becomes the question, right? Like, can we even contain the number of people that are going to be excited about this? If he suffers a setback here, it's not going to be great. It's going to be a little bit difficult because he's coming over after a really great career in kickboxing. He fought for glory for a long time. Decorated champion, fought the best of that era, like murderer's row at the time of guys in that division. And now all of a sudden, like, he suffered a defeat. How is he going to be able to build himself back up? If he gets exposed in the grappling, is that an area where he can advance like quickly and be able to learn it? People talk about like you have to pick the right fights when people are on the way up. You think about Israel Adesanya, think about Alex Pereira, you think about how they're fighting guys who are going to match with them on the feet, and then all of a sudden, then you start to get the tests as you're more advanced as a mixed martial artist. This is one of those fights that you would have probably liked to see later rather than earlier in his career, but the potential for if he can get this done and people look at this and go, oh my God, this is one of the defining wins of his career. There's a lot on the line for Cedric Doumbé. and for Baki, quite honestly, a name like Doumbé on your resume in front of that crowd in that atmosphere, you're now the guy that you can build on. So maybe this is a little bit of a, hey, we've got two. One of them is going to come out. We're pitting them against each other. These wolves are going to go at it, and one of them is going to be hungrier, and we're going to go out and we're going to have somebody to build on from the future after this. But man, I would have maybe liked to see it a little bit later. I don't know. But you're never going to hear me say it's not Cedric Doumbé, because it's always Cedric Doumbé all day, every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I did this. I bet on him, like, solely out of fun. Like, you want to bet on Cedric Doumbé just because, like, the confidence that he has. Like, I think he rented out a hospital and got dressed up in
hospital rooms
just for Baki. And, like, his confidence, he is not lacking any of that. That is for sure. And, like, the way that he's going to control and command this crowd.
Swag.
It's just going to be amazing. And, like, if he does win, it's probably going to be like in sick, emphatic fashion, and it's going to be amazing. And like, I just want to be a part of that. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I just want to be a part of that. That's why I bet it. But
you and everybody at PSG. So you know
the way that Cedric has sold this, and maybe this speaks volumes to him. With everything going on, I haven't sat and watched through all 7 fights of Baki's career, so I'm not diving deep on the research or anything, but. The way that he sold it, you kind of felt like it was going to be like Cedric Doumbé, like minus 300. It's just like, all right, he's going out there to just starch another guy and get this thing done. And so that's my ignorance showing. But
well, that's what you would typically expect in this spot. But instead, we're getting one where he might have to grind his teeth a little bit. He might have to bite down on the mouthpiece and have a tough one. But no matter what happens in this fight, there might be a situation where all of a sudden it's like, Cedric Doumbé wasn't for real. No, the dude's for real. Trust me. Like, the striking is a different level. Like, the dude is absolutely for real. But styles make fights in MMA. Sure. This is not kickboxing. This is not boxing. There are real opportunities for people who don't have the striking to equalize the playing field and even things out. So we're going to see, but I think this is a very exciting kind of opportunity for both guys.
I will say I like how you framed it, that like, if Baki wins, he becomes 8-0, and now he's the guy that beats Cedric Doumbé, and like you can kind of go to start off that, and then if Doumbé wins, obviously the sky's the limit. I do think if Doumbé loses, especially to the more casual viewer, the stock is going to fall. Sure, he'll probably still sell out in France and everything like that, but the interest will have to. It's just going to be so hard to follow up the performance that he had last time in front of the biggest soccer, football superstars in the world, and he goes out, does this incredible knockout, is just like commanding the crowd like it's an orchestra, and then getting a knockout in like 10 seconds. I don't think you can even come close to recreating that. But yeah, like if he goes out there and just like, say he just gets dominated in the grappling and loses like a 30-27, like hype will take a hit.
Absolutely. We like consistency. We like patterns. We like the idea of like this escalation. And he has continued to escalate things. He has, as the stage has gotten bigger, he has gotten better. And as the lights have shown brighter, he's been more of a star. And so if all of a sudden that crashes, people will start to like hop off the train, and people will like, it will be a setback. But there is a world where he can build himself back up. MMA is not boxing. And so even if he suffers defeat, sometimes that kind of like shows some grit and shows some character, and he's able to build back. But this like meteor that he's on will crash, and it will be a slow build the other way.
All right, so we ranked the top 5 fights that we liked on UFC 299. Let's extend it to the weekend and let's make it a top 10 rankings. Does your 5 stay the same?
Why don't we make it 5 and see if anything jumps into it?
Okay,
because 10 might be hard. I mean,
all right, I think I'm moving Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou to 2.
To 2.
2. Yeah, that's how intrigued I am by this fight. That's how much stakes I think there are.
Yeah, am I more intrigued by that than Holland and MVP? I'd probably have to say so. So yeah, it might be 2 for me as well.
So that would bump Holland and MVP out, and that would move Jailton and Blades to 5 for me.
Is Zhang hopping in there? Is Cedric hopping in there?
I don't think Zhang. I think Cedric might. I think Cedric might make it to 5. So I'm going to go, number 1 is BSD versus Poirier. Number 2 is Ngannou Joshua.
We're same so far.
Number 3 is Cheeto versus Vera. Number 4.
Cheeto versus O'Malley.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Number 3 is Song Yadong versus Petr Yan. Number 4 is O'Malley versus Cheeto. Did I say Cheeto versus Vera?
Yeah.
And then number 5, Cedric Doumbé versus Baki. Those are my 5 most anticipated fights of the weekend.
I'm biased. I am fully acknowledging it, but I'm going to move I'm going to move Doumbé and Baki into, oh boy, what slot am I putting them in? They're going to go in the 4 slot. I'm still,
Okay.
It's still behind Holland and MVP for me. I really love that fight. Like
It's a great
lot.
fight.
It's my number 3 now. And then I'm putting that in, and then that puts O'Malley and Vera at 5 for me. So that's my top 5.
And Joshua Ngannou stays out.
No, 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have the same 1 and 2.
Okay, all right. I love it. I love the 5. And
A little mix of everything.
the craziest part is I could extend it to 10. I could add in Zhang into that top 10. Michel Pereira, Michael Oleksiejczuk.
Oh, yeah.
Just a banger. I mean, Oleksiejczuk just like he just loves just massive overhand lefts and right until someone gets knocked out. Is durable, has that fight back ability that we saw last time out. Michel Pereira is obviously Michel Pereira. Like it's going to be something crazy.
Something crazy will happen, yeah.
Like I can guarantee that. The debuting Robles Despagne.
Yeah, you've been talking about him for a bit.
I mean, I feel like everybody has. He's kind of this mythical figure at this point. He's 4-0. He got the bronze medal in the 2012 Olympic Games. Though I did go back and watch that, his opponent wasn't able to fight, so like he just walked out and just got given the bronze medal. But he's still just an incredible Taekwondo practitioner, and obviously the tail of the tape. I mean, the guy's 6'7", 87 inch reach. His last 3 fights have been a combined 19 seconds. He's from Cuba. He's fighting in Miami. Like he's fighting Josh Parisian, which is not he's not getting Sergey Pavlovich right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like this is a winnable.
Kevin Holland is not in there against him off his debut.
He has a very real chance to come in here and like create a highlight reel and like say he gets a knockout in the first 60 seconds. It's just like just 35 at heavyweight too. Like he can do this for a while, especially with the power that he holds. I mean, this dude snaps up kicks like nobody's business. I mean, it almost seems impossible to get a 5-second knockout when you don't do like a flying knee, but like sure enough, he was able to do it. So like just an absolute specimen. Can't wait to see that. Mateusz Gamrot, RDA.
Man, you're right. We could have gone 15 deep maybe. You're right.
You could like, I mean, that could be like an ushering out or a y'all must have forgot. I mean, RDA, he's definitely getting up there, and he's like 4-6 in his last 10, and in those 6 losses, he's been taken down 36 times.
The one bit of grace is RDA has no easy fights. He has been in the mix for his entire run, and every single guy is an absolute killer. Like you even look at this fight. Like Gamrot is like one of those guys that is in title conversations.
23
last year,
KSW champion, absolute stud. Like
RDA has just never seen an easy fight in his entire career. One of the like guys that I'm comfortable saying UFC Hall of Fame, no doubt. Like no doubt in my freaking mind. The resume that this guy,
held the title, like. No brainer in my opinion as well. Pedro Munoz, Kyler Phillips, that just has sneaky banger written all over it. I mean, you got Ian Cutelaba fighting. Feels like someone's going to get finished.
You won.
I mean, if Cutelaba's fighting, I mean, he's either finishing someone or someone's finishing him. I don't know which one's going to happen. Taking on Felipe Lenz.
50-50.
I mean, there's just like the card is just absolutely stacked to the gills. Kalen Chukagian debuting a new last name. Big stuff.
That's right.
Sermonara, I believe it is, against Macy Barber, who looked fantastic last time out.
I was impressed. I was really impressed.
Just like bar brawling knockout of Amanda Ribas, just like absolutely incredible stuff. So like, there's just
something for everybody. Every
so
fight's good,
life, man.
Yeah,
it really is like hard for me to imagine like digesting all this on Monday. That we're just gonna have so much to talk about.
We're gonna 2 shows. We'll do 2 shows one day.
It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be fantastic. So I think we did it. I think that's a mega weekend preview, and the show's just getting started. We still gotta answer questions. We gotta give our bets out. I gotta beat your ass in Street Fighter. I mean,
bring it.
We've got a long way to go. But before we get to the questions, do you know support for the MMA Hour comes from Factor?
Tell me more.
I mean, even with our best intentions, it takes time. You got to find time to cook. Is it going to be nutritious? Is it going to be delicious? Is it just going to be plain? You get all that with Factor. I mean, that time and effort that I mentioned, we don't always have it. But Factor's ready-to-eat meals, they can make the whole thing easy by delivering pre-prepared, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals straight to your door. I mean, dinner's here. Thanks, Factor. Appreciate that. And they cater to all kind of diets, too. I know you like to keep a strict diet. You like to keep lean. I know, Frankie, you're trying out a new diet back there as well. Keto, vegan. even if you're just trying to keep track of your
What are we keeping track of?
Take care of your what?
keep track of your calories. I got
Yes.
tripped up there. I'm sorry, everybody. Factor has over 35 different options a week to choose from based on your needs. Plus, the meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
2 minutes, man. What can you even do in 2 minutes these days? I mean, it's like, what's a
An ad
dollar
read.
worth? What can you do in 2 minutes? So you don't need to worry about cooking. That was a good one, Frankie.
Good one.
And you know what? Factor let me try out some of their meals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they sent them to Ariel for free. I had to pay for them, but it is what it is. Kind of
Tough.
a hierarchy, right?
Tough.
Tried the Indian butter chicken. Phenomenal. Ready in 2 minutes flat. Tasted authentic. It was great. I had the creamy Parmesan chicken as well. Tried their pork. Creamy tomato pork chop as well. A lot of creamy stuff. Big on that. Herb crusted chicken's good. The charred corn and shredded chicken as well.
Did you share any with Frank?
No. I was gonna.
He wasn't
have it
allowed?
at the Super Bowl. I mean, we were gonna have a factor party at the Super Bowl, but Frankie wasn't there. And I mean, all those meals that I just mentioned that are just absolutely delicious. In addition to those ready-to-eat meals, they have cold pressed juices. Love a good cold pressed juice. Maybe some ginger in there. They got smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggies on
Let's
the
go.
side. Frankie's a big veggie guy, and more. So what I want you to do. You head over to factormeals.com/MMA Hour 50. You go ahead and use that code I just mentioned, MMA Hour 50. You're going to get 50% off. I didn't even get that code. I paid full price. Ariel got them for free. You guys get them for 50% off, and I'm over here paying
Odd
full
man
price.
out.
I mean, it is what it is. That's code MMA Hour 50 at factormeals.com/MMA Hour 50. Get that 50% off. Delicious meals. Maybe some roasted garlic butter salmon. How's that sound to you?
I'm
Sounds
in.
good to me. Shout out to Factor. Thank you to our friends over there. A beautiful sponsor for this program. Keep the lights on days that Helwani's not here. No Factor. We're not doing this thing. So let's get into the questions. You guys asked. We will attempt to answer. Feel kind of nervous.
It's time for
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about the music.
Forgot we got the intro here. Thanks, Frankie. Everybody's
Ladies
favorite
and
segment of the week.
The moment has arrived to hear from
Oh,
the
yeah.
man himself.
Are we doing the
Ariel
camera
Helwani.
switches? Yeah, come on. Hit them fast. Hit them fast.
Fox
I guess we should
Studios
have
in
updated the
beautiful
open.
New
Hear
York
from
City.
these two
It's
schlubs.
on the
New York.
nose.
Yeah, that's all right.
And now, to answer your questions, get out of your seats and on your feet because here he is, Ariel Helwani.
Maybe we could have done without the intro. I mean,
Yeah, it's okay. Minus Ariel Helwani. Every part other than that, accurate.
and what do you know? First question is addressed from Marit School. Hello,
Okay.
Ariel, Rick, and GC. This Saturday, not only are we getting UFC 299, everything like that, we're also getting Glory Kickboxing. They're going to
Yes.
organize and introduce the historic 8-man, one-night heavyweight Grand Prix with the likes of King of Kickboxing, Rico Verhoeven, been on this show
Yes.
several times, and more. The winner will walk away with $500,000 in the prestigious GP trophy, just like in the good old K1 days. Event takes place at Gelredome Football Stadium in Arnhem, the Netherlands. You guys plan on watching? And what are your predictions for this heavyweight Grand Prix? Viva Helwani and greetings from Holland from Marit's School. Always cool to read a message from a guy in the Netherlands. That's just amazing. I actually looked into this after, took a glance at the questions, and then I saw Helwani make a prediction and everything like this. I love it. It's on at noon here on Eastern. I mean, a nice little appetizer going into $299. I love the idea of a one-night 8-man tournament. You got to star Enrico Verhoeven. I'm going to watch.
Yeah. In a past life, I did PR for Glory Kickboxing via an agency that I worked for in Brooklyn. Shout out Jack Taylor. Shout out John Beer. And have been a kickboxing fan, like really enjoyed kickboxing, got to see the best of Cedric Doumbé, got to see the best of Alex Pereira. Lesser so Izzy. Izzy, wasn't as big a star at that time, but did have a really good title fight with one of the top stars at that time, Jason Wilness, which he thinks he got jobbed in, and there's many who would agree. But yes, like a lot of great fighters are in kickboxing. Rico Verhoeven being one of them, the best heavyweight for ages at this point. If you are somebody who is interested in the striking in MMA, but not necessarily the ground game, it's very easy for most people to stand and say like, oh, go watch kickboxing, go watch Muay Thai. But then you're kind of removed from the storylines and you don't know as much and you're not sure who to follow in these things. And it can be hard to jump into. I would highly recommend watching an 8-man tournament. And Glory is putting on one at heavyweight, which is the best division to do it because much like other sports, like these are the hardest hitters. An 8-man tournament, the storyline's baked in, right? These guys are going to compete in quarterfinal matchups, then semifinal matchups, then a final matchup that night. Yeah. You just need to see that. You don't need extra story. You're going to be able to come away with some favorites. And I think for a lot of MMA fans, at the time that Alistair Overeem was in the Grand Prix, that's when they started watching kickboxing or at least getting more familiar with it. So if you've been somebody who felt like it's too deep to dive into the waters of kickboxing or boxing, but prefer the striking in MMA to the grappling, this is probably a good opportunity. This is a good one where you can dive in, don't need to know the backstories, don't need to know the history, don't need to know who to cheer for. You will develop that kind of fandom as you go. 8-man tournaments are really fun, especially one night, right? Like a tournament's always good because you're watching people advance, but one night it moves fast and there's a lot of drama. So check it out. Like I would recommend it.
On this. I'm looking at the website right now and like there's a potential. It looks like Verhoeven obviously is
the champ is in it.
Yeah, and Richters, Levi Richters, who is the number 2 seed in this, is also from the Netherlands. So there's a world where you have a final in front of, which I just looked up, Gelredome holds 34,000 people, in front of 34,000 people of 2 guys from the Netherlands, and it's just like, is this long-reigning champ going to get on the throne? And like you said, the fast pace of it, I mean, really feels like it's going to be amazing. I mean, you're going to get 4, 6, 7 fights all from this same pool of 8 dudes. I'm in. Just throw it on at noon. Just kind of have it on in the background as you're getting ready, as you're having lunch, as you're prepping for 299. I mean, I don't see why it could hurt. I'm in.
I would say casually check it out. If you've been hesitant, check it out. You could do a lot worse than like some really fun high level kickboxing.
He asked for a prediction.
It's hard to go against Rico.
I'm gonna go with the 2 seed Richters. I'm gonna Levi Richters. I'm gonna Zig Brother Zag. We did get an official prediction.
Oh, let's see it.
From Ariel Helwani. Who's he going with?
Ariel Helwani here. Massive weekend in combat sports. Ton of events Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've got the big one in Holland. 8-man, one-night tournament, Glory Kickboxing. And my guy Todd over here is asking me for my prediction. Of course, you have to go with the GOAT, Rico Verhoeven. My guy, Tom Aspinall's guy, a legend, a mensch, salt of the earth. He's going to do it once again and cement his place in kickboxing history.
Amazing.
Not quite going out on a limb there, but I'm with him as well. Rico.
Does he even know Levi Richters? I mean, I've been studying Levi Richters for the last 6 years. This would actually like be something really fun to bet on. Like if you
for sure.
Tournament odds, like this would be something really fun. I don't see anything out there right now, but that would be a fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
You'd be able to cheer for them. They get into the next round. Now you've got different bets to potentially play. It's interesting.
And I don't know if it's like a mainstream enough event, you know, being kickboxing and everything in terms of betting wise, but like, could you imagine like as soon as the match get made, they drop odds and you're like betting, like essentially live betting, like, yeah, Saturday. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Back in the day, a lot of the offshore books did, at a certain point, started introducing it as Glory got some more popularity. I don't know if the domestic books here have it, but I mean, if they've got like stuff like Power Slap and stuff like this, they should probably have some kickboxing.
This feels like something that'll like get released on like Friday.
Yeah, if it gets, it'll be late.
Yeah, might have to hop in on that. Let's move on. Mac the Knife. I haven't struggled reading today, and I'm the one that has.
That's okay. You're doing the heavy lifting, so I appreciate you.
Question for New York Rick right here. I'm seeing some books. I feel like he's thinking the same thing as me. Disrespect your boy Cedric the Best Doumbé for tomorrow's PFL Europe main event, listing him as an underdog. Please talk the fans off the tightrope and tell us why Cedric is the PFL's best prospect. People were calling him to fight Jason freaking Jackson after his last win. So I feel like Mac the Knife probably bet on Cedric, and he's like, "Am I a sucker?
Yeah,
am I a grade A sucker for this?"
I don't want to rehash the whole conversation, but what I'll say is this: you're not. I don't need to talk you off anything, because if you have faith in Cedric Doumbé, every time the stakes are raised, every time something bigger happens, he rises to the occasion. We saw the biggest fight of his career last time, and he went out there and starched him in 9 seconds. After carrying out a mattress, after chanting with the crowd that he's going to die, as the intensity and as the attention increases, Cedric Doumbé rises to the occasion. This will, once again, as it continues throughout his career, be his biggest fight yet. This is the biggest fight. It's a tough opponent, no doubt, but he has been built for this moment. And in the world of kickboxing, he has already ascended to these heights. Like, this is not new. Like, to step into the combat arena and become a champion and fight a guy that people believe is really good. This name won't mean much to anybody unless you follow kickboxing, but Nicky Holskin was a long time champion, a really great champion for Glory, one of the best guys of the era, and Doumbé just took it to him. Like, Doumbé just showed up in there as the young guy. Now he's more of the veteran, showed up as the young guy and just took it to him. I wouldn't, you will not be shocked if Cedric Doumbé is able to pull this off. So there's no ledge. You don't need to step back from the ledge. We're all in this together. We're all going to be fine. And Cedric Doumbé is going to perform.
You sold me. You sold me.
Thursday.
I have no worries. I cannot wait till.
Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it.
And if he pulls it off, it's just going to be that much cooler.
Don't sweat it.
And I will still be a sucker because I even doubted the guy.
And we should also say, I believe that PFL announced that like the last 4 fights of the card, I believe, are going to be aired on their YouTube channel.
Oh.
So U.S. viewers can watch Cedric Doumbé this time, even though last time they were able to watch him because it was a 9-second highlight that fit on every social media platform. But you will be able to watch it. PFL Europe, the last 4 fights are on their YouTube channel.
Next up, Adrian Lopez asks, can you all comment on Ryan Garcia? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to sort of watch. It's troubling to watch. I mean, this tweet storm that he's been on lately, it's just like he's firing off. It's like he can't get away from the phone
every minute.
And a lot of things that he's saying are concerning. And I know a couple recordings came out yesterday from Spaces that he did. I know he did one with Andrew Tate. But in one of them, you can hear him talking into it, and you can hear a family member, a team member, whatever in the background, like, being like, dude, stop, get off. There's nothing good coming from this. What are you talking about? Things like that. It's unsettling to watch, and I'm not sold that he is fit to fight in a major event. One of, if not, I mean, it would only be second to the Tank fight, the biggest fight this guy has ever had in his entire career with the state that he's in. And I know he is adamant that he's fine, but actions speak louder than words, and the actions that he's been taking are unsettling. It feels like there's definitely something wrong.
Yeah, you've said that really well. I think, point blank, we can just say, if it is the situation where Ryan Garcia needs help, we hope that he gets it, right? I think everybody collectively in this together can say, we hope Ryan Garcia gets help if he needs it. If he feels like he doesn't need it and actually doesn't need it, and this is a performance or whatever the other side of that may be, then, we'll go with that. But I think regardless, objectively, if you are Devin Haney, if you are Oscar De La Hoya, if you are Bill Haney, you're looking at this and going, is this the image that we want out there ahead of a fight of this magnitude, a fight of this importance, a fight that will be this lucrative? It's not ideal, because somebody like me, let's say I put aside the idea that Ryan Garcia needs help, right? Because I think that's a hard thing to kind of like acknowledge from the outside. We don't know Ryan Garcia. So we're looking at this and going, yeah, like a lot of people are looking at this and going like, yeah, this guy needs help. He's off his rocker. We're not close enough to it to really know what the scenario is, right? Like, we can all hope that he gets that help, but we don't know. But if you are looking at it objectively from the outside, as a boxing fan or as somebody who's involved in the promotion of this fight, you have to think that people are losing confidence in Ryan Garcia as a viable opponent for Devin Haney. Like, if he was in his best form, he's an underdog. Now, if you look at what's happening here on social media, that starts to get lower and lower and lower. And it, all of a sudden, does this fight even make sense becomes a question. I don't think we're there yet, but I think that becomes a question if this continues. So I think for all parties involved, somebody needs to link up with him. Other than him, like we've been hearing on social media, I'm fine, guys, but I'd like to hear somebody else involved in the scenario be like, nothing to worry about, everything's fine, here's what's happening. Or the alternative, hey, let's put him on the shelf for a bit, he needs to get some help, and then we're coming back. So it's a big thing to be happening out in public that we don't often see, but I don't know what to make of it because I'm not there. I don't know. It's very difficult.
Sure, and I mean, you make a very good point there. Like, we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes, but it doesn't feel like his team has come out, and it almost feels like if there's nothing going on, you almost act like these accusations are preposterous. Like, it's just like, what do you mean I need help? Like, I'm fine. Like calm it down. Where it doesn't feel that way. And I mean, as recently as 2 hours ago, he tweeted, Ryan Garcia, will not be speaking or tweeting or writing anything other than my fight in quotes, boxing and sports. All topics of discussion will be discussed after my fight, 5 weeks of focus. You have my word. I'm locked in. I'll see you 420. It's like, you wonder, like, did he tweet that? Did his team have him tweet that? I don't know, but like, it does seem concerning. And like you said, on his best day, he's a massive underdog to Devin Haney. Like I think he's like a plus 500 or something to him. In whatever state he's in now, you'd have to think it'd be even more. And Devin Haney is a formidable opponent. He is one of the best boxers in the entire world. He is nothing to play with. And a guy that seems to be in not the best mental state would going out there and having lost the tank last year and say he gets pieced up by Devin Haney and loses, knockout, or, gets blanked by a decision, how much is that going to help his mental health? Like, now he goes from being the undefeated wonder kid to now he's lost 2 in a row. Like, where does that put him? It's a very interesting topic. I really do hope that he ends up being okay because he is like a really talented kid and he's a star in the boxing world. But just from everything I'm seeing from the outside looking in, it is concerning behavior.
Yeah, and we saw a lesser version of this with Teofimo Lopez, right? Where all of a sudden they were posting some clips and saying, like, is he in the right head frame? It ended up he was okay, right? It ended up like people were concerned about him fighting. He went out there and fought. There's a world where this story plays out the same way. But in this moment, right now, sitting here in this constant stream of messages that just seem to be not related to anything where you'd want his focus to be, even if they were about something completely different, but the constant need to kind of be out here talking about this, you would wonder where his focus is. Even if we discard what the content of these messages is, you'd wonder, is this guy who's already a massive underdog focused? And that would be concerning for me as a commission, a promoter, an opponent. Like, Devin Haney can't be sitting there being like, this is great. Like, I love that this is how this is playing out.
Yeah, you can't imagine that. And then, like, one of the last things I'll say on it, he posted a video either today or yesterday about his non-negotiables. And like, it's, go to sleep, train, no smoking weed, anything like that. And one of the things he mentioned was like, he can only have wine on Wednesdays and Sundays, I think, if I heard that correctly. And it was like 3 glasses on Wednesday and 4 glasses on Sunday. To me, it feels like you would just go no alcohol during the camp. I could be mistaken on that, but it's just like,
yeah, it's a fair
people
point.
have accused him of drinking. I mean, Devin Haney said it at the press conference.
Yeah.
It feels like 5 weeks to go to lock into the biggest fight of your life. You just go, I'm just going to abstain from the alcohol until afterward. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see play out. It's going to be interesting to see if the fight happens. You're now starting to see some people calling for the fight to be off. Like, I saw KSI tweet, like, dude needs to step away, get some help, come back in a better mental space, and then take the fight. So it's going to be interesting to see what plays out because the fight is just 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
420.
If he needs help, I hope he gets help. If the parties involved feel that it would be irresponsible to put him in there, I hope they make the right decision. And that's all we can say. Like, we just have to see how this plays and what we see coming out.
Yeah. I mean, we are just on the outside looking in. That's really all it is. All I'm seeing is social media posts and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope the best for him. Moving on to Space Jam 1. Hola, Ariel. Wow. Hola, Ariel and team. Just here to heap lavish praise on you and the crew. Ariel, I don't even like pro wrestling, but that Matt Riddle interview was amazing. He opened up big time. You led him to all the questions I was thinking of in real time, from relationships to substance abuse, even how the sausage is made in creating matches. Truly a masterclass, sir. High praise. That was a fantastic interview.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Super chill guy. Just like bringing him upstairs and everything. Like, he's just like, yo, I'm gonna stop and get a slice of pizza real quick. And then, like, down in the lobby, he's like, what's up, man? Like, in his interviews, he acts like that off camera.
Like, that's his, like, persona too.
Yes, he's just like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
How's it going, man? Like, things like that. So yeah, shout out to Matt Riddle. GC, don't ever abandon your ship in distress. The Parlay Boys will never die.
We're pals now, though.
We are pals now. So Parlay Boys actually did just die right at the spot. Gambling stats can be insane, but don't give up. Don't forget, higher variance plays like parlays, especially 4 legs, will yield more widely varying results. Example, Frank's ridiculous big huevos pig emoji on the Bobby Green pick. He is right. I am just kind of saying that in jest. I'm not really going to desert the Parlay pals. I mean, it's just we need
you.
We need a win. We need more than you need me. We need a win. Rick, hey Chico, love the hot takes and the hair. I do have to say the hair's been looking fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Haircut recently?
Yeah, last week.
I was going to say Monday it looked 10 out of 10. I mean,
thank
we
you.
had a curl draping down. It looked just fantastic.
Thank you. Shout out to Jesse at Level Up Cuts
Shout out to
in
Jesse.
Massapequa.
Shout out to Jesse out in Amityville. Your machismo is the secret sauce, and I hope your house never gets haunted. Me too.
Amityville.
Half the reason I've never been there. Frankie, shout out to your dry humor and knob twisting skills. Your technical prowess is as unmatched as your attendance for social events.
Yeah, that was really nice of them.
Do you turn knobs?
Nice comments.
The knobs.
He's like doing sliders, right? Faders.
Sliders and a couple knobs in there.
I like to call them potentiometers.
Well, shout out to Space Jam 1. That is a very nice message.
very sweet.
That
Thank
is
you.
a very nice message. Shout out to Spud Greg, who I see pretty frequently on Twitter. Hey, Rick and GC, I hope all is well. On Saturday, we saw a great knockout, which is an early contender for knockout of the year. And instead of hearing a crowd go nuts, we heard a few people make a noise and a spider fart in the back. Despite the prelims being entertaining, at some point in the main card, I said to myself, I'm bored of this crap. And for the first time in 12 years, I didn't watch a full event. Part of me feels like the Apex is going to turn me into a casual, but I just can't do it anymore. So I'll start with my boring question, which has been asked 1,000 times, but never enough times either. How long do you think they're going to keep going with these Apex shows? I know it's wishful thinking that they will stop at Apex 100, but I'm struggling to be interested in watching them now. Also, GC, it would be interesting to some of us if you shared your DraftKings lineups after the fact so we can see how you do and see your logic. Just to address that, I don't really do fantasy too much. But if I do, I'd be more than happy to share them. In terms of the Apex, when will they stop?
Not anytime soon.
I just don't see it happening with the contract negotiations with ESPN of having to deliver 42, 45, whatever the amount of shows that it is to them, and just the mass of the roster now that they can put on these Apex shows, meet the deadlines that they have to meet in terms of how many shows they have to put on. It's low cost, it's low budget. They check off a box, and they can put these lower level fights on there and not have fans complain about having them in front of a crowd.
Financially, it makes all the sense in the world for them. I've beaten this horse to death, so I will keep it brief. If you are consuming UFC Apex 87 and then going, why do they have all these shows here? Think about that cycle there. Think about what participation you're taking in making sure that those shows remain there. Yeah. If you are tuning in and giving the viewership to the shows that you are going, why are these here? Pause for a second and think what participation you have in making sure that those shows remain there, and then act accordingly.
I will say it feels like the tide is turning a bit in terms of public perception of the.
Won't change a thing.
I'm not saying it'll change anything.
Viewership.
I feel like more and more people are shitting on it and like being like, this card is a joke. I can't do this. I can't watch this. I mean, this guy said it was the first time in 12 years. Spud Greg did not finish watching a full card.
If more people do what Spud Greg has done, I think a change will happen. If no people do what Spud Greg has done, in for more.
And my disdain for it just continues to grow. I'm not going to lie. It feels like week after week, I'm just like, man, we really got to do this again, huh? Hugo, how we dig in those pink Venom shorts for Sugar this week. Venom has been a match made in heaven since they've been with the UFC. We have the video of Sean O'Malley unveiling the pink shorts. I mean, this is fantastic. Feels like the What's Up Fellas was personal. I mean, that was great stuff. Rips off the towel. I didn't know where he was going at first. And then I see this, the pink shorts. They look tremendous. I've seen a couple people poo-pooing them, but it's just like, why not? Why not? I've seen a couple being
what is the poo-poo? Like what is the argument against these shorts? What are they saying?
We're having this macho man wearing pink shorts. Like, this is ridiculous. It's just like,
give it a rest.
I've seen a couple people being like, you can't go away from the timeless black and gold befitting of a champion. But it's just like, guess what?
The timeless?
Guess what? Guess who's going to be wearing black and gold next time they fight? Probably Weili Zhang. Probably Alex Pereira. Probably every other champion that's going to fight this year. I mean, we've seen guys rock colored shorts as champion. I mean, we've seen Izzy rocked him as red, rocked him
And blue,
green,
right?
I believe. Now blue is when he got the belt back.
Okay.
You know, I really keep a tab on these things.
Yeah,
I'm all
you're up
for
on
it.
it.
Keep it fun. It gives sort of a signature style. It's just like, oh, he's got the pink shorts. They've already uploaded it into the video game. They're selling it on the store. It's just like the pink shorts, those are Sean O'Malley's. And I do think it's kind of cool that, oh, he's champ. Now he gets to dictate when he gets to like do the pink shorts. So like say Ian Gary, he's always talked about the purple shorts. He becomes champ, he gets the purple shorts. Like I like adding, you know, while it's limited, some personality to these things. Like, yeah, they can't do sponsors. Yeah, they can't do like the custom stuff where it's like really cool, like the Iceman shorts or like the John Bones Jones, the gold Nike with the Gatorade, like really get personal. But it adds a little bit of fun, a little bit of personality to it.
100% support it. Interested to see the UFC cave on it and do it, right? Interested to see like now some of the champions are starting to flex a little bit and say like, hey, I want to do this, and them saying okay, because now you're setting a precedent, right? If Izzy did it and Sean does it and then the next champion does it, all of a sudden every champion's going to start asking for it. So now you started opening the door to these potential personality things, and the more the better. Like this should be every time.
I mean, for Wiley Zhang, I mean, red and gold.
Yeah,
it's just like that's easy work there. So I love him. I like it. I think it adds personality.
I don't know what would be not to love.
I don't want to like sit here and like make any wild accusations, wild claims or anything. But I mean, like I think.
What are you talking about?
I think we have the picture. I think someone did come up with this idea. I think there was a tweet or something from like September. What do you know? It feels like someone came up with this idea before. What's the date on that? September 15th, 2023. A little custom Photoshop from your boy himself. Can we just go back to the picture of Sean O'Malley with the shorts on? I mean, it looks like a similar hue. Like, I mean, I don't want to take any credit or anything, but like, I mean, this feels like, you know, I mean, can we go to 2 pictures later? I mean, was there a meeting that took place?
Oh, wow.
Was I kind of inspired by the shoes? I was like, you know, maybe can I throw something out there to you? I'm just.
So what you're saying is if any.
The Drewski meme, I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
So what you're saying, what you are saying though, is if any champions out there need counsel on how to kind of like get some of this done and
my
the customizations,
are open.
You're there.
I think I did some orange and blue shorts for the Mets for Matt Frivola one time. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm just.
So your fingerprints are on UFC 299, is what you're saying. One of the best cards that we've had in a long time.
I mean, I don't know if you saw 298. I think it was the Tafa Bros. We're pulling up my memes on a UFC clean account now. Now Sean O'Malley just happens to wear pink shorts.
I mean, the engagement on that tweet was like, you know, off the charts.
A lot of people trying to make these claims, but all of them are after I posted mine. I've seen a couple Instagram accounts that are like, oh, this was my design. I'm just like, oh, well, you know, I kind of posted it first. Did you get the inspiration from me? Your Photoshop's great, but like, I only kid. It's a layup. It's an absolute layup of an idea. Just a no-brainer for a guy that, you know, reps the pink and everything.
It's such a nothing lift for the UFC to do this. Like,
what do you
let's
think
just
Venom
do
said
it.
to this? They were just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just send us the hex code for whatever color you want it to be.
They said, yeah, whatever.
All right, easy money, and it, honestly, you know, it creates an opportunity for them to make more money if people buy those things. Wish they sold them in like the loose ones.
Yeah, the board shorts.
Yeah, not a huge tights guy myself, but
how about the slit side?
That's what I'm talking about. Muay Thai. I rock those to the gym.
Okay, got it.
$115 a pop though. I don't think I can do it for the tights.
Got it.
If anybody wants to send them, UFC, I know UFC's probably Dana. If you're watching,
I think O'Malley should probably send you
O'Malley. I mean, the next meeting we have.
Who was that guy that gave me the idea to do this? Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't mention those shorts at all. By the way, with them, I wish I
don't break kayfabe.
Then I would really be taking credit for it. All right, DJ Perks. What's good, my boys? Question for the Core 4. With a new country planting their flag on UFC gold in Spain and Georgia, what do you all think will be the next 3 countries to produce their first UFC championship? I'm not sure I can think of 3, but I do believe Frenchmen might be soon. This is a very interesting question.
3 feels hard.
So right off rip, I'm going Kazakhstan with Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Have they never had a champion? Yeah, I guess probably not.
I don't think so.
Wait, what about no. Kyrgyzstan has Valentina. Yeah, they don't have it. Yeah.
Triple G obviously in boxing. That's the biggest.
There hasn't been. Okay. So that's a good one.
I'm going Shavkat 1.
What about if Cheeto gets it done? Has Ecuador had a champion?
Definitely not in the UFC. I don't think.
Yeah, so then that could be
That
one
could be
this
Ecuador.
Saturday.
Yeah, he's doing it this weekend. I like the shout with the French. Like it feels like BSD is on a rocket ship. And
Well,
there's a world where Cyril Gane gets another.
Cyril Gane was a champ, unless we're not counting interim. Did he say anything about that?
No, he didn't. He didn't mention, but I mean,
Yeah, Gane held the belt.
where's Alexander Rakic from? Serbia.
Serbian. Yeah.
Has there been a Serbian champ?
I don't know. That's a good. You know what's interesting? Like we're using Ilya as the jumping off point for this. Like he's knocking off 2, right? Because theoretically, if he was Spain, now you've got Georgia open for Merab, but he's claiming Georgia as well. So it's kind of like he's knocking one off the board that could have been one. Because I think Merab is going to be champion at some point soon.
So Rakic fights out of Austria, and he was born in Austria, but it looks like into a Serbian family.
Yeah,
reps the Serbian flag.
This is what I'm talking about with Ilya, right?
Yeah.
There's where are you born and what is your current nationality and those different
I feel
things.
like it's whatever flag you rep. And
he reps both.
So like he kind of gets both. And yeah, Rakic would be the first one. You got Dusko Todorovic running around there as well. So Serbia.
Who are we not thinking about that would be? We've got Mexico already.
Yep.
What would be? I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I'm looking at the rankings right now. Like, I guess like Hamzat.
Oh yeah.
Are you counting?
Is he counting Sweden?
Are you counting Sweden? Are you counting Chechnya? Does Chechnya just get Russian ties to it? Like I don't know how to work that one. If we're counting Sweden, then you could throw in Sweden.
I'm trying to think of other contenders.
I mean, Volkan Ozdemir is not one he won, but he is from Switzerland. I kind of like the Serbian call. In terms of like middleweight, there's nothing really there.
We just got South African.
Got South African.
There's been a lot of new ones recently is kind of the problem with this because like there might not be as many opportunities now to kind of say that because we just got a bunch.
Where is Amir Albazi from?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they have a... Oh, he's Iraq. He's from Iraq.
There you go.
So, I mean, that could definitely be one. So I'm going to go...
There's a few options.
Yeah, I'm going to count... I'm going to count the interim title for Gane. So let's go. Oh yeah, where's Manel Kopp from?
Is he Surinamese?
No, that's Jairzinho. I think he's the only one. Maybe he's.
Where's he from?
Oh, Portuguese.
Portugal. Okay.
So I think he reps the. Yeah, he reps. All right, so I don't mind that. So I think you could have Portugal, you could have Iraq, you could have Kazakhstan.
There's opportunity.
You could have Serbia. Those are all 4 like in contention. Could become.
Feels like Shavkat's the leader in the clubhouse, right?
Feels like we're also probably forgetting some people. And Ecuador. That's a nice 5 right there. Ecuador obviously having their chance this weekend. That was a good question though. Got the old.
Also, it just reiterates what a like cool global sport MMA is. That we've had champions from all these different countries already, and then potentially many more to come.
I love it. Probably my favorite part about the sport is just how international it is. The Belle of Rio Del, Mr. Helwani, or should I address the real gems of the show, GC Rick, and my personal favorite, Franklin? How does that make you feel, Frankie?
Me?
Franklin, real name?
Wait, is your name Franklin?
No, it's actually just Frank.
Okay,
And,
got it.
Well, your parents said we'll just stop it there.
Yeah,
Hold the
it's
lane.
named after my grandfather, who was also just Frank.
Was
What's
he named
funny to
after a
me
Franklin?
Is I have dodged every. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I have dodged every Franklin, every Frankie, every Frankenfurter, Frankenstein, everything up until I met you guys, and I just gave up. I'm like, I'm done. Even Eric asked when I first met him, he's like, "Are you Frankie? Are you Franklin?" And I'm like, "I'm just Frank." He's like, "Well, I'm just gonna call you Frank." Well, that was a lie, and I'm okay with it.
I got roped into the Frankie.
Yeah, I mean, if
Frankie's
you
too
were the
easy.
only one not doing it, it'd be weird.
I'm not gonna lie. Even if you like were adamant, you were like, "Don't call me Frankie." I'd sneak a few Frankies in there every once in a while. Frankie's just too easy with Frank.
To be honest, like I think I resisted it for all the right times, and now it's endearing. I like it. But still, outside of the circle, no, it's just Frank.
It means we love you. It means we love you.
Yeah, Frankie's
I'll
a
remember
great
that.
one. I mean, Frankie,
Frankie,
Ricky,
stop.
Anytime you can add IE or Y onto the end, you might as well just do it. It makes it's more endearing. 2 questions from the Belle of Rio Del. People talk about red panty night when getting the chance to fight Conor McGregor. Recently, Donald Cerrone said that his pay did not change for his fight with Conor in 2020. Is this just an assumption made by fans, media, and other fighters that you are guaranteed higher pay for a fight with Conor? Or is there proof that this is the case? Obviously, his opponents receive much more attention than they regularly would, with his fights always being a big deal. But I am curious if the UFC actually compensates fighters more for this.
I mean, we can say based on the Donald Cerrone thing that it's not a guarantee, right? Because Donald Cerrone is coming out and saying, now again, we don't know the finances. This is one party to the equation saying it. I don't know why he would lie. There would be no reason for him to lie about it. So it's not guaranteed, but you would hope that in negotiating a fight against Conor McGregor, if you are, say, Michael Chandler or Dustin Poirier, you say, hey, I want this amount of money to fight him. As with any negotiation, right? We just have examples of like people trying to be headliners for 300 and the negotiations of that. Like you would hope that anybody who's in that position knows how much money a Conor McGregor pay-per-view is going to make, or at least has some sense that it is going to be larger than their current purse, negotiates that, negotiates pay-per-view points, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, you would hope that it's not a guarantee because the UFC has a contract with you and that is all they are obligated and required to do, but you would hope that you have a manager or you yourself are negotiating for more. So most cases, I would assume that people have gotten paid more for fighting Conor McGregor, whether it be through the pay-per-view bonuses, whether it be through their purse, or whether it be through the attention that they get that they can now parlay into new fights. So there is an effect there.
Right.
And you would hope that they are fighting for that.
Yeah, it should be the red penny night. You should be getting compensated properly, you know, maybe get some money off of the pay-per-view, and then also getting that attention, getting that recognition, especially if you have a great fight with him. Obviously, Cerrone unfortunately did not. It should be the red penny night, but as Cerrone says, it's not always guaranteed. It's on you to make those negotiations.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it should be clear, Cerrone in that clip, and I've only seen the clip, I have not seen the full context of the interview, says, I said yes.
Yeah,
like it didn't sound like he wanted to negotiate. He wanted to say yes. So I think the onus is on your side of the negotiation to say, oh, well, I'm fighting Conor McGregor and this event is going to make you a lot of money. Here's what I expect to be paid. So I think it might not be guaranteed, but if you are savvy and playing this properly, it should lead to financial wealth.
100%. And secondly, where did the infamous MMA Hour Championship belt come from? Was it a gift? Was it a purchase? Who put this glorious thing together? I'll let you take the reins on that.
Yeah, that's from our good friend Robert Pearson, who has made Ariel and his various shows many different belts, but it is a beaut. I mean, you can see it. I mean,
it's unbelievable. Like, this thing is just an absolute beauty. It's got, I mean, if you really, oh God, someone's head just went flying.
Yeah,
it's
we
okay.
have record of that.
Yeah. Was this thing on record? I mean, if you look at everything, it's got 10-7 on the side, the world open weight broadcasting champion. You got the Canadian flag, the American flag, the MMA Hour logo on each side. And
it's a beauty.
Just the details. It's got the luchador like impressed into the leather here, like the El Nariz. I mean, it's heavy too. It's heavy. I mean, I've been repping curls. I've been banging out push-ups at home, but this thing is not light. This thing is a real deal Holyfield type belt here. So yes, shout out to Robert Pearson. He actually debuted it on the show and he had like a whole promo video and everything. I'm sure you can go back in the archives and find that on YouTube. But an absolute gem. I mean, this is a very special piece of merchandise. He finishes, thanks, fellas. At least you guys are around to provide our never-ending need for this show. Well, we're happy to accommodate. I hope we have met your expectations. Here we go from Hut. Hope you had a great time in Puerto Rico, Ariel. I think you did. I couldn't be more excited for UFC 299. The entire card is amazing. That said, GC, any chance you're doing a Watch Party XL, extra long edition? He says, this Saturday I'm watching the whole card with Mike. I love the content, guys. By the way, this speaks to what we spoke to earlier. Parlay Pals sounds so much better than Parlay Boys. I don't mean to be critical, but I feel like I have dealt with this gross misnaming for far too long. Plus, it was Peña's idea to call it Boys, but that is when she was referring to you all. Now that she is on board, it needs to go back to the Parlay Pals. I cannot be alone on this thought. Thanks again. P.S. Hello, Rick.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this from the start of time. I have been pushed, you know, they have pushed strongly against me every time I said Pals. I've been reprimanded. It's Pals. We just got to call it Parlay Pals.
We didn't want to go against Juliana and her wishes, but now we're in a new era and it's back to Pals. That's okay.
I love the idea of the Watch Party XL. We have not set that in stone. Maybe we do an 8:45 start instead of a 9:45 start. Get a couple extra fights in there just because the card is so good. We will be doing a full card watch party for UFC 300. We're going all 6-7 hours, whatever that may be. That is set in stone. Watch Party XL in between the full card stream. Kind of work our way up, get our chops being on the air that long. Something to think about. It's something to think about. I appreciate the idea, Hut. It's a card worth doing it for.
Is there any extra watch party this week? Is there any?
There sure is. There sure is.
Oh, okay.
We're doing he wants us doing an XL on top of the back-to-back watch party. We actually we got the poster for it. Look at that, baby.
Oh, wow.
Ngannou watch party. We'll be here on Friday. We'll be here on Saturday. I think we're going to kick off our plan was to kick off at 4, but now Ariel's saying ring walks might be at 5:10 Eastern, and I was told 6:10 Eastern. Sounds like I need to negotiate with my people. Maybe we'll be kicking off at 3 p.m. Eastern because I want to get that Zhang fight in. I got to watch my boy go to work. But yeah, we will be doing back-to-back watch parties Friday, Saturday. Spending a lot of time in this studio this week.
I feel like that feels like an XL, right? You're getting 2 days. You smush them together. You got an XL right there.
I don't mind the extra hour on Saturday. Some of those fights are absolutely tremendous. So let's move on. Jeremy, one for New York Rick. He always mentions regarding Colby getting the Leon fight that social media follower numbers isn't the only measure on how popular a fighter is from the UFC or pay-per-view point of view. What are the measures?
Pay-per-views. Pay-per-views are the measurement for pay-per-view.
As I was reading that, I was like, I think I know how he's going to answer.
If you sell pay-per-views, you sell pay-per-views. If you have 10 million followers on Instagram, that does not mean you sell pay-per-views. An important distinction, especially around the it is very timely around the hysteria around Ilia Topuria. So many followers, had more followers than Volkanovski. All of a sudden, he's meeting with the president of the country. All of a sudden, he's meeting with all the biggest soccer stars. He's coming out in El Bernabeu. There is a profile being raised right here. Don't get me wrong. Ilia Topuria is becoming what we believe he can become. But the translation between, okay, this guy is somebody we're paying attention to and somebody we're knowing of and all those things in the mainstream awareness is not the same as I will sit down and pay for this man to fight. It is different. And those things need to be built up simultaneously. Conor McGregor has both. And everybody thinks that the reality is, well, when you have one, you have the other. It's not necessarily true. Pay-per-view stardom is based on selling pay-per-views. And don't rely so much on how many Instagram followers somebody has.
Speaking of Instagram followers, I know you're big on the social media. Ilia Topuria going over 4 million on Instagram, passing Sean O'Malley. He was at 2.1 before the fight against Alexander Volkanovski. He's just absolutely taking.
He's massive right now.
Rocket ship. Past Sean O'Malley. I actually think they're going to go back and forth now. I feel like Sean O'Malley is probably going to gain several 100,000 this week.
If he gets a dub, it's going to be big.
And then I feel like that's a fight down the line that could really.
I'm ready.
Just a mega one. Could really just be a mega one. TR, the boys. Hey, fellas, couple of short questions for you guys. I'm a journalism student who wants to make it into the MMA space. What are your recommendations? What do you think is missing in the space?
I would almost, this is kind of a non-answer. I would flip the question back to you. Was it TR you said? TR, I would flip the question back to you and say my advice to you if you want to enter any space, not just MMA and journalism, but even not just journalism, is analyze the industry. Look at what the industry, think about what you think the industry is going to look like in 3 years, in 5 years, and build your skill set toward that. Don't look at what people are currently doing. Don't look at what the most successful people are currently doing and go, I want to be that person. In reality, most of the time, especially in an industry as small as MMA, that person is singular, or that person has the one job that exists in that space, or those people have the few jobs that exist in that space. You're going to do yourself better service by looking around what is missing in the space, what the industry needs, and looking at 3, 4 or 5 years down the line, what skill set could I build in that time to fit into that space. As far as MMA goes, it seems like everything is shifting more toward kind of like the social space and the quick consumable content and things like that. In contrast to we do a many-hour show with interviews with the best guests, the reality is there's not one way you can say this is the thing to do and you'll be ultimately successful. Focus on quality. We do a show that we consider the best in the sport and maybe even outside the sport, we consider this one of the best shows going. So we focus on quality here, and Ariel focuses on quality here. And so focus on that. But I would say build your skills toward what the opportunities look like down the line.
I would say build your skills as well.
Yeah.
Everything that you just say, build your skills, do it. Say you can't get a job in whatever you want to be doing, do it on your own. Even if no one's watching, no one's reading, no one's listening, anything like that, do it to build your chops if you want to be on air. Do it to improve your skills with the Adobe Cloud, with audio editing, video editing, whatever it may be. Like you gotta do it. The only way to get the reps is to do the reps. So that's the biggest piece of advice. If you want to be a writer, start writing. Like, don't just think about like, oh yeah, one day I'd like to do that. If you want to do podcasting, start your own podcast. Doesn't matter if 5 people listen. Doesn't mean anything. It's actually probably better if only 5 people are listening, because then you can get really good. And then when people do start listening, now you've improved your skill vastly from where you started. I mean, dude, I used to do this college basketball betting podcast with my boy, and like I went back and randomly listened to an episode the other week, and I was like, man, I sound terrible. I mean, there's times where I will like see like the first time I came on air here, and I'm like, I look so timid and like nervous. And the only way to get better is to just take the reps.
Yeah. And not only will those reps help you get toward the goal, sometimes they don't. Like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you don't get toward your ultimate goal, but they will help you take skills that you can take to another avenue, take to another place, take to another route that will help you. So there's no wasted effort there, right? Like even if you don't ultimately achieve what you think is that one specific goal, I want to work in MMA and I want to do this thing, maybe those skills help you get the other thing and the thing that you like more. And now all of a sudden you're down a different path. So like focus on skills. Don't focus on like what the destination is. So.
100%. And it can also help you decide like what you want to do. I did an internship in like serious buttoned up TV in college, and I did the internship, and then I was like, I don't want to do serious buttoned up TV. Like where like I had to wear like a dress shirt to work every day, and like nice pants and dress shoes, and like it was like very, very serious. I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. And, moved on, made connections from it, but it just wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Now you're here.
Question number 2, and I couldn't be happier to be here. An MMA question. The lightweight division is in a little bit of a bamboozled state. What happens if all 3 of the big fights happen to be wars? What happens if BSD, DP, Charles Arman, Justin Max are all too injured to fight in June? Are we getting RDA, Gamrot versus Islam? Would love to hear your thoughts on that. I feel like the UFC is once again backing themselves into a corner here.
No, because I mean, those are a lot of good options, right? Like I'm not expecting that like everybody's hurt. There might be enough time. Also, all of a sudden, Islam's been talking about fighting Leon Edwards. Like maybe you open up that possibility if you've run out of options, but like they will find somebody for Islam to fight. I'm not concerned about that.
June, BSD, Dustin Poirier, like they would have a little bit more time. Turnaround's much tighter for those guys fighting on 300. RDA Gamrot, I doubt we're getting RDA.
Not happening.
Gamrot, I mean, remember the fake. Gamrot's the backup fighter. Fight falls through. Gamrot is not the backup fighter. Get Volkanovski in here. I think they will find someone.
They'll have somebody.
Where Islam Makhachev to fight. I just don't know who it's going to be. Number 3, what fight do you find most appealing for Sugar Sean next if he gets past Cheeto on Saturday? For me, the Sugar Sandman matchup would be a dream. I've been arguing with my friend over Sugar Corey and Sugar Elia as the most fun matchup for him.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you have any other ideas. Thanks. Love the show, and still waiting on the Rick and GC show. Me too. Just waiting for them to call my agent. I mean, it's just a phone call away, and we can make this thing happen. But for now, we'll continue to do these. But for you, matchup for Sugar if he gets past Cheeto on
most fun would be Corey and Sean for me. Like that's the one that I'm stylistically looking at and being like, now there's also a world where Corey Sandhagen looking at the opportunity to be the champion of the world just goes, maybe I'm going to focus on takedowns and make this look like the Marlon Vera fight, and maybe it wouldn't be as much fun. But if they were striking with each other, it would be the most fun. And Ilya and him would probably oh man.
To me, this is 3 paths. It's like you've got your path to the left, and that's against Corey Sandhagen. Would likely be a super fun matchup. 2 long, rangy guys that like when they're striking, it is badass.
But is he going to strike?
Right. I mean, we saw in Rob Font, we saw in Marlon Vera that he does have the wrestling acumen. But if they do strike, and I love both of them, like they're
fun.
Fan favorites. Like I absolutely. Then you have most deserving, who should get it, in Merab. And
100%.
Merab has become this star, and like I've gotten to a point where I really enjoy Merab fight weeks, and I love watching Merab fight. Kind of ever since I came in, just like I've loved like the joke of like he's a Georgian guy, I'm from Georgia, so we back our own. That's the most deserving, and that's what I think will happen. And then you have that path down the middle of like the way that these guys are trending and the star power that these guys appear to have. Ilia Topuria versus Sean O'Malley. You'd want to get it where it's Sean with the one loss that he calls a fluke against Marlon Vera and Ilia Topuria undefeated. Can you risk them going a few more fights, but the risk would just pay off in dividends that we haven't seen in a quite long time. But Sugar versus Topuria is like a super duper mega fight. Like it would be just crazy. The scenes would be insane.
Yeah. I feel like Sean would be too big for him, if I'm being honest. Like, just looking at it on paper, it just feels like
Sean too big for Ilia.
Yeah.
In a 145 match.
Yeah.
So you're saying he beefs up a little bit.
He put on some weight, and he's just too tall. He's just too tall, I think.
I don't know. I can't doubt Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong.
Francis Ngannou range where I will never doubt that guy again. The way that he spoke everything into existence was just otherworldly. It's a fight I want to see. It's a fight I want to see.
Yeah.
I say Merab.
Merab is the one.
He gets past Merab, then let's do Sandhagen. He gets past that, and Topuria has a couple 45 defenses under his belt. Then we do Sugar, Topuria. We go to Madrid in the fall, in October, like I was mentioning earlier. We do an arena show. Then in like the spring of 2026, we return to Spain, and we go to the Bernabeu.
Merab's the one we want to see, I think, quote unquote, deserves. Corey, I think, would be like the sneaky most fun if they strike enough, but I'm not sure that he will. And then Ilia and Sean is probably the one where you think you're going to guarantee yourself the most excitement and kind of like fun and energy around it. No bad options here.
Here's the good news. I'm happy with all three of those. All three of those would be unbelievable.
I think the one I would want the least if I was Sean O'Malley is Merab.
Of course.
No doubt.
5 rounds with Merab just sounds like a bad time.
Not a good time for anybody.
All right, Steve Dawson. Last week, Chris Mad Dog Russo, shout out, had his top 5 hardest sports in order: baseball, golf, tennis, curling, and football. What would you say are your top 5 hardest sports to play? Thanks for the shows every week. Regards, Steven. Mad Dog throwing curling in there, just like that feels trollish.
Yeah.
Disrespect to curling.
That feels trollish.
Feels like he's trolling.
Before we even answer, are we considering MMA a quote unquote sport, right? Because a lot of times people say it's not a sport, it's a fight, right? Like it's not.
Right. And do we want to call combat sports as a whole? Like, is boxing its own thing?
Is boxing separate from MMA?
Is kickboxing its own thing?
For the sake of this, let's say MMA is a sport, boxing is a sport. You know, like let's call it that way, because I think in the context of this, it will make the most sense. I think MMA is the hardest.
MMA has to be on that list.
I think it's number 1.
Not just the skills that are involved with it, and like everything that comes along with needing to have a ground game, striking, clinch work, wrestling, everything, the nutrition, the weight cutting, and then the mental hurdle of getting into that octagon, getting into that ring, getting into that cage, whatever it may be. You can't put a price on that. I know it's tough to get out there for an NFL game. I know it's tough to get out in front of any crowd. Like if you're playing in the US Open in tennis, of course, like that is incredibly difficult. But the difference between going out and playing a tennis match in front of 20,000 people and getting in your underwear and fighting in a cage and accepting, like, I could get knocked out in front of all these people. I could get choked unconscious in front of all these people. Like something really bad could happen to me. I could get seriously injured, seriously hurt. Is like, that has to be factored into it.
I think it has to be number 1. Like the way you said, basically, like we think about like in the NBA, oh, James Harden's a choker. Is he going to bounce back from that performance where he didn't show up? It's like if you don't show up in MMA, you're getting knocked unconscious. Like there is not any more dire consequences.
You don't get to redeem it in game 3 2 nights later.
Yeah.
You have to sit on that and
for months.
And like
against a different guy most of the time.
And it's a sport like no other that like, I mean, we hear fighters say it all the time. When you win, everybody loves you. When you lose, you're just another guy. And it's just like when you're a part of a team, you know, you can have bad games and like the fan bases can crucify you. There's no doubt about it. But like they'll still back you in a way, whereas people will just jump off the ship if you just keep losing in this sport. So I like that. I like.
I might be biased, but I think MMA and boxing are the 1 and 2. Honestly,
I like those as a call, but I mostly do agree. Like baseball has to be up there.
hitting a fastball seems impossible.
Hitting a fastball is like, dude, I can't hit. Like baseball was just never my sport. I never really played it growing up, and I played like a rec team with my friends in high school as like a joke. And like these kids were throwing like 75, 80, and like first time I stepped in the box, I was like, I'm not hitting this. I'm not hitting this. I don't play this sport at all. Like, there's no way. So we did like always been pretty fast. Kind of had some wheels. So I would just switch each side of the plate. I would just
Bunt
with each pitch. No, I would call time.
Oh, you would switch between.
Yeah, these are rec league pitchers, so it would throw them off so bad they would walk me, and then I would just steal bases.
That's
when I got
great.
On. Yeah, I got like 2 hits all season. I'm not kidding.
Wow, what
But
adaptability!
One of the 2 was a walk off. One of the 2 was a walk off hit. Like I'm pretty sure I was batting like 0.04, like not 400, like 40. Like I was hitting 40. I was so bad. Just never my sport. Tried to pick it up as a senior in high school. Was so bad. So that's difficult. I agree with golf.
What a strategy. Yeah.
Played golf for the better part of 15 years now, and I am still like shooting in the low 90s. Like it is a really, really difficult sport to get good off. It takes so much consistency. It takes a lot of money, practice, coaches. Like it is. It's a hard sport.
What I think is interesting about a debate like this is it's always looked at as like the top level versus the top level. But that's really hard to do because it's like at that level, at the level that these guys are at, NBA, NFL, top of golf, top of tennis, top of MMA, they're all like insanely difficult. Like the hardest possible things. I think it's actually easier if you dissect it from like, what could the average person not do?
This is my grading of it, is like how much of a buffoon, how much of a fool
would you look?
Are you going to look like if you're just going out and picking it up? I've been to the driving range with people who have never played golf before, and it's just like, all right, man, you just need to sit there.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to wait this one out. Like you look like you're clueless. Same thing would happen in baseball. That was me on the rec league Cubs back in 2012 or whatever it may be. Like basketball.
That one you can feel
great.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like curling, if you gave me like a few hours of trying it, like darts, I feel like this is sort of similar.
I don't rate those.
Like football is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Like if you go out there, like first of all, I would look like a comedy act if I put on full on shoulder pads right now. Like you kind of realize just how jacked and huge football players are when like you see a normal scrawny dude in football pads because it makes your biceps look like twigs. Football's got to be up there. It's tough to choose 5. I think ESPN did a ranking, didn't they?
Maybe.
I think they had boxing as 1.
Combat sports, man, it has to be.
Oh, ice hockey. You have to skate, and you have to be physical, and you have to have that precision.
I bet race car driving is pretty high.
So here are the rankings on ESPN: boxing, ice hockey, football, basketball as 4 is surprising to me.
Yeah, I can't see that.
Wrestling at 5, martial arts at 6.
So combat sports is high on all these.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they claim 3 of the top 6 spots. Tennis, gymnastics. I could agree with that. I mean, the athleticism and being in shape.
Insane.
And
years of doing
right.
that.
Like you start when you're like 3 years old. Baseball at 9. I feel strongly that baseball is more difficult than basketball.
100%. I'm gonna say this as a basketball fan and not a
baseball
fan.
Yeah. Soccer, skiing.
Is racing not on there? Like race car driving, Formula One,
or water polo, rugby, lacrosse.
Man.
I'm surprised golf is not up there, dude. Golf
seems very difficult, especially to master.
We're doing rodeo in there. I feel like rodeo would be 1. You're riding an angry bull.
I'm shocked about the race car thing just because like the stakes of messing up are extremely consequential. Going 300 miles an hour in a tin can, like I don't know. That feels
okay. You want to hear this? Here are the bottom 10. Last, fishing.
Yeah, sure. With you.
I mean that makes sense.
Yes.
Also, I will.
Some of these are like hobbies, though.
This is how they graded them. They did endurance, strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, nerves, durability, hand-eye coordination, and analytic aptitude to perform in these sports.
Okay.
So I see why boxing is 1. Fishing, billiards 2, shooting 3, bowling 4. I mean,
every single one of those
bowling,
is a Saturday hobby that you go do at the bar. So like,
bowling. I mean, as a 200+ bowler, so
for real,
takes some serious.
Whoa!
I mean, you should see me. Sometimes I'm in there doing the grip workouts, getting the fingers stronger. Haven't bowled in a while. You know, my golf and my bowling game have fallen off since moving to New York, but would love to get back into it. I mean, big bowler. Archery, equestrian, roller skating, cheerleading as the 9th easiest. That
feels hard. Yeah,
it feels like you're just a couple of degrees removed from gymnastics at that point. And golf, as they're saying, 10th easiest. That's insane.
I think the golf thing is probably coming from you could step on a court on a course and you'd be fine.
That's a good question though. That's fun to do. Fun to hear everyone's opinions on that.
MMA, clearly.
They won. Okay. Ben Willingham. What's up, GC and Rick? Greetings from Birmingham, Alabama. Shout out. Headquarters of Regions Bank. That's where the old Pops is employed at.
Oh, nice.
Birmingham several times. Personal question. What are each of your guys' midterm career aspirations? What would you like to be doing in 5 years? Still primarily MMA or a different route potentially ahead? Any major career boxes unchecked that you'd like to push towards?
I always have the same answer for this question.
Yeah.
I don't set a lot of like super long-term goals because especially in the sport, especially in the job I'm in, everything moves very fast and it's hard to kind of like do that type of long-term planning. A lot of my goals are more personal goals, right? Like establishing myself enough to be able to provide for my family, do this. Those are usually the goals. But as far as career aspirations, I always have the same answer, which is I hope to be working with the people that I want to work with. That is all I hope for. Like job security, of course I want that. Good benefits, of course I want that. Good salary, of course I want those things. Everybody wants those things. That is not specific to me. I don't set goals based on that.
Of course.
I want to work with people. Oh.
Speaking of work.
Unprofessional.
Alarm's going off. He's got to go.
That's my daughter's daily bus pickup.
Oh, shout out.
So my daughter's getting off the bus right now. My wife's picking her up.
Good times.
No, my wife's got it. Don't worry. Thank you, Frank, though. I would have sent you. And it's working with these people. It's working with the people at MMA Fighting that I like to work with. It's working with the people on this specific show that I like to work with. Like, if you surround yourself with those people and in those environments, whatever you are producing, whatever your work is, will be its best. And you'll be most engaged and you'll be most enthused about doing it. Those are the only goals I set, is making sure that I'm surrounded by those people.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I mean, like obviously the salary, everything like that is just something that anyone's going to want.
Who says I want to make less?
Yeah, right. Of course. And I'm with you, man. It's most of my aspirations are personal, where you have achieved several of them, but like getting a house, starting a family, things like that are like things that as I enter my 30s are something that I want to do. And I want my career to sort of mend with that. It's hard for me to like say that I want to be doing anything differently right now. Like, I mean, sometimes I look at my job and my work and I'm just like, this is my job. This is ridiculous. I can't believe that I actually get to do this. Like my 9 to 5 today was showing up and then getting to sit here and chat shit about MMA and the weekend ahead for 3 or 4 hours. Like it's about as good as it gets. And I'm sort of like you, like a lot of short-term things. Like there are things on my mind that I want to accomplish this year. And hopefully that I can make those things happen. And it really is just like week after week, month after month, putting in quality performance and trying to get the best out of what I can do. And it feels like those add up over a long time. And it's sort of like you look at it and you're like, oh, like we're killing it lately. That's sort of how like just like small wins at a time will add up to get you to a point where it's like, okay, time for a major win, time to like, you know, have freedom to do what you want. Like I have worked at jobs in the past where I was nothing more than a cog in a machine, where like it feels like I've broken out of that and have much more freedom creatively within the job itself, you know, doing what I want to do. And that falls in the same place as wanting to work with the people that you want to work with. I want to be able to do like what I want to do within the job, not just taking orders and, you know, sir, yes, sir, like where it feels like you're not working towards something.
Yeah, I think it's important we kind of acknowledge that like we're in privileged positions, right? Like we get to do what we want to do and we are working with the people that we want to work with and those things, and not everybody has that circumstance. So our goals are going to be different. If somebody is in that other position, right, where they're not enjoying their job, the way I think about these things is like there's different buckets, right? There's like my personal bucket and there's my work bucket, and there's my relationship bucket, and there's these different buckets. And if you fill the buckets, right, sometimes one's going to be lower, sometimes one's going to be higher. But as long as you're filling that up, you'll be fulfilled. So sometimes those job aspirations might be good. They're in a good spot. As you said, like sometimes you're looking around and you're like, I really like where I'm at right now. This is good. The attention doesn't need to be there. The attention needs to be on these other things. So I don't tie too much of anything I'm doing to one specific thing. It's more that overall picture of like all those things that I want to get done, shorter term goals that add up to that larger picture, as you said. And yeah, but like we're in a good spot. I feel
yeah, I mean, like,
as fulfilled.
Yeah, I can't really look too far away from this. Like my dream or like my goal was always to like work and be able to support myself working in sports. Like that was what it was always
Same.
kind of about. And like now I'm doing that. So like it's sort of like the Andy Bernard from The Office. It's like, man, I wish people would tell you you're in the good old days when you're in them. I'm just kind of trying to enjoy the ride right now. I feel I have had this thought many, many times that I'm going to look back on the days of the MMA Hour and be like, man, those were some wild times. Like that was really a ton of fun. Like just going in Monday and Wednesday, doing the show, paying attention to everything that happened on the weekend. Like I miss those. I wish I could recreate them. So in the time being, I'm just trying to enjoy while we've got it.
And I want that for Ben and everybody else who is looking for that. That's,
100%.
That's the best feeling.
100%. Henry Morrison. G'day, Ariel, Rick, GC, and of course the one and only mysterious Frank. First time, long time. Do you have any further information regarding the purchase and layoff of Bloody Elbow and its employees? Is this the beginning of the end for real MMA journalism, and do you believe that this is an occupation by the UFC itself? Thank you for all that you do to cover the sport. There's no better show on the planet. Cheers from Adelaide, Australia, Henry. I really appreciate that, Henry, and that is that's amazing. A message from Adelaide. I don't have a ton of thoughts on this. Two big ones are A, it sucks to see people get laid off.
Yeah.
I mean, people just waking up and then getting a call and finding out that they no longer have a job. It just recently happened to my roommate. It's a very fortunate circumstance. It shakes up your life. Just not something you would want to wish on anyone, especially in the current economic state of times. It's just brutal to see. B, is it an occupation by the UFC itself? I don't think so.
I would assume not.
I think that's in regards to the class action lawsuit going on, and there are people out there that believe that Bloody Elbow had publications that could be damning to the UFC, so the UFC bought the outlet and got rid of all of the articles, and that's why they did that. I don't think that is the case.
If you just follow the logic of like, would this actually work? The answer is no.
Yeah, I mean, it also, another thing that sucks about the people getting laid off, all their work was taken away. I hope they had backups for that, because I know whether you loved them or hated them, there's still a ton of work being put in by them to create that database and everything. So no, I don't think that the UFC purchased them, and if they did, I mean, the owners of it agreed to sell it and would have had to know what the repercussions were, and they had troubles recently as well that we knew about, where they had to move away from working at Vox Media and sort of go independent. So no, I don't think this was UFC buying it.
I do not think the UFC was involved in it. I mean, is it a possible thing in the world? Sure, but just again, following the logic of it, like that doesn't scrub anything from existing. Like it's just an internet archive. Like that wouldn't really track. Bloody Elbow has done some valuable reporting in the space. Like I think their biggest calling card is doing some type of independent reporting that like other outlets don't focus on and don't do. So that is now missing, and I think that's where the question about, or the phrasing of coming like, is MMA media dead? I don't think so, or dying. I don't think so. I think that this is one specific outlet, right? Like this is one specific outlet and that does a specific thing. And the only thing I can say to reiterate what you said, like we don't want anybody to lose their jobs. Like obviously the people involved in this, like they're first and foremost, like our heart goes out to everybody who's impacted by this. But in terms of looking forward and the state of MMA media and all these things, if you are somebody who appreciated the work of Bloody Elbow, like if you're a fan out there or somebody who goes, we had Bloody Elbow and now we don't, Kid Nate, the editor, laid out like, this is a financial decision, right? Like it was not a profitable business. It was being run as a business and it was not profitable. If you are a fan out there who wants to see things that Bloody Elbow did and things like that, continue, you need to support it. Like, this is just how this goes. You are voting with your dollars. It's the same thing I said about the UFC Apex shows. If you are watching UFC Apex, you are endorsing it. You are saying, this is the product that I want to see. I will be here. If you put this on, I will come. If you don't tune in, you are now saying, this is not something I will watch. The same goes for MMA media. The same goes for any media, which is an industry that is in some turmoil right now. If that is what you want to see from MMA media, if that is what you want to see from your media in general, you need to support it. You need to look at it. You need to view it. You need to support those outlets. That is how this works. So these things are not happening by accident. Like, the fans have the vote, and it seemed at this moment that there was not enough voting for what was being done there. There needs to be more if that's what people want to see. So that is what I would encourage people to do. If there are things that you want to consume, if that is out there and this work is being done and you like it, support it. That is all we can ask.
Yeah. DC2. Many have suggested Cheeto is undeserving of his current title shot, and this fight has only come to fruition because it serves as a showcase for O'Malley. Is there a world where Cheeto wins and an instant rematch is made? I don't think so. There's a world, but it just kind of feels like if Cheeto wins, he's now 2-0 on him. He's got the belt, and I feel like that opens the door to Corey Sandhagen of being like, it's my time to get the title shot.
Yeah, it seems like there's an opportunity there. Could I see it though? I mean, if this does big business for them, and it is going to, I'm assuming because of the strength of UFC 299 and the promotion that's going into this, if all of a sudden they were just like, yeah, we want to run O'Malley versus Cheeto back one more time to settle. Oh, actually, well, Cheeto would be up 2-0.
That's what I'm saying.
Do they do it?
Like, what does
Probably
Cheeto say to that?
not.
It's like, dude, I'm up 2-0, man. There's a guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy that beat me, and they can frame it as a split decision, even though that was a clear Corey Sandhagen win. Corey Sandhagen,
What about Merab?
oh yeah, yeah. I guess you got to give it to Merab. You got to give it to Merab, dude. He's too deserving right now.
God bless the man, Corey Sandhagen, again out here in public saying, I'll fight Umar if that's what it takes to get me a title shot. I mean,
give me that Umar versus Corey Sandhagen fight.
He's just one of one. He really is. Like, we were talking earlier about, like, debuting against a ranked guy, like taking opportunities. Kevin Holland is doing that and giving MVP a big opportunity. But, like, truly nobody seemingly wants to fight Umar. And Corey is just like, I'll do it. I want to be the best martial artist. If this is the thing that's going to provide. So all love for Corey Sandhagen. It seems like it's got to be Merab next. Although I don't hate Corey versus Cheeto as a potential matchup if like the timing for some reason shifts one way or another and they need to do that. I don't think it's out of the question that you give O'Malley a rematch though. I think it's possible. I don't think it's the most likely, but I do think it's possible.
Yash Kanwar. Hello, Ariel, GC, and Rick. I'll keep it short. After watching the show for about 2 years now and following your journey doing work in MMA, boxing, and WWE, you, Ariel, are in my top 5 people to meet in life.
Okay.
That brings me to my question for the entire crew. Who are your top 5 people you would want to meet in your life from now?
Whenever this comes up, I have a name in my head and then I forget it. I'm like, oh yeah, I should always say this person, and then I always forget it.
Wow, this is a great question. Let's go Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
Just an all-time actor. Let's go Michael Jordan, just absolute legend to the game. This is tough.
It's tough because it's always shifting, I feel like. It's always kind of like of the moment.
I'll throw Drake in there.
Okay.
Got me through a couple.
Now, are you thinking of these people, if you had to spend time with them, it would be an enjoyable time? Is it more just like, I just want to like...
What's up? Let me get a pic.
Okay.
Snap a pic with them, like,
I'm thinking spend time. I'm thinking dinner party.
Dinner party. Who seems just like...
Even if it's like, let's say you spend 20 minutes with them.
Yeah, who seems like super...
I'll give you I only have one answer. It's always shifting. It's always... There's a mentalist, maybe magician to the uninitiated, named Darren Brown in the UK, who does these tremendous like stage shows and shows for television. And he had a Netflix special. I've seen him perform in person multiple times. I saw him actually in London, and I've seen him in New York City. He's just such a fascinating guy. I would love to just like pick his brain for like 30 minutes on life.
I like that.
Do you think he'd be into that?
Who would you say?
I hope so. Yeah.
Like,
what about you?
have me
Frank?
come over for dinner and you're just sitting here picking my brain? I've always wondered about that.
So are you implying that I don't have anything interesting to say to him?
No, I've just always. We were talking about it back here. Like the dinner party, it's got to be people you actually want to eat with. And
Okay, I'll throw one out to you for sure.
Who is it?
Charisma spewing out of every pore in this man's body. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds
Seems like
he's a good one.
Honestly, if you watch Welcome to Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney together would just be a delightful duo to hang
I
out.
agree with that one. That's a good one. You know,
Selena Gomez.
I choose
She can come to the dinner party.
we obviously have some kind of like semi-relationship / have met, but Action Bronson would be a great dinner party
Action
guest.
Bronson for sure.
Number one probably on the
sure.
call sheet.
Yeah, got to be up there. Yeah, who else?
Frank, what do you got?
Yeah, who are you taking, Frankie?
probably be like Carl Sagan,
Sure.
Stephen Hawking.
Oh, so you're going
you're a
like
smart guy.
Yeah, you're going like intellectual.
I mean, the people that
Dua
benefit a
Lipa's
lot
getting an
from.
invite to the
Okay.
dinner party. That's for sure.
She's big right now.
His Excellency.
She's on fire. His Excellency, of course. Maybe he's hosting the dinner party if we're being honest.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. What about an MMA fighter? You had to choose one.
Alexander.
Volkanovski?
Yeah.
Volkanovski would be good. He could cook for us. Sand-
See again,
that's a great
like,
call.
What is you're inviting someone for dinner, not like, hey, Alex.
It's a
can you go ahead and
fantasy,
cook
Frank.
some
Don't
food?
don't think too hard about it.
Sandhagen. He'd be a
Sandhagen's
show
up
one.
there.
Um,
Connor.
Yes, Hollywood.
I think it'd be Connor.
Connor would be great.
It'd just be wild. It'd just be
Connor,
insane.
you got to go out. You got to have some drinks and then just see where the night takes
It'd just
you.
be wild.
Yeah. Connor's. That's tough to top. I mean, there's a lot of them out there that I.
Frank, I will acknowledge you are correct. It is a very odd when you come up with these scenarios and these people are just being forced to have dinner with a pleb and talk about nothing.
Yeah.
But
Like,
maybe
Ryan Reynolds is probably like, you know what, man? I just wanted to have some food, get to know you a little bit. Instead, you want me to be Ryan Reynolds.
No,
But
no. I would
I'll
just shoot
call
the
you.
shit. Rick wants to pick the brains. I would just be like, oh, hey, what's up, Brian? And he'd be like, it's Ryan. I'd be like, oh, all right, cool.
you're playing it cool. You're playing it cool.
All joking aside,
Will Arnett, maybe?
kind of
He's in
happened
there.
to me.
Shout out to Will Arnett.
Tell
I
me.
went to dinner with an author. I'm not going to say their name in college.
Wow,
And I was
wow.
super stoked to talk to them about their work and all that. And the guy wanted to talk politics, which was fine. But it was just like, man, be careful what kind of situation you put you. Like all the things that was hyped up, questions I didn't get a shot.
Dude, if I went to dinner and someone and I didn't really know them at all and they just immediately started talking about politics, like I would just be like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? I don't want to talk about this.
I feel like Mike Tyson would probably be on there for a lot of people, right?
Mike Tyson would be a great one. I mean, there's so many. Tiger Woods back in his heyday. That could turn.
You just
into
want to
a
be
great
around
night.
people who are just like amazing at what they do.
Yeah,
You know, you just
who have
wanna
an
be-
aura. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's become a popular term these days, but like there are people out there that like the room gets smaller when they're in it because they're just,
Absolutely.
like, bigger than life. All right, enjoy the ride. Good morning, fellas. With Eric taking the reins today, hoping we don't have a repeat performance
Not
of
exactly.
Dallas when he froze up. Credit to him though. That was
It was an impromptu thing.
and we didn't know we were on air.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't even know we were on air.
It was it was an interesting time.
What a world it would have been if I was like, you know, GC's on his first work trip. He's here with a 10-gallon hat. I'm just gonna take the reins here. I'm just gonna be the one out in front.
I'm looking to wear that 10-gallon hat again soon too. By the way,
It was a great look. It was a
I'm trying
great
to
look.
Find something for that. Wanted to pick his brain as the Dagestani expert on the show.
Sure, I'll take it.
Yeah, stamp him. I was curious where he ranks Khabib and Islam as grapplers in MMA history. I know he has rated Charles top tier in the past. I imagine Islam and Khabib both have to be up there after what the latter did to him. Maya had minimal ground and pound, GSP, only 2 finishes in the last 8 years of his career. Islam and Khabib have to be in that tier. Eric is completely unbiased, so I'm excited to get to the bottom of this
I
one.
feel like there's a little bit of sarcasm dripping off this.
this is-
A little heat. Who's the best grappler? It's probably Habib. I mean, it's hard to deny the credentials.
Seemed to be able to get anyone he wanted to the ground.
That's it. It's like it's the intention, right? It's the will to be able to say, I want to put it here and you're not going to be able to stop me. I'd say GSP was pretty close in that regard, although he had probably more striking matchups. Like the thing about GSP was if you didn't want to strike, he would make you strike. If you didn't want to grapple, he would make you grapple.
Yeah.
Whereas Habib is, I want to grapple at all times, and I'm going to make you grapple. There's like different levels of the dominance. So I'd probably say Habib, although I will say it's hard to go against Charles Oliveira from the perspective that, like, in terms of well-roundedness, in terms of bottom and top, the guy with the most submissions in UFC history is probably a hard one to go against. Maya's up there. But you have to probably give it to Habib. I don't think Islam is on the level with Habib, because I think Islam's probably honestly just more well-rounded and able to stand for longer periods and be able to do that, whereas Habib was much more intentional about taking you down. So it'd be hard to argue with Habib. And I believe Damian Maia himself has said Habib. So if you're Damian Maia saying Habib, it's probably Habib.
Take his word.
Take his word for it.
Ryan Jones, Hey GC and New York Rick, how much do you think Bilal paid Game Bread for that cameo video? And since we're on the topic, have you guys ever purchased a cameo? If so, who was it from? The video he's referring to is like Jorge getting out of a car and being like, Bilal deserves the welterweight title.
Shout out to Bilal.
Shout out to Bilal. Just kind of random. I've never used cameo before. Have you?
Neither have I.
Hi team. What would
Ariel Helwani is on Cameo, so that's who you should get it from.
Get a cameo. I mean, maybe after we do a couple more of these shows, we get.
Oh, that's right.
Hi team. What would you rather do? Be at UFC 299 in person, but it's at the Apex, or be at the Blanchfield Fierro card at a sold-out MSG? Cheers from G from Glasgow. Shout out to Glasgow.
So let's break this down. We are planning to go to Fierro Blanchfield, and it will hopefully be sold out.
At the Boardwalk Theater.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm taking 299 at the Apex.
Okay, so does this prove a point that I've been trying to make at various points, which is it's card dependent and not necessarily the Apex itself?
It's a combination of both, though.
Yeah, because they're hand in hand. They're hand in hand.
An all-time card versus a very average fight night.
And they would never put an all-time card in the Apex, so they're kind of like intrinsically linked.
I'm taking 299.
But yeah, of course, 299.
Plus, you would be in person, so you'd get like the special Apex treatment, which would be pretty sick.
You'd be in the Halle Berry suite up there.
Fantastic question from G, though. I love that. All right. Let's go quicker on our answers here.
Yeah, or maybe like a few more.
As time becomes apparent. Let's see. Hello, crew. Question for GC. Is there going to be an episode 4 for Fight Feast? If so, are you considering Ecuadorian restaurants? There are a lot of good ones in New York. The government already gave us Monday as a holiday because it will be a historic weekend. That is incredible. Day off on Monday for Chito Vera.
I mean, it's lining up for that Ecuadorian first champion. That'd be pretty nice.
If they keep it as a holiday if Chito loses.
Yeah, it sounds like they already got it.
I think the sorrows away. Ecuadorian food was considered, but not super heavily. It was just such a layup with Cuban food and Miami being a tie. The good news is this is not the last Marlon Chito Vera fight, so we'll be able to do Ecuadorian food at some point.
Love it.
I need to keep as many options open as possible because I did think down the line, 20 episodes in, you kind of start running out of things to do. But that is
Fight Feast, baby.
That is a good question.
Global brand.
What's up, Ariel, GC, Rick, and my boy Frank? As a UFC fan who stays in Detroit, this is Eric Mumford, by the way. I was just wondering when UFC will make its way back to Detroit. I know we have Jamal, and he's the closest thing we have to a hometown star. But if he beats Alex, do you think there's a possibility that they'll come back? Little Caesar Arena would be rocking.
I could see it with Jamal Hill as champion. I don't. It's a really nice arena. Unfortunately, the newspaper in Detroit wrote a really scathing review the last time the UFC was there. I was there, actually, in Palace of Auburn Hills. They wrote a really scathing review that Ariel and I have laughed about on this show and many times in private as well. But yeah, if Jamal Hill's champion, why not? Go back to Detroit. That'd be sick.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Detroit would have to pay some money.
They'd need a site fee.
Sean Casey, hey guys, if you could add just one new weight division to the UFC, what would it be and why?
165.
I'll go atom weight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough talent there, but
maybe get some exciting fights. Maybe let's do atom weight.
I'd change 170 to 175 and
Women's
do 165. No.
Women's 155.
No.
Women's heavyweight division 150 and up.
Nope, not happening.
Hello, Rick and GC. Why is nobody mentioning Paulo Costa as a potential 301 headliner? This is from Tip, by the way. I keep forgetting these names. Him and Hamzat would be massive for the card and for Brazilian fans. Hamzat wouldn't have problems getting into the States. Back and forth would be tremendous. Roll Tide.
Can Hamzat go to Brazil, though? I don't know if that...
I would think so, maybe.
I don't know if it's like just he can't go to the U.S. I think he might have trouble getting to Brazil as well. That'd be hard.
That would be amazing.
But Costa versus Hamza non-title, I think people will watch that.
That would be great. Amanda Nunez comes back. Jose Aldo comes back.
Anderson Silva comes back.
Silva comes back. There we go. Any Brazilian great just comes back. Archer, GC, why don't you take more long shot props plus 500 or more? Only takes one to turn the night around. That is very true. But I feel like I would miss 30 before I would hit the one. I do take them occasionally, but I miss most of them. If you know my historic sub prop streak, I think I'm like 1 in 29 on betting sub props.
Well, you've hit a few. Like, remember Rosas?
Yeah. I've hit a couple plus 500s. I've hit a couple big dogs. I just feel like I always lose them. I just feel like I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to lose this. And then on Monday, I'm going to get a parlay of like 9 different plus 500s. And it was like $1 to win $1 million. Just
statistically, they're losing bets anyway, though. Like, that's why they give you those odds on them. You're not supposed to win them.
It just can't be me. Define bigger. What's up, GC, Rick, and Frankie Smokes? Great
Define
name.
bigger. Yeah.
Great name.
Good name.
GC, I hit you on IG to no avail, so I'll give it a crack here. I do receive an influx of Instagram messages. I am very bad at getting back to them. I do apologize for that.
I mean, this is a better. What's better than this?
This is a better way, so I do apologize. Define bigger. Let me shoot my shot. The Australian Football League AFL season kicks off this week. I like where this is going. Ariel has previously declared his fandom for the Adelaide Crows. However, given the rough stretch you've seen with Forrest in the Prem, I'm pleading with you to commit to the Collingwood Magpies, boasting the most passionate fan base in the land, over 100K members and averaging 70K at home games. Last year's premiers and the first team to feature an American in a premiership winning campaign. Mason Cox, naturally. Join our quest to go back-to-back this season. What's it going to take to get you on board? Don't let Ariel take you down the wrong path once again. Cheers, and in the words of Mark Goddard, God bless. P.S. Rick and Frank, you're welcome to jump aboard this as well.
There's a lot of pressure on you.
I mean, listen, it does not take me much to get me to jump on.
Check their merch out.
Bandwagon. Collingwood. I just want to see where this is real quick. Obviously, it's in Australia.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Looks like it's in Victoria. Looks like it might be right outside of Melbourne. Yeah, okay, all right. So this is like, it's essentially in Melbourne. Like, it's very, very close to that.
How's their merch? That's the most important
thing.
It
looks like they're black and white, which I love that color scheme. Like, you can really start rocking something there. I love magpies. I mean, that just kind of feels like an Australian raven. I could be totally wrong with that. Sponsored by KFC? Might be sold right there. Am I getting that correct? It looks like they are sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Looks like here's a picture of them with Emirates. They rock Nike jerseys. KFC sponsorship could really push it over the edge. You're telling me I could sit back, watch some AFL, and eat some KFC? Now, here's the last thing.
Colonel has picked something out. You got to go with that.
Here is the last thing. Australian rules football, team futures. Wow, they're the favorites. Collingwood Magpies. I'm not going to lie. It's been a rough stretch for Forrest. It feels like I tune in every week. They always let me down. They always break my heart. Plus 400 Collingwood Magpies. I think I'm going to lock it in.
Should we join?
Yes. We should all throw $50 on the Collingwood Magpies to win 200.
Let's do it. Frankie?
Yeah, all right.
Shoot your shot. Define bigger. That's his name. I wish we
Good man. Collingwood.
All right, I'm really going to do this.
St. Pat's, Collingwood. We're
Collingwood. Does St. Pat's have odds? Could I pull that up?
Against Minnesota United? Let's see.
No, I was going to say, do they have to win the league? I don't see any Ireland odds here, unfortunately. I mean, I'll check one more place.
Well, last year they won the FAI tournament, the cup. So,
yeah, of course, I knew that.
Champs,
So yeah, I want them to be champions again. I'm just going to a place with like a few more options. Europe. Here we go. I got this, guys. Don't worry. Ireland. What's the name of the league again? The first division, the Premier Division?
No, I think they're in a lower division than that.
All of Ireland.
Yeah.
I can find this.
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this later. Don't worry. We'll get a bet down.
All right, just a couple more here. Glad that we answered that one though, because now we're diehard Magpie fans.
Collingwood.
All right, Eric Martel, Helwani
is not here.
Can you hit who me for me?
Who, me?
There you go. Just wanted to give you a shout out for a great job you did on Saturday at the MVP boxing events. The situation with Amanda Serrano not being able to fight was a tough spot, and I thought you and the broadcast team handled it as well as possible. shout out. I mean, he says he gets no love. He's like, oh, I'm thrown in the.
It's all love.
All it is love. I mean, we read this, it's just like Helwani. It's just like, oh yeah, I guess Rick and GC can answer that too. That being said, my question is for GC and Rick. Can you recall any time something like that has happened at a fight event where the main event was canceled right before the fight due to take place and not at the beginning or throughout the duration of the card? I found the way this was handled was sort of unprecedented. It was a real shock. Also, would love to hear if you guys have a choice for which fight in either boxing or MMA you were the most disappointed about when it was canceled or called off. Thanks for everything you guys do for the fight community, fight fans, and fighters. Cheers. Thanks, Eric. The only that I can think of is that fight card where I think Andre Muniz or something became the main event, and like they announced it during the main card, and it was called off.
Somebody got sick and couldn't fight. It was heavyweights, I think. I don't remember.
Yes, I think it was Brendan Allen, Andre Muniz. Yes, it was Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann got called off during the main card. That's one that I can think of.
So Ariel alluded to it on Monday. Famously, like Shamrock was out of the Kimbo Slice fight, and then Seth Petrozelli came in and upset Kimbo Slice, like notoriously. Like that's a MMA history moment. I don't know if there's any others that come to mind. I mean, there's plenty of fight cancellations. He asked about like, what are some fight cancellations that were most disappointing to you? I mean, needless to say, the cursed Habib versus Tony fight that never happened 18 times is the one that probably springs to mind most readily.
Yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, pretty much anyone is like, like pre-fight that like it gets canceled and you're like, there's nothing worse than like, you have a bet on a fight, you're excited for the fight, and then the fight gets canceled, and you're just
Hamza Costa's a recent one that would have been.
Yeah, that's like one that you're like, damn. But yeah, that Krylov Spann one is where I can think of the main event. McSpeed, g'day, Ariel, GC, Rick, and Frank, longtime listener, first time questioner. Love listening to your show to help me get through the hours of work, and recently your interest in WWE has reignited my love for professional wrestling from when I was a kid. Do you guys have any recommendations of WWE podcasts that are a good listener? Any podcasts that you recommend to help me get through the long hours at work?
I got it.
Yeah, I'm not a WWE guy. What do we got?
Cheap Heat. Our boy. Shout out to TST, Troy, the guy on that show, and the producer, and Stat Guy Greg and Peter Rosenberg. They do a great job. Oh, and Dip. I love Cheap Heat. I don't follow wrestling like week to week, day to day. They have a lot of events. But I listened to that podcast and our boy Troy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course. I'm still WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, and that's about it for me. But I can respect it. I can enjoy it. Any podcasts? Both of us are. We enjoy Smartless.
Love Smartless
with Jason Bateman and
wow,
is Will Arnett on that?
Will Arnett and oh my God, Sean Evans. No, Sean Evans is the Hot Ones guy.
The guy from Will and Grace.
This is gonna kill me.
It's a great trio. I mean, you can always Google it. It's a fantastic trio, though. It's a real easygoing show, and they get on massive guests.
Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes. All of their guests are absolute superstars. Very easy listen.
Legit. Like they talk to the biggest people in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I think like the last couple episodes were like Selena Gomez, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like they get like the biggest people in Hollywood and entertainment. It's a really easy listen, and they all have a ton of charisma. So I like that. I've been with Pardon My Take for 8 years. I've always listened to them. That really enjoy their show.
I love The Challenge. And so Johnny Bananas from The Challenge has a podcast where he interviews other challenge people and traders people and House of Villains people. It's great.
Shout out. So
Midnight Boys. I love the Midnight Boys.
There's a ton of them out there. All right, just a couple more here. Mean Lean Cuisine, Mr. New York Rick. You talk about your love for horror films. Please tell me you have seen Talk to Me.
Of course.
Movies just aren't what they used to be, but this one was incredible. True edge of your seat horror in 2023. 9 out of 10. Go in blind and you will not be disappointed. How scary are we talking here?
It's just pretty startling. Definitely a lot of like jumpy moments. More ambiance vibe scare than like the jump scare, the traditional.
Okay.
But really interesting and unique concept. And yes, unlike other movies that seem to be coming out these days. So highly recommend.
Ooh, I'm looking at some screenshots. It looks
How does it
spooky.
compare to The Killer?
The Killer?
Oh yeah, The Killer is a movie that Frank has peddled on us.
No, but it's not a horror movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Amazing.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I liked it, but what does that have to do with horror?
I mean, just talking about movies.
Oh, if we're just talking movies, then Dune 2, baby. That's.
I haven't seen it yet. Please.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Oh,
haven't seen it, everybody.
Denis.
Going to see Kung Fu Panda 4 on
Sick.
Monday, and then I will be seeing Dune next weekend. You know, this week kind of a busy week with everything going on. If you haven't watched the first 3 Kung Fu Pandas, I mean, they're legendary.
Really? I've never seen one.
Oh my God, they're legendary. I mean, an hour 40 to 2 hours. Your kids will absolutely love them. Star-studded cast. I mean, I'm talking about Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Lucy Liu, Jackie Chan.
shoot.
I mean, like we're talking like big name stars coming in this. Storyline's great. Animation is great. I mean, it's
So you're a big Kung Fu Panda guy. Like you're
I've
in.
enjoyed them. I mean, when the first one came out, I was like 13, so like always been a Jack Black guy.
I feel like people have that kind of association with like Shrek too.
Oh yeah, I'd go see. I've always enjoyed like animated movies. I like, especially Pixar. I'll pretty much see any Pixar movie. Just a nice break from the more serious stuff. But yeah, like if a new Shrek came out, I'd go see it. I mean, any of these. Feel like this needs to be the last Kung Fu Panda. We're hitting 4 now, but looking forward to it. Gonna see that and then Dune 2. Yeah, been a minute since I've been to the movies. I mean, I say a minute. It's been like 3 weeks, but like I'm a big moviegoer, big moviegoer. Mr. GC, I love all your items in view, but curious where the Beware of the Fog banner stems from. I started at UK in 2014 and spent many nights at Allen Fieldhouse. Comfortable in saying top 5 places of all time that I've ever been to. The atmosphere is euphoric. February 13th, 2017, I was at a game that holds the Guinness World Record for loudest crowd roar at an indoor sporting event. Rock chalk, my brother. So where does that come from? I'm glad you noticed it. No one ever notices that. It's normally sitting in like the top right corner of my. Do we have my?
Can we cut to it?
Can we show my thing?
No, I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, they might have just left.
The control room has spoken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peace, guys. Anyway, you can see it next time we're on there. It's a banner that hangs in Allen Fieldhouse where Kansas plays their basketball. It says "Beware the Fog." It was made by students like back in the 80s. It is like their like calling card. It's just like you're in trouble that you're playing Kansas on the road. So where it started was me and my boys very into college basketball. I mentioned the college basketball betting podcast earlier in the program today. And in the last year that we were doing it, we were supposed to go to the Final Four in 2020 in Atlanta. My hometown got canceled, obviously, because of COVID. We repurchased tickets for 2022 in New Orleans. I have joined the show live from New Orleans. Had a future bet from preseason on Kansas, plus 1,800, 100 to win 1,800. They make it all the way to the Final Four. We go. We watch them punch their ticket to the national championship in the Superdome. And then they win the national championship by coming back from the largest deficit in national championship history, 25 points. It looked so bleak. And they won it all. It was a magical moment. We walked the streets all the way to Bourbon Street, stayed up all night, went to a Kansas bar, was telling everyone we went to Kansas. So everyone was buying us drinks. It was just a big rock chalk party. Got like 20 minutes of sleep, right back up, went to the airport, and left New Orleans. And it was just one of the more fun nights I've ever had.
Can that crack the top sporting moments for you, even though you're not a fan of that team?
Easily, because Georgia basketball sucks. So I've never gotten to witness like riding with a team.
But Georgia football has been.
Georgia football is amazing. I mean, it doesn't top. Within 3 months, I watched Georgia win a natty in person in Indianapolis, and then 3 months later, I went to New Orleans and watched Kansas win one. Not a Kansas fan, but we'll just always have love for them because of that moment and like that night. And it's like, I mean, I posted the video. It was just like an all-time moment when they won. Me and my boys are just like ripping beers in the stands, going crazy. Just won almost $2,000, and like got to ride the whole tournament with them. So yeah, Kansas.
And you get to go party in New Orleans after, which is
Bourbon Street, smoking cigars, walking. Yeah. It was the time of our lives. So yes, rock chalk to you, Mean Lean Cuisine.
Love that.
And lastly, crew, you talked about favorite movies. What about shows? Just finished Severance and couldn't have had more good things to say about it. My top 3: Dexter, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy.
Shows. I don't watch a lot of shows. The Challenge. The only thing I love is The Challenge.
Just finished Entourage. Absolutely blew through it. Took me like 3 weeks. Easy watch. 8 seasons, but some of the seasons have like 8 episodes. They're like 25 minutes apiece. Super entertaining show. Doesn't make my top 3 for sure, but very entertaining show. Vinny Chase, Ari, Turtle, all the crew. I love that. My top 3 is very cliche, but I stand by it.
We got Breaking Bad, Wire, Sopranos. What do we got?
Bingo. There's
Those three?
There's
There you go.
3. And then if I'm saying a 4 that I really want to put in those 3, Peaky Blinders. Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely loved Peaky Blinders. It's
That's Tom Hardy.
Cillian
Murphy.
Soundtrack is amazing. Cinematography is amazing. Acting is amazing. Storyline. It is such a good show. But like those 3, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, The Wire, they have just like set themselves apart. They're such like
other than the challenge,
series.
which is
The Challenge,
number
of
1,
course.
top.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, probably the GOAT.
That's new, right?
No. They made a real life action one, but like animated series.
Okay, got it.
It was an amazing one. Netflix. This is a deep cut, dark. It was like a German series about like time travel.
Yes, I saw that.
It was a crazy, crazy show. I mean, there's so
I think it's Scandinavian, but yes, I did see
there's
that.
so much good TV out there. There's so much good TV. I want to watch Better Call Saul. Obviously,
If you love Breaking Bad, then
universe. Love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is my one. I don't think it's ever going to get.
Oh, okay.
Game of Thrones was entering that upper echelon. Last season ruined it for me. What about you, Frankie?
Yeah, what do we got, Frank? You're a big
Um,
consumer.
The Price is Right.
Oh, shout out.
Classic.
Jeopardy.
I mean, yeah. Any
Home
non-game shows or?
Improvement.
Oh, okay. Tim Allen, big
Shout
guy.
out. Clarissa Explains It All.
Wow. So nothing that happened in like anybody young's lifetime.
They still make TV shows.
They stopped after Clarissa Explains It All. After that went off the air.
I was tickled by Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Silicon Valley, that's
That was a
what they
good one.
recommended to me when I finished Entourage last night.
Are you gonna start?
No, I think the next one I'm going to go with
It's
is
one in
Better
one
Call
ear,
Saul.
out the other.
reading good books lately, Frankie.
You know, this year has been a little lackluster with the books, but I've been rereading Dune. So
shout out.
and then a short story just this week called
Please.
"I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream." Highly recommend.
Oh wow. Okay.
Did you see Dune?
Oh yeah.
And what'd you think?
You
no,
boys
I'm-
talk about it off air, all right? Huh?
Say it again.
Good. Talk about it off air. All right.
Nah.
Two more questions. There's too many questions.
Okay.
Thank you so
Let's go.
much to everyone that sent.
Highly entertained but disappointed. Thanks, Rick.
Of course. Frank, if everybody loves something, Frank's going to be like, yeah, it was all right.
Oh,
loved
I
it-
was
I loved
so
it
entertained.
so much.
Smile ear to
I was
ear.
so entertained. It was smiling ear to ear the entire time. I got the custom popcorn bucket and I was reaching my hand in and I had the time of my life and I loved it, but I was disappointed with the
disappointing.
storytelling and the acting could have been a bit better. It's like he's always got to, it's always, just
It's
talk
funny.
to his wife.
That's usually pinned to me, so I'm glad it's pinned to Frankie. This
Yeah,
is.
I mean, just
All
let
right.
him throw a shade.
Shane Patino, GC and the boys, curious as to how extensive the research is on the locations for fight feast. What values are we considering when selecting the restaurant? Do you go to places you've been before or strictly new places? What are the key attributes a particular
This is great.
restaurant would need in order to make the show? Cheers, boys. With love. I really love this shit. Shout out to Shane.
I'm curious this myself.
It's extensive. Yeah. I mean, I'm like researching heavy. I'm typically starting.
Is Frank involved? Is Frank consulted?
He is aware of the situation that's going on.
Okay.
His input is used.
Thanks.
But like I am doing like most of the heavy digging. So like I'll usually start with like, all right, deciding what cuisine that
Sure.
we're going to go for. And then from there, like what are like the main dishes that I need to hit? Like obviously there's gonna be like the deep cuts that people love that like you can't necessarily get to, but like what like do I really need to get
So you go dishes before restaurant. You're not looking like 5-star restaurant. Then what dishes do I get at there? You're starting dish.
So I'm
Okay.
establishing dish. So like this week for Cuban food, I have a couple boys on there. Shout out to my guy Tito, lives in Miami. Cuban.
Hey.
Another one of my friends, Tony, who we had on No Bets Bar this week, also of Cuban descent. I hit them both up. I was like, what do we need to get? They named some dishes, and a couple of them, they were like, you got to get this. So like, and then you kind of get from Google where like you start seeing every list have like a few dishes on it that it's just like, all right, we need to hit this. And then you start researching restaurants. You're going to start with like the ones with incredible reviews that people are talking about. And then you look in the menu and you start diving deep into what they have. Like there's a Cuban restaurant out here on Stone Street right by our office that doesn't even serve croquetas. So I was just like, get out. And like, then you realize like they don't even really have this much stuff. And then there's some that are like quick to go places that serve like Cubano sandwiches and like, that's going to be about all you can get there. You need to find that like beautiful medium where like you can get all these different dishes and you can knock them all out and like you're really getting the full experience. And so it's a mix of what dishes are available, how good are the reviews, how far is the place. So yeah.
Well, let me just say, as a fan of the series, this
We're gonna get our own IMDb page.
this works because it looks. I mean, it just every time you go, it looks incredible. The research is not wasted.
I appreciate that. It's very exciting for me. I was telling Frank when we were doing it this week, like I was just like, man, I really love this because we get to experience these things that I would ever do. Yeah, when we do it on Saturday, that's what I'm gonna say to Frank. Now, obviously, this takes editing, this takes research, and sometimes there isn't really time to do it the day of. But me and Frank had to do it early, and like we've talked about lighting in the past. Like we went to the Georgian restaurant, very orange lighting. This restaurant we went to, and we were like, oh, the lighting's great here. And like I guess we got right in between lunch and dinner, and like I guess they were starting dinner. And they just tone it down to like the most romantic dark lighting. We're like, all right, I guess we're gonna have to work through this.
We know why they did it.
All right, one last one.
Let's do it.
Let's see. This is one that hits us all. Trin Wolf. He starts or she starts. GC. What do you do with your card collection? Do you display them, box them, grade them? How long have you collected, and what's your favorites in your collection? So how long have I collected UFC cards? Since I started doing the watch parties, but I have always had sort of an affinity for this. Like,
do you collect other sport cards?
No, but I've always sort of had an affinity for like this card world. Was obsessed when I was young with Pokemon. Like I can remember just like my parents would like bribe me with like, all right, if you behave, we'll buy you a pack of Pokemon cards on the way home. And it's like zip lip completely, shut up and like get ready to behave. Pokemon cards. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! I got like really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I would go to tournaments, show up as this like chubby, overweight 12-year-old with braces. And like I was very good, like super solid. Loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Got all 5 pieces of Exodia at one point. Then it gets banned from the tournaments. Like I was
I'm loving this.
I was serious about Yu-Gi-Oh! Man. Like I was like had the card.
Do they still have that? Do people know what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is right now?
I think they still have it. I think it's evolved into way past.
Because Pokemon clearly still has legs, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. I think if you had like a first edition, like. This is cliche, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, you had the all 5 pieces of Exodia, things like that. Like people are going to be down, but like, dude, I was so into it. All my friends were into it, so we would play each other. Like we had the cases, and there was a place near where I grew up, Player One Games in Atlanta, shout out, had weekly tournaments, and you would win like store credit or cards, and like it was just like a high about like A, winning matches, or B, getting a new card that's like holographic, super rare, super good in the game. Like I've always sort of had an affinity for like card collecting, stuff like this. I just like, I don't know, there's just something fun about it. It's like a treasure hunt. What do I do with the card collection? They're at my house. I do put them in safe places. And like, I don't display any yet. I don't.
You sleeve them though, and you're like,
I do sleeve them, and like the rarer ones I put in like that. I got a Volkanovski autograph tie dye, like 1 of 25, one that's like in like a special case. I need to get them graded, honestly.
So I moved to a new house 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, coming from apartments, no space, right? I had stuff at my mom's house. I had stuff at my dad's house. Now all the stuff is together. And one of those things is my kid, like from my childhood, my basketball cards.
Amazing.
I've got Kobe rookies, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, but now I have to go through all these. And at the time when I was collecting, it was Beckett. You'd have to go to Beckett and be like, okay, I have to look up this. I'm like, I just don't have time. I have 3 kids. Like, I'm not sitting here and doing this.
Employ the kids.
But how am I going to know what to price it? Just put it at 99 cents.
Yeah, start it at
So,
see what it goes to.
I have a friend in the Netherlands, Anwar. Shout out to Anwar.
Shout out to Anwar. Shout out to the Netherlands.
He's the man. He told me about an app called Ludex where you can scan with your phone the cards.
Oh, amazing.
And it will bring up historic pricing and bring up the things so that you can now build your digital collection on your like Ludex. But also now I can be like, oh, this one's worth grading. This one's worth this one's worth that. And now I can kind of like do that. So shout out to Anwar, lifesaver. But yeah, that's a way to do it.
Yeah. I sold my entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection on eBay. Whole thing.
What are we talking?
5 sets of Exodia. Everything. I mean, it went for over $1,000. Yeah.
Oh,
it was like a piece of my.
When did you sell it?
Oh man, like 2010. Early high school.
Do you think it'd be worth more now, or do you think the fad like kind of like peaked then and then came down?
If they were all in mint condition, yeah, I think they would
They would sell more now.
Yeah, like let's see what like I mean, if you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, Exodia,
Not much.
I mean, Exodia was oh my god, Exodia was like a legendary. Like if you got all 5 even in your hand, the match was over and you won. It was just like the legendary Yu-Gi-Oh character. Oh, I'm seeing a set of first edition, which mine was not first edition, for $2,600. I mean, I'm seeing pieces of it going for $200, and you had to get all 5 pieces.
So you might have been
I'm seeing,
okay.
I'm seeing graded pieces going for like no. This is my whole set though. I had some rare cards. Yeah, maybe I should have hung on to it. But like, oh my gosh, you should have seen me like when I got the 5th and final piece of Exodia. Like, I would just stare at all 5 pieces together. I'm like, I can't believe like this is. I've like.
Now, how hard was it to get it? Like, how many people in the world do you think had it?
Oh, a lot. There were a lot of people that had it, but like I got like 2 or 3 of the 5 pieces out of packs, and then I had to go and like purchase the last one. I remember just getting the last one. It was just like this like holy grail.
You're like, life's complete. I did
like,
it.
All my friends are dead. They're dead. They don't stand a chance now. Wait till I get like all 5 pieces. So yeah, long answer for that one. But
you love the cards, but
I've always had an affinity for like.
I feel like Frank, and correct me if I'm speaking out of turn. I feel like maybe a Magic the Gathering guy.
Yeah. Shout out to MTG.
What's the crazy one in Magic the Gathering?
The Black Lotus.
Black Lotus.
Black Lotus.
I was a Magic the Gathering guy as well.
New York Rick.
Sure.
You mentioned Wizard of Oz is your perfect movie. What's a bad movie that you know is flawed, but you love all the same?
Yeah, this is hard because I watch a lot of bad movies. Like, I watch a lot of like those straight to DVD action movies that everybody hates and would never watch. I watch all of those and love them. Okay. So like, there's like 1,000 that I could use here. I guess if we're going like flawed, but I love, I think the easy answer is like probably any of the Fast series. Like, most people don't think of those as like high art and enjoy them as much as I do. I think of them as Pantheon level. Like, I would die for the Fast and the Furious movies. So that's probably it if we're talking like flawed.
Mine, like right off the rip of like a flawed movie that I love would be The Meg. I'll go to war that The Meg is better than Jaws.
See, that's where you get crazy.
That's the kind of talk that gets us into trouble.
Oh, because the Jaws is old and it's got this history. It's better. I mean, the animation's better. Jason Statham is better. I mean, everything about The Meg is better. I'll go to. I mean, come into my DMs. I'm happy to argue this.
Bringing a shark to your funeral.
What's the oldest movie you would go back and see? Like, would you watch a black and white movie?
I've seen Jaws.
Okay, but like, would you watch like Casablanca?
Yeah. See, like, is that going to be my first choice? I don't have a prejudice against old movies, but like we're talking about like just like what they accomplished in The Meg, like an all-time classic against Jaws. Wow. I mean, it's a robot there.
See,
you could put Jaws in Chuck E. Cheese and people would think that, Chucky was more real than him.
When I said I liked really bad movies and watch all those, The Meg was like in that exact like level, but you have it up here.
You want to know a movie that I just saw that was bad and like was bad? Argyle. I was really excited.
Oh, I was going to watch that tonight.
It's bad and it gets so corny.
Can I ask you something important? Is the twist at least good?
That's the thing. The twist is actually great. And for like the first like hour and 20 minutes, you're just like, oh, this like is actually like super crazy and sick. Like, I actually am loving this. And then it just kind of goes too far and it gets to one at the end. You're just like, why is this still going? Like, can we just get out of here?
A good twist can save me. I'll still watch it.
All right. Then you should watch it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you seen
Madam Web?
No.
Because you were talking about bad movies. I have seen Madam Web.
Oh, God. I mean, even Sydney Sweeney's on SNL, like, ripping Madam Web. Have you seen Poor Things yet?
Loved it. I just saw it recently. Loved it.
It was very good.
Emma Stone, I mean, like one of our best.
We seeing Deadpool Wolverine?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Got to see it. That's like a day it comes.
But none of these are bad. These are great movies. These are like next level. Madam Web was legit bad.
Okay.
Not redeemable.
Last but not least, Mysterious Frank, what is a new album everybody has been sleeping on? What's spinning and putting the sounds into your audiophile ears of late?
You know what? The new-ish Crosses album, this is with Chino Moreno from Deftones. It came out at the end of last year, but like it's a sleeper. Don't sleep on it.
I definitely think end of last year is suitable for new
yeah,
music.
For sure.
Like, I think we're okay there.
I don't think that's what we're sleeping on. You excited for the new Taylor Swift album, Frankie?
Yeah, I already own it.
Coming out in like a month.
My daughter had a birthday party that was Eras Tour movie, so I watched the Eras Tour movie.
I would watch that. All right. Sorry if we did not get to any of your questions.
We
Thank you
tried.
so much to anyone that got them in. I mean, there's so many of them. I see why Ariel goes long. Some of them are so good. I'm sure we missed some of the best ones. Really appreciate anyone that asked. That does mean a lot. That was a ton of fun, too. I mean, it feels like we're really just, I kind of forgot we were even on air. Like, it feels like we're just casually hanging here. And we still got a little bit more show to go. Still got to hit our last read. Still got to give out the picks. And then I got to take you to school in Street Fighter.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
2.5 hours. We're gonna go 4. But we're here for the fun of it. We don't get to do this often, so we're just we're enjoying the rodeo. Before we get into the parlay pals, before we get into the picks, I gotta let you know, heat's gonna be cranked up in Miami for UFC 299. I can tell you that much, and the action will be even hotter on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet. What's a no-sweat bet, you ask? It's like getting another chance if you take an L. Take one on the chin, you get another shot at victory. That's right. Get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet does not hit. I mean, if you're looking at some of these lines, you got Sugar Sean O'Malley as a massive favorite, -278. You could maybe cook up a little parlay if you're doing that. Coin flip in some of these fights. I mean, flip a coin. Piotr Yan -120, Song Yadong +100. That's what's available at DraftKings Sportsbook. So go ahead and download that app, DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code THEMMA That lets them know that we sent you. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000. Throw $1,000 down and you'll just get it right back if you lose. I feel like you don't even got to worry at that point. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Like I said, the code, the MMA Hour, the crown is yours. Got a gambling problem, Rick?
No.
Neither do I. But if you do, go ahead and call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777. A lot of sevens. Or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill and Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. One no-sweat bet per new customer issued as one bonus bet based on the amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 160 days after issuance. See dkng.com/promos for deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions and terms and responsible gaming resources apply.
Wow. Look at that.
We did it.
I just love the music escalating at the very end there while you're trying to read the dense copy.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
That is tough stuff. I already do have Juliana Pena, the Venezuelan Vixens pick in, which I don't know if you saw Macy Barber talking a little jazz, saying, yeah, she'll fight Juliana Pena. It's not a tough fight.
That's still a good fight. I still want to see Barber and Pena. Shout out to our girl.
She took Piotr Yan, Song Yadong over 2.5 -298. Can I just make the Collingwood Magpies to win the AFL my pick? Still have that in the bet slip here.
St. Pat's.
Yes. Also, shout out to St. Pat's. All right, so I will throw these in the randomizer here. On fire. All right, that'll go Rick first. I will go second, and then Frankie will go third.
I'm going to go alternate totals.
Yeah.
I feel like we live on alternate totals.
Page.
I'm going to go on the alternate totals, and I'm going to go main event over 1.5.
Like that. What are they giving us there? -650.
Feels secure, you know?
You know what? While we're at it, Frankie, I'll let you go ahead of me.
All right. Picking up the slack here.
Thank you.
I'm going to also take an alternate round, but I'm doing the Macy Caitlin fight going over 1.5.
Okay. All right. Macy Caitlin, we don't have that line available now. But I mean, let's say if you took the over 2.5, that gets us to -104. So like, we'll still be in the negatives here. I'll clean us up. Don't you worry. I'm gonna go boxing. I'm gonna go Friday. I'm gonna hit that.
Oh,
gotta support New Jersey Zone. Gotta support the man, Zhilei Zhang.
Let's go.
That gets us in the plus money. I think that's a winner. I think we just snuffed out a winner there.
I agree.
Couple totals. A single boxing pick. That sounds good to me. So that will be over 2.5 in Yan Yadong, over 1.5 in O'Malley Vera, over 1.5 in Chukagian versus Barber, and then on Friday, Zhilei Zhang getting it done. for the boys.
What do you have?
Can't believe the only one that costs us. What do I have? Let's get into it. Let's run through my picks. Let's start with PFL Europe. We already talked about it. Is it the sucker bet of the century? I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow. Rick tells me no, but it just feels like the whole world should be on Cedric Doumbé. But I am. So we'll see what happens. Knockout. We're doing it for the fun of it.
Let's go.
Doing it for the fun of it. Let's go to the next one, to the boxing card. Mentioned this one on Monday. Anthony Joshua under 0.5 knockdowns. So to him to register 0 knockdowns plus 200. Yeah, I like this pick. I mean,
what is this at right now?
Let's see. So this is
because I'm curious if this is just like, this feels too good to be true is how I'm kind of like seeing it.
It is now at plus 175.
This feels like
175. So
this is one of your finest, I must say. I'm truly impressed.
Let's knock on wood. Let's not count those chickens before we hatch. I liked it when I found it. Hopefully that stays true. 4 of Joshua's last 7 have gone to a decision. Francis Ngannou, 21 professional fights. Never been knocked down. Never been knocked out. Took a massive elbow from Tyson Fury like it was a couple eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
It was just nothing. I mean, just absolutely nothing. So, yeah, man, to not get knocked down 10 rounds. I feel like Joshua, while he might be aggressive with the volume, I feel like he's going to be cautious of the punching power of Ngannou. So I don't know if he's going to be loading up on shots.
If he's trying to get into position to knock out Francis or knock down Francis, he's probably exposing himself. It just feels like that's not the game he wants to play. I love this.
All right, next up, I got 2 here. I'm going to take Anthony Joshua to win by decision plus 400. I honestly think this is the most likely path to victory.
Agreed.
I think if he's going to finish Francis, I think it's going to be a TKO. I mean, the dude has just shown durability throughout the course of his entire career. And like I said, Joshua, 4 of his last 7 have gone to a decision, man, and he's lost a couple of those. And I just feel like if he's going to win, he's just going to outbox Francis over the 10 rounds and get his hand raised. So at plus 400, I mean, his knockout is like plus 120 or something. I just feel like this is, at these odds, this is something I wanted to take. And then someone asked me why I don't take long shots. Here's a long shot for you, folks.
What do we got?
Francis Ngannou to win. If we go to the next one here, Francis Ngannou to win by split decision.
Oh, wow.
Plus 5,000. You call me crazy. Maybe he gets a knockdown. Maybe he gets 2 knockdowns on Anthony Joshua. We know the boxing judges can be kind of dicey. One of them scores it for Joshua, and Ngannou gets his hand raised via split decision. I mean, we were one judge scoring it 1 or 2 rounds away from this happening last time. Plus 5,000. I'm throwing a $5 on this guy. But plus 5,000, it's just so. I mean, let's say it goes to a decision. Let's say it goes to a decision, and then it's a split decision, and I'm waiting on that last scorecard to be read. Stomach's going to be in the throat. It's going to be like, holy cow, I'm either catching a plus 400 or a plus 5,000.
Yeah, but you also have the other side of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, if say it goes to a decision and I already catch, all right, this is how this fight plays out perfectly for me. It goes to a decision. There's no knockdown by Anthony Joshua. We go to the scorecards and it's a split decision. And now I'm sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
It'll be a moment of pure like euphoria and sweat equity and everything while I'm waiting for that third judge's scorecard. I mean, I'm talking about threading a perfect needle where I'm waiting for that third.
Speaking of perfect needle,
I mean,
help.
Did we set a timer on this thing?
Apparently not.
I think we just gave up on this thing, but luckily we're nearing the end of the program.
Is everyone okay?
I kind of feel like this gives me some more freedom here. It feels like I'm singing at a concert now. It feels like I'm doing some karaoke.
Rock star.
The way that I play this thing perfectly is that, like, yeah, I'm waiting. I just have that moment of euphoria, waiting on the third judge's scorecard to get read.
Here it comes.
I feel like that would just be absolute.
Yeah, because you're cashing on Joshua in a worst case scenario, or
I win Ngannou by split.
Amazing. That'd be tremendous.
Hopefully we can.
I'm rooting for that.
Hopefully we can do it. All right, so those are the boxing picks. Let's dive into the UFC 299 picks. I like Michel at middleweight, man. We can just leave up the graphic there as we work on through them. There's big CJ in here, Crypto Joe. Bitcoin at an all-time high, folks. I thought that's what we were doing too. I thought that was great work in the back there. You guys don't need to see me wrangle this thing like a speed bag right now as it moves all around. Yeah, I like middleweight Michel, man. 6-fight win streak for the guy. I thought he looked great last time out, and I feel like Michael, as good as he's looked over the last few fights, getting the knockouts, I feel like the knockout is like one of his big win conditions. And I like the defensive prowess of Michel Pereira. I like the movement that he has. I like him to get a dub here. All right, next up. Pedro Munoz plus 3.5 points. I think he could win this fight outright. I really do. I think he's going to keep this thing close. I think the first and the third round, especially, Kyler Phillips slows down. I think he has a massive capability to win that. If you don't know what 3.5 points means, add up all the judges' scorecards. So I need a 29-28 across the board. Phillips, a Munoz win, a Munoz by finish win, or like.
What's fun is when it's a split, then you still get some points back as well.
Yeah, splitty, then you're really feeling good. But I mean, Pedro Munoz, he won that first round against Sean O'Malley. He won as a big underdog against Chris Gutierrez. He should have covered the 3.5 against Marlon Vera. I didn't really trust those scorecards that came out of it. I think he can keep this thing close to. He's super durable, 28 pro fights. He's never been finished. He's always in your face. That third round especially, I would still feel good. 2018 Phillips going into the third round, I think Pedro Munoz could get it done. I like his gas tank and I like his durability. So plus 3.5. Munoz, a lot of ability for him to get this one done. Next up, my guy. You see the two lines. That means I played him twice. Jelton Almeida. You expected me to hop off the train at the 50-44 to top 10 heavyweight? I'm just supposed to jump off the train. Now we're getting plus money on the guy? Give me a friggin' break here. I think he goes back to his old ways. 19 wins before this, all 19 coming by finish in the first or second round. I think that's what he does here. I actually think he goes for the takedowns on blades, which most people don't do. He gets the takedowns, and then he gets the finish once it gets put on to the mat. Next up, before everybody freaks out, yes, I took Jack Della Maddalena as an opener. I took Benoit Saint-Denis on DraftKings as an opener as well. Those lines have shifted drastically. I know it doesn't do a ton for the people now, and it does upset them. These are just the bets that I have and what I played. Don Giacomo plus 130. This is just a completely biased bet. Gilbert Burns does scare me. His ability to take it to the mat does scare me. But if it's a boxing match, Jackie D is going to be looking good in there, and he's going to get it done. Next up, I'm doing it. I'm trusting the gut. I don't know if this is just my bias against MVP making his UFC debut, but I like Kevin Holland to get it done here, man. I think he's got the durability to thwart this. I think he can crack himself, and I'm just listening to my gut. Yeah, am I a little nervous? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson comparisons, maybe not having the greatest fight IQ once he's in there.
Are you hoping to see him just shoot a double from minute one? Like, is that going to make you
aggressive and mix in the takedowns?
Yeah.
Then I'll feel really good. Either way, I think this is a very close fight. I don't think either of these guys are getting finished, and I think Kevin Holland is the one that's going to be doing the finishing, if anyone. I think his durability is a massive advantage here. Plus, 5 years younger. MVP's about to turn 37. I think Kevin Holland's going to show out in front of the Miami crowd. Next up, I believe this is my last single. Yes, I took Benoit Saint-Denis as an opener on DraftKings. I just can't go against the guy. He came in here. Something in his eyes, man. I looked him dead in the eyes, and I was just like, something about that guy. He's just violent. Just a Terminator. He was smiling at me, and I was like, there's violence in that smile. Yeah, just like can't go against him the way he's looked as of late. Poirier coming off a bad, nasty knockout to Justin Gaethje, obviously getting older. And just Benoit's ability to mix it up. He can get submissions. He can get knockouts. Dude is just seems to be a killer of late. So Benoit I will be riding with. A few parlays that I have here. Let's get into those. This one I very much like. This is the pacifist parlay, building it on 3 pillars of durability here. We're going Marlon Chito Vera as our first one. 10 of his last 11 have gone over the 1.5. Never been knocked down, never been knocked out. Don't think O'Malley is going to put him out in the first round. Song Yadong versus Petr Yan. Petr Yan, another pillar of durability. Never been finished. And if you look at it, 11 straight over 1.5. 16 of his last 17 over the 1.5 as well. Song Yadong, 7 of 9 over the 1.5 as well. And then lastly, I already mentioned him, Pedro Munoz, never been finished. 8 straight over 1.5s. 12 of his 18 UFC fights have gone to a decision. I like these. I like these too, to go over the 1.5. I think they're all great fights. I think they're going to be really exciting. Let's go to the next one. A little violence. Oh, no, this is just straight up picks. Asu Almabayev. Don't know if he's like a major prospect, but I think he gets it done against CJ Vergara. He can mix in the takedowns. He'll go for submissions if they present themselves, but he's sort of a position over submission guy. I could see it going sort of like the Tatsuro Taira fight for CJ Vergara and then Mateusz Gamrot. I did take him at a little bit shorter of a price, still a big favorite, but a little bit shorter than like the minus 470 he's at now. I just feel the path to victory is there. RDA is almost 40. He's gotten taken down 36 times in his last 6 losses. Mateusz Gamrot is going to go for takedowns. He's going to chain wrestle until he gets the takedowns. Feel like that's the path for him. 2 more here. Violence parlay. The Spain versus Parisian under 2.5. Similar to Cedric Doumbé, kind of just riding the way on Despain. I mean, you go back and watch his tape, it takes you 19 seconds to watch his last 3 fights. You can't really take that much from it. The guys that he's fighting, yeah, they've had like 1 combined professional fight, but I just want to have some fun. When he starts his Josh Parisian in round 1, I want to be on that side and be going crazy for that Miami crowd. And then Almeida Blades getting a very short price on this of the under 2.5 there. I mean, if you go and look at it, I mean, Almeida finishes almost all of his fights. 20 of his 22 fights under the 2.5. Blades, 8 of his last 11 under 2.5. You're getting minus 165 on it in a heavyweight bout. I'm gonna ride with that. And then last but not least, he had to be in there. Shiley Zhang, Robles Despaigne, the big boy parlay, and that's that. That is the action for UFC 299, for the boxing, for PFL Europe. We're all over the gaff, as they say. Hopefully, it's a bounce back week. And that leaves us one thing to do. A little Street Fighter.
Shall we? Wait, are we standing or are we sitting?
No, I just had to grab my controller. Grab your weapon of choice.
It's been many years.
Oh, yeah. So I was told that we should do Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Is that what we're thinking?
It's the only one to do.
All right, Frankie. All right, let's do 1 in Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and then let's go like Street Fighter 3 afterwards, the new generation.
All right,
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Oh yeah, let's go random.
Yeah, do random. Do random.
We don't need to choose it. Yeah, Chun-Li.
That's right.
Let's go. Where we heading? USA. Boo.
Okay, that's gonna get clipped.
I know someone for somewhere exotic. Wow. Oh, you got the fire, bro. Here we go.
I'll see him.
Oh, look at those kicks. This is best of 3, right?
It's 2 rounds.
Oh, one more. You're cooked. The knees. Oh, you're doing defense on me. What's going on here? No. I thought you were going to pull it out there. Let's go, Sean.
I thought I was gonna pull that one out too.
Whew. I like you going with the D, bro.
I should have stayed with. Damn, I am in your range, huh?
Which is funny because you have the extending arm.
I know. I don't know how to do the moves.
Oh, look at that kick. Look at that kick. Finish him off. Oh, big.
Pathetic.
Connor, this is the kind of beatdown where you have to hand up a quarter and be like, "I'm sorry, I took your money from you."
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's run one back. That
let's.
That was just about too easy. Let's choose new players.
I'm gonna go with the classic.
I mean, I'm Chun-Li all the way.
Skip Blanca and just keep tapping the button.
Wait, did I pick Ken?
They love that.
Oh, Ken.
Like, I'm gonna go with the classic, and then you.
Ken.
Oh
Look at that! Gosh, I'm getting. Oh, she's head spinning.
Oh,
those kicks.
The way he started was really strong.
Ken, get out of here, bro. I mean, Chun-Li with the
I blew it.
kicks.
I hate this joystick. I couldn't do the Hadouken.
Oh, he's blaming it on the not having the
As you did the
D-pad.
helicopter kick.
Oh yeah, right from behind you with the kicks. Oh, nice! Wow, grabbed me and threw my ass. Oh wow, that's nice.
There we go.
That's nice.
Jump and hit her in the head.
Come on, John! Oh no! No!
That works too.
No!
Look at that.
Oh no!
Make him so
Let's go! Woo! I thought you had me there. I thought
I can't do the Hadouken or the Shoryuken.
All right, let's go to 3. No, we don't want a rematch. Get us out of here.
You just select Ken again.
How do we get out of this?
Yeah, here we go. Quick game. Yeah.
I wish I could use the D-pad. I can't do the damn moves. Oh, right there.
What is it?
Wait, let me try something.
Oh, special moves?
No.
Training playbook.
Maybe it's your controller.
Am I player 1 or 2?
You're 2.
You 2.
Yeah, the D-pad's not working. Let me try it again in the
Have you tried
in
pushing
the other one.
the button down?
What do you mean?
Like, if you want to go left, you want to push the left on the.
Oh, like harder on the pad? Yeah, maybe. Let me try it. I'll try it in the new game.
Let's go Street Fighter 3 New Generation. Let's go random stage.
Oh wow, this is funky. Am I 2? Yeah, I'm 2.
Is the D-pad working?
It seemed to.
This is like a little too funky. I mean, no Chun-Li. This is ridiculous.
Told you to stick with turbo.
I'll go Necro.
Who is Necro?
This.
This is like the how do you do the moves?
The electric snake? That sounds crazy.
Wait, I have to do two quarter rotations for the Hadouken? I don't even know what we're selecting right now.
Oh, we're fighting in New York. Nice.
Shout out. Hey, it's the Phi Dai district.
Nah, it's not working so hot, Frankie. The D-pad.
Oh no, it's that controller. You know, if Connor was being a mensch,
I can't even do
you
my.
would take his controller.
I can't even do my moves.
Yeah, sure, dude. Be a mensch. Yeah, give him the winning controller for sure. How do I do this electric storm we kept talking about?
You have to build up your
finally.
gauge.
Oh, I got to build up the gauge. Okay. I'm really not
doing
liking
a good
the
job
kicks
of
on
flopping
this
the
one.
legs.
Oh yeah, that was a nice just straight right there. Oh, dodge that one.
Not much blocking going on from me.
I am really with you, Frank. I think Turbo is much better.
There seems
One
to
day
be
you
more
guys will
hits in
listen.
this one, though.
Ooh, this is too fun.
I'm glad to see the balance being restored.
Damn.
At a certain point, I'm just like moving backwards and kicking. I want to do my damn moves.
Oh, no one puts baby in a corner. And by baby, I mean Ryu.
That's Ryan.
Oh, sorry. How did I do that little extendo? Look at me, Mr. Elastic over here.
What are you dancing?
Ooh,
You have your
technical
gauge built
bonus.
up. Go ahead and do the
God
move.
damn it. Do the damn Hadouken.
Is the Hadouken just going to end me in one?
No. I don't think so.
Damn, your movement is great here, Ricky. Ah! All right,
I literally was just sitting in the corner spamming. I hate this.
let's go Street Fighter 1 now, and that'll be
Wow.
the deciding factor.
Have you done Street Fighter 1? Like the OG Street Fighter?
Let's just play it.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, you're gonna regret that.
I just want to do my damn moves.
Wow.
I need the Frank.
Those
Can you
moves showed up
can
in
you
Street Fighter 2.
can you go get me the
Oh, it is just
the other
straight up.
controller?
Can you go get me the arcade joystick so I can do the damn Hadouken?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I see what you're
After I
talking
watched
about.
this monstrosity on.
Wait, am I Ken?
You're on.
I'm Ken. I'm Ken.
Wow, you just obliterated my shit.
I actually did it for once.
Oh, wow, this is holy shit, Ken.
I finally got my moves.
How do I do the Ryuken Hadouken?
Like a quarter forward, and then X is the Hadouken, and then a quarter back and B is the Shoryuken.
Holy shit, I mean, this is impossible.
Yeah, the joysticks are not hot for it.
Okay, Frank, you may have made a good call. We'll go back to Turbo for the deciding factor.
Twice now.
Look at this comeback. Just stick the jab, baby. Ah. All right, yeah.
Yeah, that was not fun, right?
Yeah, no, that was not fun.
That one was not good.
Let's do.
Someone in the chat just called this Temu Street Fighter.
Let's do hyper fighting. This will be the last one. Here we go.
All right.
Random stage.
This looks like 2, right? Like this is
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Chun-Li.
Grab Blanca, just spam the
I'm just
button.
gonna do Blanca this time. I can't get any of the damn Hadouken and Shoryukens
Just
going.
USSR?
keep pushing the button over and over again. Go. Maybe not that button. There.
Wait, how do you do the electricity? Why
It's
am I
the
not getting
low
electrified?
punch.
Because you're
Just
getting
keep tapping low
kicked. You're
punch.
done, kid. You're done. Done. Let's go. All right, here we go. The round of the lives. For the rest of our lives, Chun-Li.
I feel like the Chun-Li's been kind to you.
Oh, I mean, she's always been my go-to. Go. Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. What is that electricity? Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I thought you were dead.
Ah, wow, that was incredible. Wait, how do you do the special moves?
I don't know Chun-Li's. I only know Ryu and Ken.
Fuck.
I don't know Chun-Li's.
You don't do that.
This is it. This is for everything right here. I gotta get the kicks off early. Come on.
Get that electricity flowing, Rick.
Oh,
There we go.
shit.
Look at that.
Oh, the great knees on. Jesus. Oh, shit. I gotta get the kicks in right here.
I
No.
love it. See, Rick, you follow my strategy. I think I should be a coach.
Fuck. Wow, I blew that bad.
You know what, Connor? I'm no longer coming over this
Great
weekend.
game. Great
Wow,
Going to
Frankie,
Rick's
you're just abandoning.
Great game. All right.
You got to bring
We got this back up and running.
you got to bring the arcade joystick.
Whew. All right. 4 hours. 4
Wow.
hours. I did not expect to go this long. Hopefully the people enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for watching. I feel like we covered just about everything.
I don't think we left
The
anything.
weekend, no stones unturned. I'm ready to roll. This is let's. I mean,
It's a great fight week.
can we start the Cedric Doumbé fight?
Let's go.
Right now. Shout out.
St. Pat's,
I
baby.
feel like I should go ahead and
Carl, the man.
Carl, the absolute man. I mean, this is the official uni here.
Wow.
Yeah, sure. You can.
Didn't even call for the music. Okay. Wow.
I was trying to read between the lines.
Watch party on Friday. Watch party on Saturday. No bets barred. You know, had Tony on. Yeah, there we go. Joshua Ngannou. Watch party. UFC 299 watch party. We got no bets barred. Tony Kaladi, Miami's own, joined us. And that's that. 299 fight week.
Does not get better than this.
No, this is just like, just enjoy it. The next 4 days are just going to be magnificent.
And check out Glory Kickboxing if you have a chance.
Oh yeah, Glory Kickboxing. I'm in there, like swimwear, bro. Yeah, tournament at 8 fighters. It all gets decided in one night. Can't ask for much better than that. I mean, this jersey is.
I mean,
I
we're
thought I
looking
was gonna
good.
Look good in it. I look better than I expected.
We're looking good. We're
XL
looking
fits
good.
perfectly. Can't wait to put back a couple Guinness, a couple Forged Irish Stout in this bad boy. St. Patrick's Day right around the corner. Not only amazing fight week, daylight savings time here in the States.
Yes.
One of my favorite days of the year. Sure, we lose an hour of sleep, but then the sun stays up longer. Oscars on Sunday. We do all this movie talk. Oscars on Sunday.
The Meg, you think?
Meg
Okay.
2. Meg
Oh,
X.
okay. Got it.
Not as good as the original Meg. Life's good, man. Spring coming right around the corner.
I'll open up the
300.
pool. You come to Amityville.
I'll come to Amityville for the pool. Grab Frank on the way. That's about it. You extending this song? I feel like it's going longer than normal.
You don't want me to play it, want me to play it. It's not long enough.
I'm hungry. I feel what Ariel's saying.
I'm starving.
Yeah, I'm ready to go eat. UFC 299, Glory Kickboxing, PFL Europe. Thank you so much for watching. See you on Monday.
Just the busiest